mother-in-law, count on your significant other, whoever, right? Your sibling, your cousin. Anyone left to watch my kid but me? It's me now. Like, you guys have got to go back to school. My kids were excited. They were happy to go back to school today. Desmond put his Valentines on the front. He said specifically the front of his backpack so he could get easy access to them. He asked me what, he said, can you get, how much, what percentage do you think she's going to like the Valentine?
I hope it works out for you, Desmond.
I do too. I'm a little bit worried that a week off for kindergarten, I don't know if maybe the connection's not the same.
That's right.
Someone goes on vacation, they come back, they're not the same person.
That happens. That happens. The other reason why I'm feeling good today is because baseball is back. 2:05 today, right here on 96.5 The Fan. Royals baseball spring training game number 1. We'll check in with Vern later on in the show as well, around 12:45, as we do each and every day throughout spring training. But that's another reason why you got to feel good, because with baseball, that means spring and everything is right around the corner. And somebody that everybody's excited to see at some point during the spring will be Jack Caglione. While he's with the big league club, at some point in a few weeks they'll send him back down or whatever it is. But
he might still play in some games, but he won't be on the big league club because he's not starting.
And we hope to maybe have Jack on the show next week as well. There's a chance we'll have an opportunity to talk to him.
There is a bit of a problem for Jack Caglione. Not what he showed in camp or the things that came with it, but there's a bit of an issue. Bobby Wood Jr. is kind of ruined what I would say are normal human being expectations of what a top prospect is supposed to be. Jack Caglione is considered one of the 40 or 50 best prospects in all of baseball. He is 6'5", 240. He looks like a Disney prince. And we're used to all the normal stuff that comes with the hype of a player of this magnitude. You don't get players of this magnitude coming through your system very often. And the last one who came through the Royals system was Bobby Witt Jr., who in his first year was immediately a well above average Major League Baseball player, and by his second year was one of the 50 best players in baseball, and by his third year was one of the 5 best players in baseball. I actually think that this is a good time now to just set the standard of, he set an unrealistic expectation, and you should start be thinking about how he comes into the majors and how he adjusts to the majors a little different.
The excitement should still be there and all that, but it's just, I don't know. People have a high bar. I don't know if anybody's expecting Caglione to, be a MVP candidate in year number 2. I hope that's not what people are expecting. I also think for just this year, and no matter what happens in spring training, remember, there is still a small chance that he gets called up later on in the year, like a fairly small chance that he gets called up. And that's if he has success right away.
Or if an injury occurs in the right position.
And if he has success right away. Eventually, yes, he's going to be with the big league club. I think we all are pretty confident in saying that. We're just the type of player it looks like he's going to be. But he hasn't even played a year in Double-A. He hasn't even been a half season in the minors. He got drafted last year, and I know he was a college player, and a hitter. So that's
and a multi-year.
And this is why they're not having him pitch, though, because they do want to try to get him up as quick as possible and have an impact on this team or next year's team. Because if he was trying to do the pitching thing, well, that delays everything. So I think that's why clearly they have him focusing in on the hitting aspect, and there should be plenty of excitement, especially if he has the beginning of the first month or two of minor league baseball. Imagine if we're talking and we just keep an eye on what's going on in Northwest Arkansas, where we assume he'll start. And if that's the case, and the numbers are just absurd, it'll get louder
Alex
and
Gordon,
louder and louder.
We've had players skip AAA before for being great.
That happens.
And and Adalberto Mondesi spent very, 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 maybe no time in Omaha, if I can remember correctly. That was the guy before. But this is the thing about standard. Because Mondesi did so poorly, I think everyone's expectations on Bobby were more tempered than what it would normally be for a guy who's a top 10 prospect. But because Bobby is the most recent big-time prospect to come through the system, and he was is a superstar, you now watch Jack Caglione and you start salivating. You're like, what about a lineup with Indy hitting leadoff, then Bobby, then Vinny, then Salvi, then Jack?
Oh, sure. Sounds great. Yeah. No,
and you start imagining 40 home runs and a 330 on-base percentage, Right.
No. The excitement should be there. It's just, temper the expectation in terms of how much you think he's going to impact if he impacts this year's team at all. That's all. And I think that's where it gets, you don't want to mislead people, on what they should expect. Like the first time that a player on this team, because it will happen, even if the team's playing well, there will be a player or two that has an 0 for 15, an 0 for 20 streak.
Hunter Renfroe,
especially
whoever,
let's be honest, like most likely it's one of the outfielders.
MJ,
that's just the reality. Melendez.
No,
I mean,
yeah,
it's one of the outfielders. There's a decent chance at some point. One of them's got an 0 for 20 stretch going, and it'll be June. And meanwhile, in Double-A, Caglione is hitting the hell out of the baseball, and people will be like, "Oh my gosh, got to call him up right now." And it's just, can we all agree that let's just try to be a little measured with that? Like, a month of Double-A baseball doesn't mean that he's just ready to come up with the big league club.
No, but that's also like he needs to actually hit at the minor league level. If you look at his numbers last year, they don't jump off the page, but the Royals don't care about that. They care about, like, it's not like it's a results-driven business, but just as long as you swing at the pitches you're supposed to swing at, you make contact the way they expect you to make contact. Mondesi flew through the system, even though the minor league numbers were not, like, outlandish. And that, look, I'm excited too. And spring training brings the ultimate amount of excitement because then you're like, oh, I mean, just imagine what could happen. And if I watch Bobby hit a homer and Jack hit a home run right behind him, we're all going to start.
It's going to happen in spring. I mean, I don't know if like today's the first game and the lineup's out and everything like that. And tomorrow we'll see how it goes. I'm assuming in the next week he's hitting a spring training home run. That's just going to be very, very impressive. And that is what, when we look at this year's team, other than a newcomer like Jonathan India, most of these guys are guys we've seen before, right? They're coming off a playoff appearance. The roster didn't change all that much.
No.
India was the biggest change with the trade, Brady Singer and everything. But other than that, honestly, at spring training level-wise, when the games are here on 96.5, it's more about some of the future pieces. The Kudrna, who was on with Vern last night on his Hot Stove show. It's Jack Caglione. Those are the guys that'll be fun to get excited about for the future. Maybe they help the team late in the season as well for a playoff push, but this is kind of a 2026 look ahead, if anything.
Yeah, it is. And so, we could have this conversation again next year, like, cool it. Or we probably will have this conversation in July or August if Jack Caglione gets called up. I was trying to remember. I was like, it's been too long. I was like, were Bobby Witt Jr.'s numbers good in the minor leagues? And then I looked him up. I'm like, yep, sure were. Yep, he was real good in the minors. And so, I was trying to decide, did he get a call up maybe before the numbers jumped off the page? No, pretty much a 370 on-base percentage, hitting 300 and stealing bases and hitting 1 million home runs. Yeah, pretty good, so it turns out.
Someone was asking, is Monesy still in baseball? We looked this up the other day. I mean, is he in baseball? He's.
Has he retired? No. Is he on the roster? No.
He's 20. He's 29 years old. I think we looked it up that he's a free agent. I think he hasn't played in the big leagues for multiple years. He got hurt when he went over to the Red Sox, remember, and right away. On one page it says current team Boston, so maybe he's in their organization still. I don't know.
Maybe he's on a minor league deal or something.
He hasn't played. Yeah, he's still only 29 years old. That's crazy.
Feels like he should be.
I know. It feels like
they're young.
No, I don't mean
that
they can turn around. I just mean it feels like he should be 35 at this point because we've been mentioning that name. I mean, we all know he made his debut in the World Series.
Dude, he changed his name 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
Remember, he was Raul Mondesi Jr.
That's right.
When he first was coming to the big leagues and in the minor league system. He then started going by Adalberto instead. And it's just now we're just kind of accustomed to it. It's exciting. This is why baseball's back. I saw the lineup. India's hitting leadoff. Bobby Witt Jr. in there. It's about a half major league lineup, probably half of the starting opening day lineup, because I don't think Nelson Velasquez is going to be
one
in the
at-bat,
starting.
and then they're out today. At one at-bat. Daniel Lynch will get 1 inning or whatever it is today. He's the starter. And then it'll be a bunch of guys we've probably never heard of before. But it's fun. That first inning, when you flip on a 205 right here and you hear that first crack of the bat, maybe hopefully, Jake Eisenberg and the guys, a home run call or something like that, how we get today, that'll feel good. That's going to feel good this afternoon.
According to Annie Rogers, she's pretty good about following this. They usually put up a little Post-it note in the clubhouse that let you know exactly how it's going to go. Lynch for 2 innings. Noah Cameron for 2 innings. Zerpa, Clark, Cruz, Sisk, and Cox could all pitch.
Okay.
So there you go. Your starting lineup: India, Witt, Pasquantino, and Renfroe, 1 through 4. Looks like Salvi's taking the day off.
I think that's okay. I think he'll be all right. I think that'll be. I think that's going to be okay.
Who the hell's O'Keefe, by the way? Anybody know who that is? He's catching today.
No idea. Are we making a bet on this game?
Last time we usually bet a Vinny home run, as you well know.
Well, that was yes.
I feel like betting preseason baseball is like betting preseason football, where it's
but it's the first one of the year, Drew. It's the first one. It's 205. The Royals are slight favorites. All right,
bet the Royals on the money line.
Minus 118. The total for the game is 10.5. So over under 10.5 runs. I feel like we got to put a little something on it. We have the show fund money because we hit on the big parlay a month, 3 weeks ago, whatever that was. I don't know. I'm just saying, do we like the money line? I don't really want to do a money line bet because it's
Money
spring
line's
training.
crazy.
It's spring training, and by the time you
Runs?
get, I think it's do we think there's going to be over under 10.5 runs?
Is it favored anyway, or is it just
Under
even
is
split?
minus 122, over is minus 104. Compare it to the other spring training game today. The Yankees play at noon. That one's only 8.5. So this game they just think is going to be a bunch of runs. I kind of like the over. I just think the pitching might not be sharp.
I like it. All right, look, I could be easily swayed into this.
Sure. Drew's over there like, what are you kidding? Are you kidding me?
I just think it's a little bit.
Fine.
It's the
You know what,
first
Cody?
one.
Yeah, no,
It's the
I know,
first one,
Actually,
you know?
if that's not enough for you, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spring training games, or at least that you can bet on today. I don't know if that's all of the ones. Why don't we just do a 5-leg parlay?
I was gonna say, just go ahead. If we're gonna do
Try
one,
to
just
choose
do
the
all.
winners?
No. Just do 10. Just go $10 on, and we'll do the 5. We'll do over unders on
the runs?
Now, 2 of the games do not have totals available, so we've got to do money lines. But why not? Why not have a fun? Let's do $10 show fun bet. We'll go over unders on a couple of these games, and we'll do money line on the Dodgers Cubs game because you can't do a total. It looks like.
Who do we like in that Dodgers Cubs game? Who's starting?
Go Cubs, because the Dodgers will be great all year, but they'll lose. They'll suck in spring training. So we'll go Cubs.
Probably true.
We'll go Cubs today.
Everybody's gonna get the hype up in
That's right.
in North Chicago.
Yeah, we'll go.
They might be good this year.
We'll go Cubs. We'll go
Text line
Cubs.
is saying, can you actually bet on spring training games?
Yes, that's
Some
what we're talking
places,
about.
yeah.
Yeah.
Degenerate behavior,
FanDuel.
but sure.
FanDuel,
Depends on
you
the
can.
app, but yeah.
Yeah, if you hop on FanDuel, you can at least 5 of the games.
Or should we just be betting the Royals to win the World Series or something?
We can still do that later.
I don't think I can actually claim that it's degenerate behavior when I bet on like EuroLeague basketball on a regular basis.
Wait, you're betting on EuroLeague?
Oh yeah,
You're calling us degenerates?
no, that's what I'm saying. I fire up. I don't bet. Hold on. I don't bet a lot. I bet like $1, like 50 cent, like little
Okay,
bets, like tiny bets.
Are you
half
able to even
unit.
are those games on TV? Like, why bet on something you can't watch or listen to?
You can stream the games on on a FanDuel
Oh, okay.
on FanDuel
So you're
TV.
doing it through the app. I got
or
you.
on DraftKings. I think they have the accessibility on some of the. On all of them, I believe. Some of them. It
Well,
depends. If you have a certain amount, if you bet a certain amount, you're able to watch them or stream it. I don't know.
By the way, shocking development. Sources tell me that the Royals TV package pricing will be exactly like everyone else's pricing. Like it was already
Well,
$19.99.
today they're announcing the season pass.
Yeah, they'll have a season pass today. They will in your season pass the 2 games in March will be included. You don't have to pay an extra month for that. Like all the normal stuff. It'll cost what everyone else's cost.
Yeah.
I felt like you and I just beat our head against the wall for like 2 weeks straight trying to convince people it was going to be the same. And I was just like, why did I even argue?
I saw
I should
yesterday.
have just waited.
I saw yesterday. I think they also if you're a season ticket holder or a half season ticket holder, you
Yeah,
get
Miller
two, you
Lite.
get 2 you get 2 months. So basically 50 games.
Oh, nice.
Free on that FanDuel package as well. If you're a season ticket holder or a half season ticket package,
Yeah,
more
it's
of the
like-
details are on their website and everything. But I don't know all the details.
It's some partnership with Miller Lite, I think. Yeah.
But maybe in the next break let's do a fun little 5-legger just for the heck of it.
Okay, I'm in.
You guys good with that?
Yeah.
Sure.
Meanwhile, last night was awesome. I was excited. It was the only time truly in my entire life I've ever said, man, I can't wait till this hockey game is on tonight. That's how I felt.
That'd be like usually Olympics, and in that case, usually the USA doesn't really.
But even then, I don't know, even in the Olympics, short of Michael Phelps or like maybe USA basketball or something, there's very few times, even in the Olympics, where I'm like, oh, I cannot wait till 7:00 hits tonight. Even though it ended up being like 7:30 before that thing really started, like any other sporting
tricking
event.
us.
U.S. I don't know if you guys know by now. Obviously, the U.S. ended up losing in overtime to Canada. But what a night and what a 10-day stretch for hockey. I am not a hockey fan by any means. I've been to a handful of NHL games, and that's only because I've gone to 2 in the last 12 months. Otherwise, I had never gone to an NHL game in my life. And the buy-in from the players is why this all worked, right? It didn't hurt that between U.S. and Canada, there's obviously stuff outside of sports right now that has also increased
so
the
they're all
rivalry.
booing each other.
I get it. That it's been this perfect storm to put this thing together, but the NHL absolutely nailed it with this Four Nations face-off. And then last night, I mean, the commissioner, Gary Bettman of the NHL, must just be like walking around with his chest puffed out today because they could not have dreamed up a better scenario. The players bought in over the last 10 days. It ended up being a U.S.-Canadian final. It goes to overtime, and unfortunately, Canada won. But it was just perfect. And the question is, can any of the other leagues replicate that? Because the NHL has figured it out. And I know a lot of this has to do with they're having the players play in this because starting in the Olympics, next Olympics, the Winter Olympics, NHL players will start playing. That's not happened before. They'll represent their country in the Olympics.
That never made any sense to me that for the longest times we're like, these are the people who are the best at what they do and they can win a gold medal for doing it. And then for like 30 years, we didn't even send NBA players. We just sent collegiate players to go play. Or we sent non-NHL players to the Olympics. No, it's the Olympics. If these are supposed to be the best players in the world, the NHL possesses the best players in the world. That's who I want to see in this. The most impressive thing to me about it is that they made an all-star event in no way feel that way. It just in no way felt like I was watching an all-star based event. They had a sold-out crowd. Everyone was hyped. The crowd's chanting USA
it was
in
awesome.
Boston.
It was awesome.
And they were like, I mean, the whole moment obviously felt completely opposite. The problem is that the question I will always ask is, are we cool with it this year? And we felt hyped and in and this. Can this last forever? Am I entertained by the nations hating each other forever or being at odds forever? Does this always work? Do you have to continuously reinvent? Because we know next year now, the NBA All-Star Game, which was way down in ratings again, they'll probably do countries, which people have talked about. USA versus the world will be the game, right? And then maybe you can create a little buzz. But unless they're going to start playing defense,
yeah, some of it's
or
an effort thing.
To play an actual basketball
really is all
game.
the effort thing, I think.
Because that was the
anything.
PK Subban was on. He kind of
First Take, I think.
First Take, and it went viral yesterday. Some of his comments, and it was about that very thing, Cody, which is, you can walk on an NBA court and basically, I'm paraphrasing, like half-ass it.
You can tell when they're half-assed.
Hockey, you can't be on the ice and cover up you not giving a bleep. Like you just
everyone will know you're not skating hard.
Yeah, so and so there's truth to that. So that's the big question for the NBA and these other leagues. I mean, for hockey, that's why it worked. They literally made up a fake tournament. And all of a sudden, they made up,
and then pitted countries against each other. Which
they
is smart.
got a medal that didn't even exist, a year ago, a trophy that didn't even exist a year ago, and all of a sudden everybody cared. And the players, nobody can deny the players absolutely wanted to win that thing last night on both sides.
And like the setup on it is so funny too, because like the two U.S. goals were for both the Ottawa Senators player, and so you're like, damn, if you're a Canadian, you're like, if you're a Senators fan, you're a Canadian, and you're just like, damn it. They're like hurting my country, but I'm proud of my guys.
Now, that happens in the Olympics though with soccer players all the time, right? Or the World Cup, they're on a Premier League team but they're on
World Baseball Classic against the US,
Sure.
those things.
I also think there's a level of accountability that you see maybe in hockey that you wouldn't see in the NBA now, where it's very much a single player driven league. The NBA is, where hockey, like if you could tell that somebody was giving half an effort on the rink, on the ice, I think a player would get called out for that. Like simply, it would be I'm gonna go and I'm gonna level this guy or whatever the case is. Where in the NBA, you don't see anybody if somebody's half-assing, you don't see guys like, hey, come here, I'm trying to take you on right now. Like, let's go 1-on-1. Let's go solo right here, or ISO you up. Even though there's 5 players on the floor, there's nobody calling anybody out for not giving an effort.
But this is part of the thing that we don't want to mention that actually does matter for this. The highest paid player in the entire NHL makes $13 million a year. If you're an NBA player and you go all out in an all-star game, you could be costing yourself $400 million. Like, it is hard to be like, hey, Joel Embiid, step out on the court, give it your all, risk your knee pain and all the other stuff. Whoever it is, not him, but like whoever, and say, give us every last ounce of energy. I mean, they just lost one of their young superstars, Wemby, to the entire year because of a blood clot. You want him, a guy who could get a supermax 3 years from now to risk his health? Highest paid NHL player makes $13 million.
Well, and last night, one of the players had an injury that he's going to miss NHL games after the break and he was playing through an injury until he really couldn't. That's why he didn't play in the second half or the third period of the game last night. So it was awesome. Like, and I think all three of us, none of us claim to be huge hockey fans or anything that. Watch very, very casually, but I was excited. Like, I truly made sure I was going to be around a TV at 7:30 last night to watch it. It lived up to the hype. That's the other thing why it worked. It's not often that a sporting event or any type of event period lives up to the hype. Like, there's always build up, and ESPN was building building it up like crazy all week, and it lived up to it. We got an overtime game, 2-2. It was incredible. Obviously, I wish the U.S. would have won, but it was. And tickets were going for $1,100 for bad seats. Some were averaging out at $2,500. It was cool. It was really, really cool.
Does the NBA All-Star Game sell out?
Oh, heck no. Oh, so I watched. Okay, so I watched a little bit of it, or I had it on a side screen on Sunday.
That was the finals day, right, for them? The championship game?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was not sold out.
So, I mean, you
Saturday night also was not sold out either. It didn't seem, because what they tried to do was make it a lot about Vince Carter, because it was the first that it had been in Golden State since Vince Carter did the dunk contest. All of it was hyping him up. There wasn't, you could just tell, like, in the difference of crowd, noise, buzz, the people who were excited to be there. There was no buzz at all surrounding the game, and I think part of it's the lack of proper marketing for the NBA, but also when you don't have your stars participating in the big events, like even hockey, I don't think they had like any of the skills challenges that they normally do, because the whole thing was just the four nations face-off,
which
idea.
worked.
Yeah.
But when you have your stars in the game and people identify with them and they know that there's an effort there, they're representing the country, there's a little bit of extra juice that's there, other than, hey, you guys get $1 million. That really doesn't mean anything to you because you guys make so much money anyways, and nobody wants to do any of the skills challenges either. It was not a very good look at all for the NBA in comparison to how the NHL just knocked that out of the park.
If you can't even get your stars, the dunk contest is the basic example of that.
Yes.
You have to convince the stars of your sport to compete in that. It can no longer be the Mac McClung show. You need LeBron,
You mentioned the money. Like they have offered money, and it's just not enough because of how much they're making.
And honestly, and I don't know if this is a lack of competitiveness. I think some people might call it that. But if everybody in the league is saying a G leaguer is better at dunking than you, and you consider yourself a very good dunker, why not say, you know what, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna show him that I am actually the better dunker. Which again, like you said, Cody, they just don't care enough, which I think maybe is an NBA problem in general anyways. Forget the All-Star game. It's just the games in general.
The other thing, I was watching a little bit of ESPN's post-game kind of coverage of the hockey game last night, and we hear this a lot in usually it happens with Olympics and things like that, but if you're trying to grow your game, I mean, that was the last 10 days was incredible for hockey. You know, is there a kid out there that maybe never had interest in playing hockey, but all of a sudden the last 10 days his dad or mom had it on TV, and all of a sudden now, like, you know, people talk about Lake Placid, the Olympics and everything, like that caused a whole new generation of hockey players and hockey fans. Like we'll find out over time if this is something that did that, but that's the other part. What a win for just the sport of
They've done
hockey.
better at because like baseball's most recent success is like the Field of Dreams game, right? They have Kevin Costner stand up there and people are walking through the corn.
Or the thing last year, Rickwood Field.
Yeah.
That was really cool too.
Like doing those a couple of times, they've done a decent job lately. Hockey's been more at the forefront of being able to do this. I'm going to guess that every single sport is going to ask themselves the question, which is, should we do our all-star game as a us versus them? Right? The other part that I feel like they could do is, how come anybody in like basketball hasn't made it up so like people get picked last? Make it like
you
gym
want it
class.
to be like actual pickup.
Yeah,
where
make it like gym class. Yeah, I got Durant. Come on, man, we're over on this side. And then at least we have other things to question. Like, why would you build your roster with like 4 bigs?
But they have done the pick thing, though. They have done that. That was gimmicky. They tried that for 2 years, didn't they?
To Cody's point, so they did a draft, but it was weeks before. What they needed to do.
I'm saying like you're standing on the court.
Play
like in the court. Like 5 guys stay in the court. You lose, you get your ass off the court.
This goes back to why players, whether it's the money or why they won't do the dunk contest. There's also a little bit of like it's the ego too. This is why frankly, what we're talking about is a greater problem with NBA players, basically, is what some of it is. I mean, that's part of the problem and how they go about their business. I'm not saying that if I was making that kind of money, I would want to do the dunk contest either. I'm just saying, but that's the issue, and I don't know how you fix that if you're the NBA.
If you love the sport, though, like I think that there are some players who love basketball, but there's a lot of players who love basketball, but if you love the game enough, I think you're willing to participate in these events because the game means enough for you and you want to promote the game in a positive way. You want to show people that it's fun to play basketball, that we're some of the best in the world. Because I think, to this point, Kobe, I don't think would stand for any of this like soft, like go and like the half-ass stuff. LeBron is taking himself out of a game.
Yeah, when he's doing it, you're exactly right.
It was really embarrassing, I think, because there's guys who are killers who would say, I'm playing in this game, and I'm going to make sure that I dominate this game, and you're going to look sad in this game.
I think you're 100% right that if the face of the league is willing to just be like, then how are you supposed to expect the next generation of young players? Yeah. No,
your leg was fine. Your groin was fine, LeBron. It was okay.
All right, coming up next, let's get back to the Chiefs, though. And we hit on some comments from Jeff Schwartz yesterday, but I want to dive deeper into the left tackle specifically, including some numbers that are very telling about developing tackles in the NFL.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer? You want the most knowledgeable physicians with the latest technology. That's KCPI, the Kansas City Proton Institute. KCPI has a full suite of the most advanced imaging and treatment technology necessary to localize high-intensity proton beams. That's a critical part of maximizing cure rates while minimizing recovery time and long-term side effects. Proton therapy provides patients with the most advanced form of radiation treatments for cancer. It destroys cancer cells with supreme accuracy, reducing the risk of harmful side effects. KCPI has Kansas City's first and only system that uses pencil beam technology, resulting in precision targeting and less radiation to your surrounding healthy tissue. Proton therapy is now available in the comfort of an office at KCPI, making it more efficient and affordable than a hospital. So contact KCPI for the most knowledgeable physicians with the latest technology. Don't wait. Get precision technology with the highest safety measures with KCPI. Online at kcpi.com.
I love Hy-Vee for so many different reasons, but one of the things I love most about Hy-Vee is their customer service. Everyone that works at Hy-Vee is awesome. And you know what else I love about Hy-Vee? I don't have to sacrifice quality and service to get low prices. Hy-Vee just dropped the price on thousands of items in every aisle, in every department, on items I buy every day, both in-store and online. Hy-Vee even match prices with the nation's biggest discount stores. So check out Hy-Vee today and get those low prices only at Hy-Vee.
Something big is happening at Hy-Vee. We've just lowered thousands and thousands of prices on thousands and thousands of items in every aisle and in every department. Online, too. And on many of your favorite products, we've even matched prices with some of the biggest discount stores in the country. Because we get it, times are still tough. So we'll continue to work hard to bring you new lower prices on thousands of items. Things are looking different at Hy-Vee. Come see for yourself.
Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength.
It's Century Roofing's 35th anniversary, and to celebrate, we're offering a free material upgrade with your roof replacement. Get a free upgrade from standard or premium shingles to impact-resistant shingles. These will boost your home's value and can lower your insurance premiums. Voted best in Johnson County 3 years in a row. We're KC-based and female-owned. Visit CenturyRoofingKC.com.
Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength.
Book now. This deal won't last long.
Hi, it's me, your USPS Ground Advantage shipment. Just left the warehouse and hitting the road.
I know. Just got the notification.
Great. Smooth sailing so far. I'm almost there.
Yes, I know. I get all the updates.
Made it. Safe and sound.
I know.
Well, did you know I was with USPS the whole time?
Oh, yeah. I know.
Keep your business in the know with the USPS Ground Advantage service. Visit USPS.com/in-the-know.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or in third-party delivery platforms.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6812. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6812. That's 800-575-6812. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Okay, so that's with bacon, cheese, lettuce, tomato, grilled onions, ketchup, and hold the pickles.
You know what you like. You wouldn't order your burger just any way. Why should your sports talk be any different? With Chapters on the free Odyssey app, you can choose the topics that matter to you most. Whether it's reactions, matchup previews, injury updates, or team news, quickly find what you really care about. Your football talk, your way. Download the free Odyssey app and start listening today.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by Shamrock Roofing and Construction. ShamrockRoofer.com.
Hey folks, it's Karen from Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Thank you for making Shamrock Roofing one of the top 30 roofing companies in the nation. We're family owned and ready to help you with your roof today. Inspect, repair, replace. One call does it all at Shamrock Roofing. Visit ShamrockRoofer.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Thank you for this, Drew. Thank you for this. You guys know, I was thinking of Space Jam right away. I'm ready. Space Jam. Let's go.
Honestly, the NBA All-Star Game would be far more entertaining if they just played against Looney Tunes, you know?
You think?
Oh,
just like VR against Looney Tunes. You got to try to cross up Bugs Bunny. It's live, right?
Like
it's like VR, but he's actually
Nickelodeon.
trying to like get past the Tasmanian Devil.
So it's like the Nickelodeon cast that they do for the NFL games, but somehow a way where if you sit in the arena, you just put on a VR headset. The one thing I will say the NBA is doing pretty cool with the VR stuff. Have you seen the updated? If you have one of the VR headsets and it costs extra money for the subscription to it, but you really can sit at your house and be sitting courtside.
Yeah.
And I think the NBA is the only league that's really doing that right now fully. And that stuff looks like people have sent out the videos of it. It looks incredible. Now, it seems like a novelty, though. Am I going to sit there? Like, am I going to go home every Tuesday?
Strap a VR thing to my head.
Yeah, like every Tuesday.
3 hours.
Just sit in my living room inside, virtual silence, but I just have this headset on just for 3 hours. That seems a little much, but it's a novelty thing that could be kind of cool. But thank you for the Space Jams. Text line agrees. One of the best movie playlists ever.
100%.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Let's get into the Chiefs a little bit. Yesterday, Cody, we talked about Jeff Schwartz's comments in regards to taking a tackle at 31 and basically like why that doesn't make sense this go around. And then Nick Jacobs over at 41, we'll give him credit. He did some research on why that is the case more so, right? It seems obvious. Okay, you drafted a tackle last year in round 2 that clearly didn't develop as quick as you would have liked. You also only gave him 2 games to do it in the middle of a 3-peat campaign. So drafting one at 31 this year where you have a pick, well, that's probably a developmental guy too. So what are you doing? Like, it makes sense. It does. Why would you do that? Then you go, and Nick Jacobs laid it out, and look at some of the successful left tackles in the league.
And where they were taken.
I mean, it's not rocket science. Ronnie Stanley, who's a free agent, who everybody's saying maybe the Chiefs will go sign him. He was once a sixth overall pick. Broderick Jones for the Steelers, 14th overall. J.C. Latham, 7th overall. Garrett Bowles, 20th overall with the Broncos. Colton Miller, I'm not going to read every single one, but 15th overall.
They're all
top 15 picks, basically, except the Christian Darrisaw is the exception. He got hurt this year, but the exception, he was 23rd overall for the Vikings.
And a very good player until he got hurt. But, I mean, the standard is half of the league has a left tackle who was taken in essentially the top 15 picks, most in the top 10 in the NFL draft. Okay, so now we know that. Then it's like, all right, 3 teams got their guy via trade. 2 of the 3 of those guys were also taken in the top 13 of the draft. Okay, then you got like 8 teams that have a guy drafted outside the first round. Congratulations to you. You did it. Some of those teams, I will just tell you straight up, do not have good left tackle play. So I just want to note that real quick. They aren't in love with their left tackle, and you shouldn't be either. And then there's 5 teams who got him via free agency, including Drew Cincinnati's Bengals, whose offensive line is mediocre. 2 other guys who were taken high, and then like the Rams who got lucky and have an undrafted free agent. All this list tells me is that you are never going to solve left tackle unless you are willing to be bold. These are your choices. Either be bold in your decision-making and just like toughen up and make a stomach-churning decision to trade up into the top 15 of the draft, or trade an elite-level pick for a good left tackle, or sign infinitely high contracts, and these almost never happen because 15 of those players are still on the original team that drafted him. Those are the only choices. Because like Arrowhead Pride put out their list, right, of here are the solutions in left tackle. They said, in-house, it's DJ Humphries or Kingsley Suamataia. I know you guys talked about Kingsley yesterday. And Jeff Short saying...
Hell, DJ Humphries really not even in-house, guys. He's a free agent. I mean, he's not even really in-house.
He was briefly in-house and is now a free agent. And I would point out that, like, of those guys I said are starting left tackles that were outside of the first round, like 80% of those guys, and I looked this up, 80% of those guys did not start year one. So, like, they were not immediate left tackles. They eventually got the job through development. So that's the argument for Kingsley.
That was the Jeff Schwartz point yesterday that we got into when Logan was filling in. Cody, was the idea, like, in another franchise's year, 2024, Kingsley plays way more than 2 games. But in a year where the Chiefs were going for a three-peat, they did not have time to let Kingsley grow because they were going for the three-peat. And I think that's very true. And so that is not a normal circumstance for a tackle to jump into. And that's why it was honestly so stunning that there really wasn't a competition at training camp last year. We went up to say Joe.
Won the job.
He won it. And I agree that it has to be a bold decision to fix it, which is why, and I think it's scary for a lot of people. I think there's a very good chance, unless you believe they're packaging multiple picks to get in the top 15, I don't believe they're finding their long-term answer at left tackle this offseason. The hope should be that they find a guy for 1 or 2 years that can give them of average or above average play. They don't have to get Hall of Fame level play out of a left tackle. We already went through that a couple weeks ago, talking about other, Brady never had a franchise Hall of Fame left tackle. You don't have to have that, but you certainly can't have a revolving door. I think Ronnie Stanley was on this list of drafted guys, and then also we know he's a free agent. That is so risky, man. He finally had a healthy season. Finally. And he's in his 30s. That is a big risk. And is he wanting multiple years? Am I really giving a multi-year contract to somebody that hasn't stayed healthy throughout their career? This is why they're in a really tough spot to find the correct answer. And it's why the in-house candidate, which is not really in-house, DJ Humphries, or yesterday I mentioned Juwan Taylor when he was first signed. We all thought he was the left tackle. He never got a single rep at left tackle. Like, those are plan C and D. But we know they've had to go to plan C and D at tackle numerous times, and that's what's scary, I think, for a lot of Chiefs fans right now, is I don't think there's a clear-cut, obvious guy to go target because, the trade that they made for Orlando Brown Jr. a couple years ago, does that player exist now? Is there a player that's unhappy that he's playing right tackle or left tackle and he doesn't like his team to the point where they're not going to pay him? Because you can mention the Jackson kid out at the Rams.
Yeah, because they're shipping out some payroll. Maybe they move on from Stafford.
But he's already playing left tackle. Why would the Rams trade a top 15-ish left tackle to Kansas City?
Other than if they're planning on just getting rid of it, as in restarting.
Whether it's Stafford or a rookie or a young quarterback, you still need a left tackle.
No, I don't disagree with that. I mean, convincing a team to do that is a very, very difficult thing to do, and I would just say that's
because someone said typically the case. Text line said just pay a left tackle. Fair. Who? That's the point. It's like it's not. Trent Williams is not. 28-year-old Trent Williams is not just hanging out in free agency like he was a couple years ago, and then they missed on him.
By the way, I looked it up. The most tenured left tackle under Tom Brady was a 17th overall pick. Weird, right? I mean, look, this is just like I understand. You're going to see 1,000 people who follow the Chiefs, and they're going to tell you about what it costs to move up to pick 17 to take a tackle in the draft. I understand the cost. All I'm telling you is if you want a quality starting left tackle, it's actually the only choice. There's not some other conceivable angle that you can miraculously develop a left tackle out of nothing. Like for instance, where Kingsley was drafted, there are no successful left tackles essentially taken at his spot. There's 5 in the entire NFL. They were developmental guys, so in his defense, give him a little bit more time, maybe he does develop in that way. All of them, almost all of them, such a huge majority, 2/3 or more, were all taken in the top 20 picks of the NFL draft because that's the only place that quality starting left tackles exist.
913-586-7965, Jay Southland Tow Service text line. Someone says, are you saying drafting a lineman year after year doesn't work? Well, at left tackle, if you're in the Chiefs case and you're picking 28 to 32, the chances of you hitting on that left tackle, unless you're going to let them develop out. And I know the argument is, hey, Eric Fisher was a top pick, and in year 2 and 3, until year 3, everybody's like, this guy stinks.
He was a right tackle in year 1.
And he turned out to be a pretty darn good left tackle for this franchise, obviously. So the challenge the Chiefs had with Kingsley is he didn't have time to develop. Now, he may just not have it, and that's what I think most people outside the organization think. He doesn't have it to be a left tackle. That's why I think he'll end up playing guard for this team, and so do you moving forward. But yeah, typically if you're going to draft a left tackle at pick 28 to 32, even if you do it 5 straight years,
you're going to whiff probably all 5 times.
Decent chance.
Because again, there are like 5 or 6 guys that were taken to the 3rd round as starters. Half of them you actually don't want starting for your team, and the other half are fine, right? So you can get there, right? Like Orlando Brown Jr. was a 3rd round pick. He was a perfectly fine starting right tackle for a team. He started at left tackle for the Chiefs for a few years, and now, Drew, you follow the Bengals. He's what? A mediocre left tackle? He's not the worst. He's not like a turnstile.
Yeah, he's solid, yeah.
But he's not like...
Yeah, I remember though when the decision came to let him walk, it was
in
not.
Retrospect, they probably should have paid his ass.
No, but you go back and listen to the show. There was everybody was trashing Orlando Brown Jr. and it's yes, is it now hindsight? But I'm saying even in that moment, we said don't be surprised if you remember actually how decent a play you were still getting. It can the thought was I remember the conversation we had. It can get worse, and it did. Now you can say, well, they still won a Super Bowl without him. Also true. Donovan Smith gave them again. That's the level of play you're looking at. Donovan Smith was an average left tackle. That's truly all they need. Now, you don't want to strive just for average, but in this circumstance right this second, where they're already paying your right tackle, Jawan Taylor, the kind of money they're paying him, they're already paying Creed Humphrey, they're probably going to extend Joe Thuney. You can't pay everybody on the offensive line top-tier money, so yeah, it wouldn't hurt to have it average left tackle play, and they didn't believe they were going to get average left tackle play last year from Kingsley or Wanye, and that's why they went out and tried to sign DJ Humphries.
Admittedly, this might not be the draft for it. So I'm not just saying just do it to do it, right? That's never the way you should operate in a business sense or if you're in the Chiefs sense. Maybe you buy yourself a year with DJ Humphries because you tell yourself next year's the left tackle draft. But at some point, I think you just have to be willing to give up this year's first-round pick and the following year's first-round pick to go get your guy. And you have to be willing to make that sacrifice if you actually want high-level left tackle play. The good news is for you is if you get that, you can keep them for a decade. This is why I think the risk assessment is wrong from Chiefs fans sometimes, or what the Chiefs have done internally in-house. Because I told you, we've looked at their last 10 drafts. They have not taken the highest left tackle they have taken in the draft in the last decade is Kingsley Suamataia at pick 63. That is the highest they have taken one. And the risk assessment should not be, wow, look at all these picks I got to give up from this year or next year and how much I'm selling my future down the road. It's that if you get this right, you trade up to 15, you find your guy, then you're good for a decade. You don't have to do this again for the rest of Patrick Mahomes' career. You can keep taking 3rd-round guys or 4th-round guys and see if they develop and take your sweet-ass time or see if they go to guard or tackle or replace you can do all that, and you can do it freely and easily, but you have to just get the guy first so you can stop doing this.
I know we're all trying to come up with ideas and trying to figure out how to piece this offensive line together. Someone says, is there any chance they move Thuney to left tackle permanently, pay him what he deserves, and then start Kingsley left guard?
Super Bowl.
No, we just saw that play out, man. I understand Caliendo was the guard, and you're saying Kingsley. No, there's no scenario where
I didn't think it was going to happen anyway, but definitely not after that game.
Yeah, Joe Thuney is a left guard, and to his credit, he gave them everything he had for 5 games or whatever it ended up being, and for 4 of them, no problem. Until it was a problem in the 5th or whatever game number it would have been. So no, Joe Thuney, the extension is going to be tricky even on him. How they pull that one off. Because you're going to have to give him an extension. He's not 29 years old. He's getting up there in age as well. So there's some decisions to be made. But as we mentioned yesterday, the salary cap, there's some flexibility, restructure opportunities. If they want to go give Thuney the extension and also pay some other guys, they can do it. There's not an obvious free agent left tackle. And I guess Jackson in LA is actually an unrestricted free agent or whatever. But I think, again, same thing applies. I don't know if the Rams will let him truly reach the free market.
We'll see. And yeah, maybe that is an option for you. I certainly think it's plausible. they go that way. You can buy yourself time, but eventually you're just going to have to trade up to the top 15 picks. As you know, Royals baseball on the air today at 2 right here on 96.5 The Fan. For those asking, will we be done at 1? No, they do not do pregame for spring training games. We will be here until 2 o'clock. McKenzie Nelson will join us for a fan club. We'll have some cocktails, have a good time for that hour leading up to the Royals game. But, I want less booth reviews. I want less people standing at a scores table in college basketball. I think they should just eliminate that type of review in college basketball altogether. Just straight up, get rid of it to improve the sport and to save the sport, in my opinion. But I do not feel that way about robot umps, which brings me great joy to see yesterday the Major League Baseball announced they'll be using robot umps in a test case in spring training games this year. I do not think they'll be ready for game 1 of the regular season this year.
It won't be. That's already 2026 is the earliest. Yeah.
But the idea that they're using it for spring training games, and I saw it yesterday, and a guy tapped his helmet, and it was a ball that was called a strike, and he gets to get the count changed. It's the easiest thing on the planet. It will take 0 time, 0 effort, no additional time off the game. The umpire just gets checked every once in a while when he misses a call so bad it doesn't deserve to be missed. This seems like the easiest
It's happening. It's happening. It will be in baseball next year. It'll be in baseball next year, and it's so quick. That's why it works. Is that you barely even know. Yesterday there was a spring training game on TV. Cubs Yankees
somebody.
or whatever, and you barely even recognize that the challenge was happening. That's how quickly they resolved it. And they've been testing this in the minors, so that'll be another storyline to watch throughout spring. But I asked Vern about this yesterday, and he said they talked to Q about this, and he said they're not going to really focus in on that, and how to handle strategically this spring training, because they know that come the start of the season, it's not even in their arsenal. Which makes sense, right? If you're a team this year, you don't need to really be focusing, telling your players, "Hey, be careful of how you use it in strategy."
That next year.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about this year. Or,
use it as much as you want in a spring training game.
But I do like it. I absolutely like it because of how quick it is, and
it's Hawkeye, it's tennis,
and there's some strategy too. Do you burn it in the first inning? Is there a player that is frustrated? He's in the middle of an 0-for-15 slump, and he's like, I can't strike out again, and so he uses a challenge when he strikes out on the next pitch. There's a lot there, man. That's kind of unique too that we haven't seen. But it's more of a next year thing. But I think it's 19 of the teams between the Cactus League and the Grapefruit League. I think only 19 teams. Some share stadiums, so I guess it's more. But they'll be testing. It won't necessarily be every single spring training game, but a majority of them.
What exactly is the rule around it? Is it each individual player gets a challenge? Is it team gets a certain amount of challenges?
You cannot get any help from your dugout.
Correct.
During that 2 seconds.
They can't tell you we think that thing's outside. You got to make a quick game time decision.
But I know, but I'm saying, does each individual player have their own challenge that they can use throughout the game, or is it a set number of challenge?
I believe it's each player, right? Cody, isn't that right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be that. Well, they might, you know how it is. They could change it to where it's a certain number. They've got it set up in spring for team challenges, so they have the ability to challenge 2 calls per game.
Okay, well then I think that's what it is.
For extra innings.
There you go.
There's some talk that they might still finagle that or whatever it is. The obvious.
Every player might be.
I think each individual player having one makes sense just because of how quick it is.
I kind of like that because of how quick it is, but also for that same argument, because the team stuff, a pitcher can also challenge it. So do you give every pitcher who comes in the game? That's what you do by team, right? You throw what you think is strike 3 with the bases loaded and 2 outs. That one's worth it. For me, this is high leverage. Every single challenge you do, if you are down, if it's a 3-2 count with nobody on and a 3-run and in a 1-run game in the second inning, you better not be wasting our team challenge. I can tell you that right now. But if it's the second inning and it's bases loaded and it's 2 outs and you think you struck that dude out, get the out.
It's
worth it for you.
Only downside, I mentioned this, and it would take specific circumstances, just making something a little anticlimactic where it's a key strikeout to get out of an inning or to end the game, and you're like, and you normally would celebrate, but you're like, oh, hold on.
This happens in college basketball in the buzzer.
And I know it's a quick 2-second challenge versus a 3-minute wait in college basketball. But that would be my only thing is does it take away, you just had a huge punch out to end the game and you're like, we got to sit for 5. Oh, now we can celebrate. That's the only thing. I don't know if it'll happen very often, but that'd be my only concern.
Let's just agree that it can't happen. They should just make a rule. It can't happen on the final pitch. Sorry.
Well, you want to make sure that might be the biggest pitch to the game.
There would be some suspense there. That would be crazy.
But overall, Major League Baseball said that in the minors they use this, where calls challenged by players were overturned 51% of the time.
Yeah, so they're wrong about half the time. Well, the players are wrong half the time, but that means the umpires are also wrong half the time. Look, I told you I want less and less review. This is not review to me. This is just quick automated decision making. Like I was watching that Missouri-Alabama game like everyone else because I wasn't sure whether or not I was coming in for the show at the time. And they have to get rid of table reviews. Like, I mean, they need to eliminate it from the sport or no one is going to want to watch college basketball in 10 years. It's nuts. It eats up an impossible amount of your life. Watching two refs stand over with headphones on talking about this stuff. This is tapping your helmet. And they tell you whether it's a ball or a strike, and
So
we all
easy.
move on with our life. It's the simplest. This is what I think I envisioned replay being when they first talked about replay. Just snap judgment, here it is, boom, decision made.
But you know the difference.
You're not letting human minds.
But the difference
determine
too,
things.
like compared to the NFL, like in baseball, there is an actual strike zone dimensions,
Yeah.
and so it's very easy with the
Versus a
technology.
catch, or-
with the technology, they can simply see was it in or out of the zone quick. Whereas, football, a catch, there isn't like this algorithm to
But
determine
there's
like
less in
everything
that.
that's a catch
Like,
without
college basketball, they don't limit it. I don't need you standing over there for 45 seconds
Well,
seeing
sure.
if it grazed someone's fingertip.
Yeah, 100%.
And a lot of times we know the answer to the call before they even go over to the table because of replay. That's for having like the sky judge or whatever you want to call it.
I don't even need a sky judge. Just gut decision. Whatever you said on the court. It's off on Duke. Okay, fine. It's off on Duke.
There was
Let's move on.
Real quick to not deviate too far. There was, Cody, a college basketball game in which the last 4 minutes of the game took a half hour.
Yeah, that sounds
of real
right.
time.
Or probably
Sounds like a lot of Big Monday, Big 12 games.
It was actually a Big Ten game.
The
believe it or
first
not.
one,
This one
actually,
was Big Ten.
It's usually the first game goal, so the second one can start like 45 minutes later than originally
Yeah,
thought.
that's right.
Classic college
Tip for
basketball
March
move.
Madness is going to be 10:50 Eastern time instead of 9:20 instead of 10 because
It's gotten out of control. Like,
Oh,
I know
yeah.
that they want to get the calls right or whatever, but this is where, like in baseball, it's simplified and I like it.
One rule, though, that is no longer in Major League Baseball, perhaps the worst rule in the sport by a franchise. The New York Yankees today
Worst rule in the sport.
decided to get rid of their dumb facial hair policy. They were the
I
only
see that.
team in sports, not just sports, that said you got to be clean shaven. You can have a stash, no beard, and all that.
A good
It's
looking
done.
stash.
It's
Gotta be
2025. What do we do? Like acting like, well, you gotta be clean. The only thing with this is, will they revert back? Steinbrenner's family, they're on a 7-game losing streak. Back to having to shave.
Shave the
You're not
beards.
disciplined enough because you're not shaving. Like,
Oh my
I wonder.
gosh.
Like, there's some players that I'm not saying if the money was right, you're not going to sign with the Yankees because you can't shave if they're going to give you the most money. But got to be annoying as hell if you're someone that like you have facial, like Juan Soto or somebody last
Do you think
year.
that they're convinced that like they didn't get a player because of this?
Justin
I don't know.
Turner is not going to the Yankees.
yeah,
That's why he went to the Red Sox, I think, correct?
Like that they
Why not?
can't get. But Johnny Damon looked like unfrozen caveman outfielder,
Yeah.
and then shaved his beard
That's
to go
another
to
good
the
example.
Yankees.
Matt
That's another
Carpenter
one.
when he went from the Cardinals to the Yankees. He still had the stash a couple years ago, but it was weird to see him with only the stash.
So, does this rule in any way impact the integrity of the team or the sport? No. Do I kind of like weirdo rules in sports that existed for a sport that's like 100 years old, and they're just like, for 150 years, they're like, nah, no beards. And you're like, doesn't really make any sense. You're like, no beards. I kind of like the weirdness part of it. It's a dumb rule that doesn't actually have any impact on whether or not they're good Yankees or do a good job because they're clean shaven, but I didn't care, I guess.
It's just a dumb rule.
They
Someone
employed it.
says some people want to look presentable for your job. They're also playing baseball. They're not CEOs of a Fortune 500 company. Okay, like they're playing baseball.
Well, and
like
people-
and then they say, you three shave damn near daily. I do not, thank goodness.
have
Cody,
not-
we've joked about Cody. He definitely doesn't.
I don't shave.
Yeah.
I don't shave. I shave at least weekly.
Yeah.
I usually shave about twice a week.
I have not shaved in maybe 2.5 or 3 weeks, and
What?
I
What?
have, and this is all I got right here. It's a
Jeez,
little
there's
bit.
somebody on this show worse at growing a beard than me?
I'm really bad.
That's 3 weeks.
I
shaved 2 days ago.
I
This is
couldn't
what we
tell
got
you-
going.
This is like 4 days.
I couldn't tell you, but I would guess it's been at least 2 weeks since I actually shaved, and
weeks?
this is all I got. Yeah,
Maybe the Yankees will win a World Series finally again. Now that they don't have.
I would have no problem playing for the Yankees.
Royals have still won a World Series more recently than
right.
the Yankees,
That's
which
right.
does bring me joy. Every year that happens,
Sure.
it does bring me a little joy.
Of course.
Because,
But that rule's done. The Yankees announced it today.
man, end of an era, you know?
Really
it's gonna
is.
be. It is. I'll be honest. It is going to be a little weird to see a Yankees player with a beard, and like
it just opens the
are they
market
gonna,
up a little
Are they
bit
going to
more.
put the names on the back of the
That's
jerseys
next.
too?
That one, I get why they
No.
don't do it. That's fine. That's
Really? Why? What's the difference? It's the
No.
same thing as the beard. It's just tradition.
Because one is
Tradition.
One is forcing somebody to have a certain grooming habit, their own body. The
But
other
now they
one
don't
is a
get to have
jersey.
their name on the back of the jersey. No, it doesn't say judge on the back, you know?
Yeah,
they
sure.
to have their name.
But that's just a jersey. You're not telling someone how to like literally treat themselves, their
You know
body.
who number 99 is on the Yankees, though.
Of course.
But I'm just, I bet there's a lot of people who would like to have their name on the back of a major league jersey.
I bet.
And the Yankees are not giving them that choice. It's the same thing. They're taking away personal freedom.
Oh, I think it's not even close to the same thing. I don't think telling you how you can literally, basically handle your body is not the same as whether your jersey has a number on it or not. That's all.
They're never changing that one.
No, it is what it is.
I figured they were never changing this beard.
Same. All right.
It's 2025.
Up next, we'll get to the 11 o'clock hour. Charles Omenihu was on a national show yesterday. Had some comments about maybe free agency as well as how he handled the big game and the big loss. Next.
You're listening to Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Josh Vernier joins the show every day at 12:45, live from spring training, right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan.
Hey, Missouri sports fans, I've got good news. Underdog is available to play in your state. This basketball season, we know baseball's coming around the corner. Your favorite stars, doesn't matter if they're scoring, you like the assist, the rebound game, you can win money by watching sports with Underdog. It's one of the leading sports apps you can play in your state. 1,000 times your money on the line that you can win with Underdog. You just choose. Someone go higher or lower than their stats. Points, assists, rebounds, hits, runs, all of those things. Your favorite leagues, teams, stars. You can mix and match basketball and baseball. If you wanted to get a little spring training action in, you can do that. And with as little as $1, you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. So you really can turn $1 into $1,000 with your sports knowledge. Millions of fans have won billions making plays on Underdog and have over 100,000 five-star reviews with those players. Download the app today. Sign up using promo code TAP, TAPP, to unlock a special offer for up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you use that promo code TAP, TAPP, to claim that special offer today to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly with your first deposit. Must be 18 plus and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Men, this is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And though I generally talk about medicine and effective treatments for erectile dysfunction and other men's sexual health issues, today I want to talk about love. Because love is the best reason to get treated for your ED. You see, ED can cause major relationship issues. In fact, men often push their partners away when ED becomes a problem. The condition can cause depression, arguments, breakups, and even contribute to divorce. But the good news is that if you're like most men suffering with ED, you can be successfully treated at Heartland Men's Health and put a stop to the relationship stresses that ED can cause. I say this with all confidence because we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. Surely, it's likely you'll find you're performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and get the love back in your life. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Advent Health welcomes the KC Golf Show February 21st through 23rd at the Overland Park Convention Center. Test and buy big brands and enjoy new women's and kids programs Saturday at the show. Front door bonuses and tickets at kansascitygolfshow.com.
Attention small business owners needing financing. Swish Funding is providing funds for expansion, inventory, increased overhead, even slow cash flow to small businesses all over America with affordable funding as soon as one business day. And we're ready to help with funding from $10,000 to $2 million. If you've been in business for 1 year or more with a monthly income of at least $25,000, you can get the affordable funding you need with no collateral. Go to swishfunding.com today. That's swishfunding.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-967-7711. 800-967-7711. 800-967-7711.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks is proud to offer an exclusive and extensive collection of some incredibly rare bourbons, whiskey, and tequilas. Plus, check out our barrel selections that are handcrafted by our team and bottled just for you. Supply is limited. Cheers!
98 years. That's how long Overhead Door Company of Kansas City has been repairing and replacing garage doors. Locally owned and operated since 1927. Headquartered in Olathe. Always look for the iconic red ribbon of the genuine, the original Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. For same-day repair service 24/7, call Overhead Door Company of Kansas City, 816-221-0072, or schedule online at ohdkc.com.
Here is your Game of the Week, presented by Hyundai. The Saturday slate of games in college basketball is stacked with some great ranked matchups, one of which being the number 10 team in the country heading into Houston for what we can only imagine will be a fast-paced competition. The entire starting lineup for State has been recording double-digit points per game, while Houston's defense is one of the best in the country. Who will come out on top? Don't let the urge to sing along to that catchy tune distract you from that truck drifting toward your lane or that lane-splitting biker creeping up beside you. Fortunately, every Hyundai offers advanced safety features that can alert you to potential dangers around you, and Hyundai has over 120 IIHS top safety awards since 2006. Because Hyundai is always working to ensure the road doesn't get you, Hyundai vehicles have won over 120 IIHS top safety awards from 2006 to 2024. We put your safety first and everything else second. Learn more at HyundaiUSA.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or on third-party delivery platforms.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch all the shows from your phone, desktop, or tablet. Your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Of course, the show streaming on video, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, X, Twitter, all your social media channels. You can find the show there as well. You can always keep interacting with us on the chat there and also on the text line, 913-586-7965. Reminder, Royals baseball, first one of the year, spring training, 2:05 first pitch here on 96.5 The Fan, your home for KC Sports. So the defensive line in Bink's mock draft came up when we talked to him. He has a corner going at 31 to Kansas City. But when we were talking to him, we said, hey, well, defensive line, maybe that's the pick. Because right now, guys under contract on the defensive line, defensive tackle, it's Chris Jones. Not Turk Warden. He's a free agent, right? Derek Notty's a free agent.
Dan is under contract.
Yeah, but he's an edge, right? I mean, he can line, but he's more of an edge. And so Charles Omenihu is somebody that has not had a fully healthy season or played fully with the Chiefs organization. But when he's played, he's been really, really good. And he was on with Kay Adams on her show yesterday, and he talked about a couple different things. One, he discussed watching the Super Bowl for a third time, which we can get to that in a second. But I want to focus more on the offseason for him because he mentioned what his number one priority is when looking for a new team and for the rest of his career.
I'll first say that playing in big games is my number one priority.
Okay.
But obviously, when you're in a position to take care of your family, your kids to come, and generations to come, you can't overlook that. So it'll be like a hand-in-hand type of deal, and that's why I have Sean, my financial advisor, to help me with that, and then David to tell me what teams are being presented. And I know majority of all 32 team situations. I know who's going to be there and who's not, or who is climbing. And there could also be a team like the Commanders that come out of nowhere and draft the right quarterback, and then they go to the NFC Championship game. And now they're just a couple pieces away from being able to continuously do that. Now they're going to have to go against the Eagles and all that stuff. But, you never know in the league. It's the league is about parity, so they try and make to where they have more of those type of Commanders teams that come through. So you just evaluate and see what's best for you.
A couple of things stood out there from Omenihu.
Other than Kay Adams making a lot of weird sounds in response to everything.
That's her interview style. It's kind of like that's her interview style. But so a couple things that stood out.
Sorry, that stood out in the clip to me.
You're good.
Back to Omenihu.
One at the beginning, like obviously big games, well, the Chiefs fit that billing. But then very quickly he shifts to the reality of the business, which is, and nobody's going to fault anybody for this, hey man, I got to take care of my family. And this is
probably my biggest payday.
This is a player too that after last year where he had a great year, then tore his ACL in the AFC title game, and then he was tweeting throughout the offseason about getting an extension then. And dude, you were coming off an ACL. I get why you didn't get one. Well, then this year, you don't start playing until late in the year, and you were effective. Now, he had one sack, but he was still effective in those games. And now he's going to have his first fully healthy offseason, doesn't have health problems, doesn't have his own legal issues that he created a couple years ago. All that, like now heading into a season, I'm very much interested in bringing back Charles Omenihu because I think I'm going to get a full year of healthy, focused Charles Omenihu. And he's only, 27 years old. So he's under 30. I'm all good there. The question is, what's his market look like? He mentioned, I thought it was interesting too, because he mentioned, hey, there's you want to play in big games. My agent will tell me what teams are interested, Cody. But then also he said, there's a team like the Commanders, and all of a sudden they got the right quarterback, and then they're a piece away. Now he was just giving it in reference, I think, to because
he's trying to talk himself into a team that he's like, well, I do care about a winner. They're about to be one.
But if the Commanders make it like ton of sense in terms of can they offer more money than the Chiefs, and are they maybe close?
Both.
I don't think it's a great chance that he's back. I would love him back in Kansas City, but I think he can get more money somewhere else.
Does the depth at defensive line, and look, I've started to look at the draft stuff like anyone else, and people like Drew and others and Bink, and this is supposedly a pretty good defensive line draft, like a really good defensive line draft. If you're Omenihu, I still feel like in order to get top dollar, this is like the Hollywood thing. I still think you should take a 1-year deal and just ball out for a whole year and finally get your check. I know it's easier said than done because you actually stay healthy and produce.
Somebody's probably giving him a multi-year deal, though.
Yeah, probably 2 or 3. I mean, maybe 3 with like a fake third year. You know how this works. That's probably not off the table. I want Omenihu back. I actually think that they've got a real problem at edge if they don't bring back Omenihu, unless they're going to hit it in the NFL draft. And obviously, George Karlaftis was pretty much an immediate contributor, although it took him 8 or 9 games to get a sack in his rookie year. But he was on the board pretty quick and was a valuable player pretty quick. They'll need another edge guy if they let Charles Omenihu walk. The real question is, he kind of hedges his bet. Normally, if someone's like, I care about winning, I at least like that he's being honest. Because I heard guys like DeAndre Hopkins say, I care about winning, and then sign with the Titans.
Right.
And so, no, you don't, actually. And you're like, well, no. It's like, come on, stop it.
Well,
there are teams you can sign with that you do not care about winning, only winning if you sign with the Titans. Sorry.
Yeah.
If you care about, and he's saying both, I want to win, but I also want to check. Well, then, the Commanders are probably the only team you can sign with.
Based on that answer, I wouldn't be stunned at all if he ends up with a team like that. I just worry that somebody's going to give him a much better offer. But I think the Chiefs should absolutely, and I think they are, interested in bringing Charles Omenihu back. It's just always the right price kind of thing in the scenario of what he can do, knowing that because of his own off-the-field issue a couple years ago and then health, he hasn't cashed in yet. And so I'm not going to fault the guy for going and getting more guaranteed money somewhere else. But if you look at the Chiefs' needs, some of it could be telling how strong they feel about the defensive line draft. If everybody's talking already before the combine, that's a very good defensive line draft. Now, it's a rookie versus a veteran player in Omenihu, and where's your production? As you said, it took a little bit for even Karlaftis, who was a first-round pick.
It took about half a season to get a sack.
But if the Chiefs feel good about the depth at defensive line in the draft, as in they think they can draft 1 or 2 defensive linemen that can play fairly early, and then find another veteran that's cheaper, that would not stun me if that's the path they choose. And I think maybe what they do with Omenihu could be a little telling to how they feel where they're going to go at 31 even in the upcoming NFL draft. He also spoke to Diana Rossini about the way he handled the loss to Philadelphia in the Super Bowl. And I was a little surprised to hear how much of the game he actually watched, right? Like, he said he watched it 3 times, Cody, and I'm trying to find the audio cut. Here it is. Three different times.
I watched the film. I watched it 3 times.
Okay.
We had our exit meetings, talked to the coaches. And, I mean, you can't go back in time. You can't dwell. Coach Reed said it perfectly, like, you can't hang your head on this. Like, you got to regroup. I said it, like, you got to retool and refuel. And you can't refuel and retool by still thinking about the past. So you kind of just got to learn from it. Like I said, I watched the game 3 times.
What'd you pick up the 3rd time that you didn't on the first 2?
I just watched my bad plays over and over.
Okay, tell me more about that. I literally would never watch a show over that I hated. I don't even watch good ones back.
It ingrains in your head, like, to never do that again. You watch it once. The first time I watch it is just to watch. The second time I'm watching is to, like, really watch my rush, like what I did pass rush wise. And then the third time is to watch my pass rush and, like, look over my bad plays. I wouldn't say bad. It's just, like, I had missed opportunities and a couple rushes, and then one play on Gainwell that I tried to punch the ball out. Wasn't able to. Kind of just told myself, like, in those situations, probably best to get him down, negative yardage. So, yeah. And then the offsides I had, just watching that, zooming in and seeing what was wrong.
Ooh, 3 times. Watching that 3 times.
Have you watched it?
No, I never will. No.
You just never put that game on ever again?
Yeah, why? I don't know.
To learn something, like he said.
No, but, like, I think
the team will be different.
Yeah, like, I think we've heard I think of college basketball for this, actually, where, someone will have an early exit. Like KU will have an early exit from the tournament. Maybe they'll have that again this year, but when they've had them in the past.
They probably will this year.
Bill Self will be asked him, like, did you go back and watch that game? And a lot of times, no, I didn't need to do that. And there's a lot. I think there's a certain point, like, I don't know really what you get out of watching the Super Bowl. Like,
I think as an individual player, you get more because it's your things that you individually do that you can improve. Team wise, you're a different team. Everything's different.
Yeah, it's
you're
one
not
game.
The same next
you were
year,
15. You won 15 games and 2 playoff games, and then you had an awful performance in the Super Bowl. And yes, the team is going to be way different. A player, go back and watch it. Maybe I'm surprised he watched it 3 times. Woo. He explained each time was different and how he watched it, but that's.
I'm interested.
Like, it would not surprise me if we go up to spring training camp.
Sorry, spring training right now.
Does start today. Yeah, we go up to St. Joe, and if we ask a player, like, hey, did you ever go back and watch? It wouldn't surprise me if we surveyed 53 guys, if only 10 or 20% of them actually went back and watched.
I wonder if because
I just don't think it's.
He said he had the exit interview. And I wonder if.
No, sure.
Why? That's what I wonder if Andy's part of the requirement is for them to. Maybe it was, hey, you're going to all go back and you're going to watch it. Like if it was the defense or if it was the offense, hey, let's talk about this. Take a week, watch some of the film, come back, and when we have our exit interview, we'll talk about it a little bit.
But some of the guys aren't back. Like, there's no point of breaking down the game film with the player. Like, it's more like what we think we want to do with you in the offseason. Here's what we want you to work on in the offseason.
Yeah.
Go do it. It's not so much of like, let's sit down and see.
You really screwed up this third down play.
Well, no.
No, it's like, hey, work on your run stopping ability because we're seeing some looseness in that.
Right. I'm just saying, I think that there's maybe more players than we think actually that did watch it for the reason that Charles Omenihu watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 times.
But 3 times, God, I just couldn't do it to myself. I did hear, and I don't know if we're going to be on the same boat today or not. But
being on a boat sounds amazing right now.
You know that I had been
warm weather sounds good.
It does sound nice. I've been critical of Rob Manfred as a commissioner of baseball. I have softened on that stance because I have liked a couple of the things that they've done, including speeding up the game, which has been a massive success in my opinion. I really like that they reduced the number of division games and instead are giving you a chance to see every team in baseball come through your park every couple of years, all of those other things. I did, however, not enjoy this interview in which he essentially just blamed other teams for what the Dodgers are doing. First, I do not think Rob Manfred is actually personally checking fan emails, but that's beyond the point. He later in this interview essentially just like, everybody could be the Dodgers if they want to be. Your owner in Kansas City could just spin with the Dodgers. He's like, we like that level of competitiveness. They're actually anti-competitiveness. They're making the sport non-competitive. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I hear you. I don't think he's 100% wrong, though, like you do.
You think they're more competitive because they're willing to spend more?
No, I think we shouldn't be blaming the Dodgers for this. We should be blaming the other owners for this. And this is why I thought we were on the same page of this, which was, hey, I wanted to just continue to be so absurd with the Dodgers that eventually even the big market owners, Boston, New York, the other LA team,
maybe
et cetera,
the facial hair. They got to compete with the Dodgers,
that they get so fed up that it causes there to be maybe a salary floor or a salary cap. And I know players are anti-salary cap. I understand that, but something's got to give there on one side or the other. I understand that their TV deal is way different, and totally, but he's not wrong. Like the way, like it's not like he's not like 100% wrong with his answer there, man. Like the Dodgers are doing what they can within the rules. There is actually nothing, truly. I know you can say business-wise there is, but truly, there's nothing preventing the New York Yankees from doing exactly what the Dodgers are. There truly is not. They've chosen not to. And the Dodgers are not breaking any rule. Is it suck for the sport? Yeah, I don't disagree. The only part with his answer that I think is wrong is where he's like, well, he thinks it's overall good for the sport. That I push back on. No, having one team being able to go out and willing to go out. That's the difference, I think, is the wording. They're willing to go do something that nobody else is willing to do.
The Mets recently have entered that market, and the Padres did for a little while under their old ownership. But it's just like putting that impetus on just no other sport operates this way. None of the other major professional sports operate this way, where like one team, and like I get it, like, hey, everything's within the rules, you know? And what he's talking about is like, no one is stopping. Yeah, the other like 5 teams who could spin this way, sure. The Yankees could, but the Royals legitimately can't. They cannot financially afford to spend the amount of money the Dodgers spend on payroll. It is untenable.
Right.
They would, John Sherman would go bankrupt if he had to spend the amount of money or tried to spend the amount they do. Yep. All I'm asking is for some, like, can we have a little checks and balances in the system? Like, you're admitting that they're not breaking any rules. Well, can we start making some?
But that's not his.
Like, you and I talked about, like, deferred contracts or the other things. Like, can we start working towards some rules that even the playing field a little bit? Or are we just going to let them do whatever they want, run free?
Yeah,
Wild West.
I know people in every sport, nobody likes any commissioner really of any sport. I get it, the nature of their job. He works for the owner. So, like, as much as we can say, like, well, then go make a rule, Rob Manfred. That's not how that works. You know that. Like it's got to be the other. And this is where I said I hope it continues to get so crazy with the spending, even more so than it already is with the Dodgers. It would take the owners of the Yankees and the Red Sox and about 15 other teams, frankly, coming together and saying, "All right, this is absurd. Let's work with the Players Association and come to terms on something." I don't think the players are ever going to agree to a salary cap, so that's not going to happen.
They'd probably agree to no more deferred contracts.
The owners wouldn't agree to a salary floor. So what's the middle ground there? Is there something there? And their CBA's up in a couple of years, I think, again. Yeah, that's the only way. That's the only way there's going to be any sort of shift.
Is there any way, Cody, I don't know if I guess we'll use the Royals as the example. Is there any way that they could defer a contract? Like, is there any way that they could do it? So I wonder if actually, instead of the Dodgers or them just keep on spending and spending, I wonder if let's say the Dodgers landed Juan Soto, but they deferred his money, if it would piss off the big boys enough for them to go to Rob Manfred in New York and L.A.
That's what we're saying, yeah.
No, but I'm saying that the Dodgers don't do it. Because you're saying, Gold, you're saying you want the Dodgers to make it so egregious that everybody else says no.
Yeah, they're the only team doing it.
But no, I'm saying, so you're saying if the Royals did it, then it would piss everybody. That's what I'm saying. If the Royals got Juan Soto and they deferred the money,
team.
If it would make the Dodgers and the Mets and everybody mad enough to go to Rob Manfred.
You got to be a repeat offender. You got to be the team that's just been abusing the system as it sets for years and years and years and years. They'd actually be more mad if the Royals spent $19 million a year and won the World Series over and over and over again.
And someone
then
points
they
out,
would be tempted by the salary floor. But
someone points out, obviously, the TV revenue and the payroll. For
that's
sure. Nope.
Starter.
Again, I'm
TV
not saying
revenue.
that the Royals can go have a $300 million payroll. I mean, they can, but they won't last long. And ownership will not be holding onto the team very long if they ever did that. But the TV revenue is part of this, and that's also 2 years away from potentially working on a brand new TV deal and getting rid of the blackouts, all that kind of stuff. That's a couple years away from maybe happening. Yesterday, I think, actually was a step forward for baseball when the news came out that they dropped out of their deal. they had an opt-out with their deal with ESPN that after this year, Sunday Night Baseball, unless they come to terms on a new agreement, ESPN will not have Sunday Night Baseball anymore or the wild card games anymore. And Rob Manfred in his statement,
the Home Run Derby, everything else.
He said he was upset with the lack of baseball coverage as well. But ultimately, they think they can get the same deal or better from another partner, whether that's Amazon, Apple TV,
probably streaming,
Turner, whatever. It's probably streaming, but that's what they believe. I think actually that's a step in the right direction that they opted out of that deal with ESPN, because if you're going to solve some of the other problems, it's got to be more accessible to your fan base. And it is true though, like ESPN spends way less time on baseball than they ever have.
Having more games
coverage
on Fox. I mean, on FS1, you get Big Papi and A-Rod and Burkhart's great, obviously.
They're going to try. I mean, but yeah,
They do the World
it's
Series.
still weird.
They do All-Star Weekend. They do everything.
We're still used to ESPN having the Home Run Derby every year, having the All-Star Game every year, having Sunday Night Baseball with, like that. We're accustomed to that being a part of the coverage, and now it's not. I mean, but
yeah, the Sunday Night Baseball thing doesn't hurt me individually because it's Cubs and Cardinals and Yankees, Red Sox every Sunday night. Like I've got my fix there. Like that doesn't really do it. Now look, if they go to Apple TV, I clearly understand they're going to have a ton of the Yankees Dodgers games too. That's the way it works. But you get my point. Like the Sunday Night Baseball thing. Oh darn, we lost it.
I did see, like, speaking of ESPN real quick, I saw so Saturday's college basketball game between Iowa State and Houston. Big college basketball matchup for the Big 12 and just, like, two of the top teams in the country. ESPN is doing a sidecast on ESPN Plus where the angles are just body cams worn in the chest of the referees. And I'm going to tell you, that sounds like the worst game-watching experience I've ever heard of. What am I trying to get, motion sickness? Just 3 cameras implanted in the ref's chest running around in a wind sprint? I don't want to watch a basketball game like that. What a horrible way to watch a game. What were you thinking? Did you test
Nobody's
this out?
seeking that out.
Now, I'm sure it's strapped tightly. It's not like the camera's not going to be bouncing around, but like still.
Like watching the Blair Witch Project.
I don't know, man.
Maybe you see Jeffrey Anderson doing some high knees. He's the ref that's known for doing the high knees. He has his own Twitter account. I don't know if you guys know this.
I don't need a body cam on when they're looking at the replay review monitor. That's basically what we're going to see a majority of the time. We're going to get, and they'll probably turn the camera off when they're doing that. That's the only time. Actually, whenever they do the replay reviews, at least let me see. Let me go ahead and give me. Now, look, they show the same replay angle on the TV, but like, let me hear the conversation. Then I'm interested. I can hear the ref's conversation while they're doing the replay review. They'll never do that. That would be incredible.
Give me that. But I only want it for that 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I want it for no other portion of the game. I'm just trying to imagine, like, every once in a while, these sports, they consistently try to be like, what if we had a different angle live in the field? And you're like, nope. The angles we've established, I like. I like the little half-court angle for basketball. I don't like the weirdo sky cam for kick returns. Stop it. Yeah. I am accustomed to the angles of the sport in which I watch. You want to put a pylon cam on there so I can watch somebody die for it? Cool. Stationary? Fine. Strap a camera to the middle of the chest of the referee. I'm not watching 2 hours of that.
So I'm with you on the main broadcast. Like, I don't want that. But if there's an alternate channel that I have to go to watch, then what harm does it? If I'm able to watch, like, who cares if I just won't go to that extra channel to, just like during the national championship game, they got like 7 channels for the NCAA football championship. And I don't watch the all cast. I watch the main broadcast. Just like Monday Night Football, I can choose to watch the Manning cast or I watch the normal one. So that's why I don't get
That just seems like a bad side.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I
it seems like a terrible idea. That's all.
Yeah. Oh, I hear you. But as long as they don't bring that angle to the main broadcast, then, it is what it is.
They'll probably show it for a half a second to just show you, hey, over on ESPN Plus, here's some guy just sweating through, following the player by 10 steps behind the action.
Put one of those on a player, then we're talking.
Maybe, but even then, it's just going to make me feel sick.
Yeah.
At least then when the player's going up for a dunk or something, you feel like you're kind of like...
You're like, damn, his chest was at the rim.
Yeah.
But I still don't watch the ball go in.
I know.
It's a weird angle.
We'll have to see what it looks like. I'm sure they've... I mean, look, the things you're bringing up, I'm sure somebody in their room brought up too.
I tilted up a little.
There's got to be some adjustment.
How did that conversation go? Guys, I have a great idea for a camera angle. Let's put GoPros.
I don't know. GoPro paid for a sponsorship. I don't know. Yeah.
Chests.
It's a different company. I don't remember the sponsorship name, but they put it on the...
Oh, so there's your answer. It's because they're getting paid a ton of money. There's your answer. So it's not GoPro. It's a different company?
Yeah, it was Mind something. Mindfly AI body cam.
Oh, there you go. AI stuff.
Trying to get that, trying to get Series B funding or something.
The one camera angle I do like that's a little bit different. Of course, they can't do it in any other game of the March Madness because the way that they're in football stadiums and stuff. But having the one that's on the floor, the camera that's on the floor, right in front of the press, and it just goes along the floor as they go from end to end.
I don't know, man.
The camera's like on the floor. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Again, the only ones I like are the stationary ones when they're just like showing something like close-up action for just like a half a second. On the live feed, I like the angles we've been given. maybe I'm just used to it, but the new ones are always just like, it just feels like gold, like 9 Miller Lights deep was handed a camcorder from the 90s, and he's just trying to get a shot. And I'm like, I don't want this.
Yeah.
Get this out of my view. It's terrible.
Yeah, I'll be curious. Someone will post a video of what the cast looks like, and then we'll see how bad, or maybe it surprises us, or whatever it may be. All right, up next, we'll get to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. A couple of the free agents for Kansas City. Who do you actually want to bring back, whether it's a one-year deal or a multi-year deal? That's next.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Casey's has 8 new coffee roasts that have been described as having rich aromatics that entice any palate. But, we're not sure what that means, so we just call it darn good coffee. It's not crazy. It's Casey's. Now get a small hot coffee for 99 cents. See Casey's for details.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Hey, it's Karen with Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Ready to replace that roof? We have flexible financing options, 12 months same as cash, and don't make a payment for 90 days. And that's just one of many options we offer. Get on the schedule now with our in-house Consumer Credit Center. One call does it all for flexible payment options, affordability, and peace of mind. Visit shamrockroofer.com. That's shamrockroofer.com or call 1-866-932-3545 today.
Folks, it's time to rev up your engines and get ready for a wild ride for Ford Truck Month. And who better to bring you all the excitement than my favorite Ford dealer in Kansas City, Rob Sight of Rob Sight Ford in South Kansas City. Hey, Rob, what's going on?
Hey, Kevin, there are a lot of F-150s out there, but you're not going to find a better deal than Rob Sight Ford's $15,500 off brand new F-150s. That's right, $15,500 off. These savings only happen during Truck Month at Rob Sight Ford, so now is not the time to wait.
Rob Sight Ford is on fire.
Best price and best inventory at Rob Sight Ford. So many F-150s in stock. Don't wait because they won't last long. Biggest savings, best trade-in offers, all part of the Kevin Harlan VIP experience at Rob Sight Ford.
And I appreciate that. Like I've said before, Bobby, nothing compares to the quality and the professionalism at Rob Sight Ford.
Rob Sight Ford, 135th and State Line, ROBSIGHT.com.
Basketball fans, don't miss the MIAA Basketball Championships March 5th through 9th at Municipal Auditorium. 18 games over 5 days, the nation's best small college basketball tournament will feature some of the nation's best Division II teams. Get your tickets now through Ticketmaster and visit odyssey.com/965thefan/events February 20th through 24th to register to win free tickets. MIAA Madness, March 5th through 9th. Bring your A-game.
Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident? You need Jay's Southland Tow Service. They have over 20 years of experience servicing the KC Metro. They specialize in light, medium, and heavy duty, as well as commercial transport and construction equipment. Keep this number handy, 816-779-4869 or southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments, Jay's Southland Tow Service. There's nothing they can't do, so be in the know and use Jay's Southland Tow. Has your home been on the market without success? An expired listing can feel frustrating, but it doesn't have to be the end of your journey. The Sharp Homes team specializes in turning things around. Contact my friend Dawn Sharp if you're looking to buy or sell a home. Dawn and her team are brokered by Epic Realty, and they've sold over 150 homes in the last 12 months alone. Plus, they can give you options. If you want to skip the showings and open houses and go straight to sold, you can do that with their instant offer program. Google them at Sharp Homes Team or visit them at homesforsaleInKC.com.
Hi, welcome to Staples. Hi, I hear Staples can print it all for my business. Oh, if you can think it, Staples can print it, and will beat any print quote. Oh, great. I'm thinking new brochures and yard signs. No problem. I'm thinking calendars, t-shirts, and pens. Totally. I'm thinking Staples is the place for printing. I thought you might think that.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We're back in the Miller's front yard who recently switched to True Green.
Their lawn started looking like a golf course, and PGA Tour golfers started showing up.
Like this pro, lining up his next shot from this pristine grass.
Has to clear the trampoline and a kiddie pool.
And lands in the middle of this beautiful True Green lawn.
Even the Labradoodle next door wishes this yard were his.
Get a PGA Tour quality lawn for as little as $1 a day. Sign up now at TrueGreen.com. Exclusions apply. See TrueGreen.com for details.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to the A to Z savings event at AutoZone.
Yeah, happy to be here. Can I get some rotors?
Would you like brake pads with that?
How much are the brake pads?
Free with the rotors.
Free. Really?
Really, free.
Okay, I also need some oil.
Would you like an oil filter with that?
Yeah, how much is that?
Free with 5 quarts of oil.
Free? Really?
Really, free. It's part of the A to Z savings event.
You might as well call it A to free.
At AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Getting your guaranteed maximum refund with TaxSlayer feels like discovering a refund tree has grown in your backyard.
I'm the refund tree.
Sawing off its branches.
Hey.
Feeding them through a wood chipper.
My branches! My beautiful branches!
And dancing in its refund rain. Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
Royals coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
I was coined almost Andy Reid when I was on a radio show, and it's stuck with me ever since. Renner Garage Door can help you not get stuck out in the cold this winter. Book your annual maintenance or get a free replacement quote today.
RENNER, RENNER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
So we just heard from Charles Omenihu earlier this hour. He is a free agent. Whether or not they bring him back, a couple different factors. He kind of laid out some of the things he's going to consider. So let's take a look at the 11 free agents on offense. There are more than just 11 free agents, but 11 on offense. We can go to the defensive side as well.
Maybe
start on the offensive side. Arrowhead Pride actually had a write-up on this, and they went through a couple of these players. I think there's a few that are, to me, easy. Like, hey, man, appreciate your time here. It's time to move on. There's a few, though, I would be very, very interested. Like, let me start with the player that out of the entire group of 11, that both financially and just desire to have the player back, that I would absolutely love. Because, like Trey Smith, I think we would all love back. I just don't think that's realistic financially. Sure. I'm talking about you got to consider the financial end and just the desire to have the player back in the fit. I'm very interested in bringing Hollywood Brown back. I'm very interested. I think financially, the price could be right. My only concern, much like Charles Omenihu, is there a team out there that is willing to give him a multi-year deal? And you're like, hey, but maybe the market's not as good because people feel good about the draft. And so can I get Hollywood Brown back on a 1-year deal? Like, that's different than me saying, I'll take Trey Smith back on a much less deal. Like, Trey Smith's not taking an $8 million discount. Yeah. Hollywood Brown's market might just not be great. And if that's the case, I'm definitely interested. Similar type of deal from a year ago. I felt like we saw a couple weeks when he was with the team and not injured from the preseason injury. You saw kind of why they were so excited about his role. I also know Rashee Rice has a good chance of missing part of next season. I know they're two different types of receivers, but still, it's another weapon I would like to have. And so Hollywood Brown's kind of at the top of the list of the offensive free agents that I would be interested in bringing back, because the rest of them, not really interested in bringing anybody else back.
So I viewed this as, for the players that we know are going to cost a lot of money, Trey Smith, whatever his free agency contract's going to be, or Hollywood Brown. For the guys who, the going rate, the answer is just, do you want them back at what you believe to be the going rate? The other players, I asked myself the question that even if it was a 1-year deal at market rate, am I interested? And there was I would say, surprising amount of no's. Hollywood, he lands in if it's a 1-year deal, fine. Am I excited about it as you? No. I'm like, fine. He played 2 games. He had 40 yards a game. He in the postseason was fine. It wasn't like gangbusters or anything. My concern with him is the same as I had when they signed him initially, but now it's only heightened by another year, which is he's never recently. He was a 1,000-yard wide receiver a million years ago, and since then he hasn't been a player who can stay on the field for any length of time. This year being an egregious case because of a freak injury, but the previous years, he wasn't staying healthy when he wasn't down with those things. So, I still worry for the same reason. But for 1 year, 1 year DeAndre Hopkins, not interested.
Yeah, I'm kind of
1 year of Kareem Hunt, not interested. 1 year of Justin Watson.
Special teams impact, it depends, right?
I mean, if you said 1 year, and let's say it's the same money, and you could either sign Justin Watson or McCole Hardman, I'd probably take McCole at this rate. Wouldn't you? If it's just 1 year? McCole has special teams impact too.
I would argue, though, McCole Hardman's role is even more limited in what he can offer them than Justin Watson.
Justin Watson plays a few different spots. Yeah.
I actually think McCole brings less to the table.
If it was 1 for 5 for either, who you sign it?
Justin Watson. Yeah. Dude, McCole Hardman might be a player that doesn't have any. He might be able to be brought back just as a training camp, maybe practice squad guy. I'm saying, I don't know what his market's looking like. Actually, I think Justin Watson has a tad bit more.
He's 35 by now. I know he's not that, but it feels like he's been in the league forever.
He's not 35, but
he's probably 29.
I think when we're talking about value, we're still talking a very small value, but he special teams has value, and then I think offensively, McCole Hardman, the gadgety stuff, they got guys to do that. They don't like that. That role's gone. That was taken over by Worthy and other players.
Yeah, that does hurt him a little bit.
Juju Smith-Schuster,
by the way, Justin Watson.
Okay, Juju Smith-Schuster, kind of out. Credit to him.
Not even if it was a 1 year deal. Yeah,
credit to him for turning the 1 year where everybody already thought he was done into something. Right, he did help them out big time in that Saints game. It was best game of the season, best game in a couple years. And then Jody Fortson's on the list. I think it's just
for
time,
1 year,
guys.
man?
It's just time. They've tried, and it sucks for this guy. We've had some fun talking about him.
Poor Jody.
You went to my can't stay healthy. It sucks. Just your body failing you. Just failing you. Yeah, it's time to just, you know what? And he did. He went to Miami right after, I think, right?
He did.
It's just time to be done with that whole thing.
You want Wentz back?
Fine. They like the veteran backup. So sure.
I think the most interesting 2 guys in this conversation, or 3 guys for us in this conversation, are the wide receivers, right? Watson, Juju Smith-Schuster, and how quickly you and I both said, I'm good on Kareem, while simultaneously admitting he was definitely the better of the 2 backs. My problem is I got to get more athletic there. I can't keep 2, one young running back who already feels like he's aging and one aging running back who's definitely doing that and roll that back, eating up snaps as a safety net. He'll be available just like he was this year. It's I appreciate it, but even if it was 1 for $4 million, I'm not really interested.
Because of what he did for the Chiefs, I think some team will give him a deal. He won't have to wait around till week 1 to get signed. I think somebody will give him a deal in the next month and a half or something like that.
To their younger guy, yeah.
I also, want them to draft an explosive running back, whether it's in the 2nd or 4th round or something, just anything but the 1st round. And so to have that guy pair with Pacheco, I don't want to have Pacheco, Hunt, and a rookie running back. I would like the rookie running back with Pacheco plus some other individual. I think it was very evident, as good as Kareem Hunt was for them this year, he has no explosiveness anymore. He just doesn't. Now, his vision was great. It's why he was effective for them at times, but no explosiveness anymore. He just doesn't have this at his age now in the NFL. So, yeah, you and I are on the same page. What about DJ Humphries? Isn't this all contingent on plan A, B, and C failing?
I mean, I only want him back is if they don't have another left tackle, and I guess fine.
He's plan D.
But I got to be honest, I'd borderline move Jawan Taylor to left tackle before I signed.
That's what I was saying yesterday. I'm kind of with you that I still think it's bizarre how that was never an option for this team.
You just don't think?
I'm talking about 2 years ago, not even like in season this year. Just that when he first signed, they just found their left tackle of the future. I remember having that conversation.
They said it. They said out loud, we're going to look at him at left tackle. And they got in the middle of a season where they had no idea what to do at left tackle. Wanye looked fine at right for a couple of games or a couple of snaps, and they thought, did they not even kick it around?
He never got a rep at left tackle. I'm going back.
This goes back to the Andy Heck comments that apparently he was very, very, very hesitant in season about this Joe Thuney plan.
But I'm not even discussing this year. I'm going back to the day he signed. We had him on the show. I think the day he was introduced as a Chief. We had Jawan Taylor. We asked him. I would have to go find the audio. We asked him, they talked to you? You going to play left tackle? And he was like, I'll play wherever I want kind of thing. And then I don't think he got a single rep, not even in a practice, at left tackle. They signed Donovan Smith later on that offseason, and he was their guy. And Donovan Smith gave him average play, and they won a Super Bowl. But also, I think that scenario even is like plan the fourth or fifth option down the road.
I like how many people in the text are still like, Jody Fortson back.
Yeah, man.
1 year, come on.
What about Samaje Perine? Same kind of thing.
Nah, I'm fine. I'm trying to get younger at running back. I'm out on running back. I'm flushing the whole system, and I'm starting from scratch.
So really for me, and it sounds like we're not far off, you're less on Hollywood than I am, but Hollywood Brown and then maybe Justin Watson. Other than that, I'm kind of good on the offensive free agents for the Chiefs.
It's a 1 year deal.
Yeah. Someone said they're done with Pacheco. He's under contract. He's not going anywhere. He may not be the guy, but he will be on the roster next year.
If it's a 1 year deal in Hollywood for the right price, I'm in. But if you tell me the price has jumped significantly, I'm out. Mm-hmm. And if you tell me I have to add a second year, I'm out. So like he's very fringe for me. I definitely, like you said, if it's the identical deal he's offered this year and it's 1 for 10, but it's really like 5 and it can be more or less depending on whether or not he actually shows up. Okay, I feel like we normally do this conversation, funny enough, the opposite way. It's like, who do we want to keep? I'm just saying, who do we want to get rid of? Well, and it's not to be mean, but it's just like, even if it were a 1 year deal, there are a number of their offensive free agents I'm not interested in.
Well, because so many of them that we met were in-season acquisitions. They were not the
and
plan.
Hopkins doesn't have it.
Going back to the first day at training camp, all right, DeAndre Hopkins wasn't part of the roster. Juju wasn't part of the roster. You know what I mean? Kareem Hunt wasn't part of the roster. DJ Humphries wasn't part of the roster. So that's also why it's easy to move on, because a lot of these guys were truly backup plans. And to their credit, he was a little later in the process. He wasn't mid-season, though, right? Wasn't McColl in training camp?
Yeah. They added him last year or something. I don't remember.
Oh no, they made the trade with the Jets, and then they still had to sign him again in the offseason.
Yeah, so I just don't remember when he got added, but it's something they brought him back.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And Samaje Perine was an offseason guy, but same thing. It's again market rate. The only guy
June 6th is when they re-signed him.
If it's just straight market rate, I could still talk myself into Trey Smith, but I think that's only under the guise that if you're planning on walking away from Joe Thuney in a year. It only works as if you're not gonna rework Joe Thuney's number to fix your cap problems now, and you're going to use Travis Kelce or Patrick Mahomes or some of these other players in order to do that. And your plan is to walk on Joe Thuney, who's kind of an aging player, from doing it. But I got to assume Joe Thuney's got 3 years left in his career of high-level left guard play, just based on the position he plays and the level of play he's continued to give. He didn't show any drop down this year. It makes it very hard to make that move.
Yesterday, CDOT had Joel Corey, former NFL agent, on the show. We've talked to Joel before. He's very insightful because he did this thing. He worked on off-season contracts. He knows kind of what the market is going to be and how teams think and how agents are going to think. And they asked him, you should check out the full interview, about a variety of players. But the one that caught our attention a little bit was when Joel Corey was asked about Trent McDuffie and when a deal should happen. And it's interesting because if you're the Chiefs, you want to get this thing done, but maybe Trent McDuffie is going to say, hold on, let's wait a little bit.
Good corners are harder to find than wide receivers, but wide receivers make a whole lot more money than corners, so there still needs to be a market correction. If I'm McDuffie, I can exercise a little bit of patience. I want to see if Sauce Gardner had a down year gets a deal done, and I want to see if Stingley from the Texans gets a deal done. They'll go past the reigning defensive player of the year, Patrick Surtain II's $24 million per year. I want to let them move the needle And then I want to come in and have those deals in the marketplace and capitalize on that if I'm Trent McDuffie.
And then on the flip side, if you're the
I
Chiefs,
ain't hearing that. Chiefs, sign it now.
And if you're the Chiefs, that's why it's like, yeah, go get this thing done fairly early, so you don't have the market reset. He's not the one resetting the market, and this is the give and take. And we'll see if they come to terms on something.
Both sides know that.
This is not an unusual time to get a deal done, though. It's not like you're asking him to get a deal done 2 years early like last year. You're asking him a year early to get a deal done. But it'll be interesting to see how this. Let's just say if a deal doesn't get done, it's not that the Chiefs aren't interested. It's that most likely Trent McDuffie's agent, they're playing it pretty smart, and they think that they can get way more money once these other guys get deals done. For the Chiefs' sake, you hope that this thing can get ironed out before those names he mentioned get done.
If his agent is, and I don't know Trent McDuffie's agent, but if he's onto the same thing Joel Corey's onto, the former NFL agent,
sure he is,
because he has a 5th-year option. There's actually, in McDuffie's case, there is no argument for signing a deal this offseason. That unless you're just
security.
Sure, I get, but outside of he's never been an injured player. Typically, he's been healthy. He's played at an All-Pro level.
Jimmy Sexton, I believe it is his agent.
I guess so. There's not much of an argument, not zero, but there's not much of an argument for just wait a year. Just wait a year. The whole market will reset more than a few times over. Maybe what will happen at center, like Creed Humphrey. Centers were being paid way less than other offensive linemen. Creed Humphrey didn't just get a raise compared to the next center. Creed Humphrey took the center market and then took it $2, $3, $4 million above what any other center was being paid to be more in line with what other offensive line was being paid. If you're the Chiefs, the only thing you're trying to avoid is that. Make him the highest paid corner in the NFL. So be it. Just don't make him the highest paid corner in the NFL by $5 million a year because it is an undervalued position. Pay him while it's an undervalued position.
Well,
and teams make this mistake all the time.
You do it now.
But sure. But it takes two to tango.
I know. Yeah, I get it.
I'm 100% with you guys. But that's the point is, if you're Trent McDuffie's agent, you balance the risk of waiting till next year and the injury risk there or not. That's how this stuff. This is not the first time a player's been in this spot where we could wait and we think you're in a unique spot. He's one of the best players in the league right now, and he's still on a rookie deal. So I think it's just something that should be out there. Don't panic if the Chiefs don't get a deal done. Meaning, it's not like they're not
There's
interested.
There's a reason why.
There's a reason. The other side is slow playing this on purpose to try to get the most money.
Well, and it's not going to handcuff him the way that people say that Jamar Chase's deal will as well. But I think along the lines, it's the same sort of thing where you're a year ahead. Pay him the money now. So if let's say Trent McDuffie,
whatever he wants in guarantees, yeah.
Let's say Trent McDuffie actually goes. Let's say they don't pay him, but Trent actually goes out and has a 6-interception season. He's by far the best season of his career. But Stingley gets paid and somebody else gets paid. You're all of a sudden have the uptick plus the salary cap increases again. Where if you get it done now, we talked just a little bit about this yesterday, Cody. But if you pay him now, the uptick in salary could be significant enough where you're getting a value after 1 year of paying him, and you still have more left to go. So that's why getting it done can be so significant. I wonder if you'd be willing. Would you be willing to pay him $5 or $6 million more per year than the highest paid now just to get it done? Or would you just want to make him the high, or would you just offer the highest paid?
I'd offer him highest paid, highest guaranteed today.
The only reason
why
I
would hope that he bites on it, and he might not for the same reasons we just mentioned with Joel Corey. But that's what I would try.
Yeah, the whole reason we're trying to get the deal done now is so you don't have to do the $5 million above.
And here's the argument for Trent McDuffie to just take the deal now. If I'm the Chiefs, I'd be like, hey, take it now. He's 24 years old. We're gonna pay you a little bit more this year. We're gonna pay you instead of that 5th-year option. You're just gonna be under contract for us, right? We don't have to do the traditional 5th-year option. We're going to add 2 more. We're going to have you as a 4 or 5 year deal. And by the time that contract's up, he'll still be under 30. Trent McDuffie got in the league young enough that he doesn't have to make this his only payday. He's 24 years old. He won't be 25 till September, so until the season starts. If he signs a 4-year deal, including the final year of this, or a 5-year deal, he'll still be around 30 years old when he gets paid again. Then all the cap numbers will go up. Maybe the position catches up in underpaid salary. Because these things go through a bit of ebb and flow. Like, running back is still dramatically underpaid to other positions. But because Saquon got all that money, the next few running backs will actually get paid pretty well until they stop mattering again, and then the numbers will come down a little bit. Corner, it just hasn't caught up for whatever reason, which is weird. Because to Joel Corey's point, it is way harder to find an elite-level corner than it is to find an elite-level wide receiver, which has always been my whole argument with go find an elite-level tight end because you're going to pay him $15 million less a year, $20 million less a year than an elite wide receiver. Go find an elite corner because you're going to pay him $15 million less a year than elite level. I'm just saying it's worthy when you found him, let's say.
Yeah.
It's actually worth paying him whatever he wants.
No,
because it's harder
you.
to find than wide receiver. I know that not like just on the street find him, but you get the point.
No, I hear what you're saying from a financial end, because otherwise I'm like, well, yeah, that's the tricky part is going and finding that elite level corner and that elite level wide receiver for sure. And look, they're going to get something done with Trent McDuffie. Maybe it's not this offseason though. Like we'll find out. But I'm not worried about Trent McDuffie not being with the Chiefs long term. That's a guy that they're going to take care of. They absolutely love the guy.
The way that you present it in terms of double dipping, in a way, I think that might be actually what convinces him to get it now, where, hey, we're going to make you the highest paid corner right now. We're going to give you the guaranteed money where you can get your payday now and be set for the rest of your life
no matter
what happens. Yeah. Then you might be able to piggyback on top of it if you're still playing at that level in 4 or 5 years.
And go get one more deal. And I'll say corners this is the other argument for take your check now. Corners age about as bad as running backs. Like, you'll see guys like Nnamdi Asomugha be the highest paid corner in the league, and then at 29 years old, they stink.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a speed thing. I think it's once you kind of lose that half step, your ability to be the elite level coverage corner that we're used to seeing. Like, Darrelle Revis faded quick. Darrelle Revis was with the Chiefs when he was like 31 years old. He wasn't like, he was a little older than that, but like, he was already struggling. They were like, he was a player that people weren't talking about the same way then as they started to go after it. It happens kind of quick with corners, so I think sometimes you have to take the check early. I also think that that's why their numbers have stayed lower. This doesn't happen very often in the NFL, so I want to give the Chiefs some credit for correctly choosing the right team MVP. Every team, all 32 of them, are going to choose their team MVP or already have. I don't know if all the teams have made their announcement. The Chiefs today announced their Rookie of the Year and their team MVP. The Rookie of the Year, believe it or not, was not Kingsley Suamataia. It was, indeed, Xavier Worthy. The logical choice, Gold, for Team Rookie of the Year. The Mac Lee Hill Award winner goes to Xavier Worthy. It was the easiest slam dunk choice ever. But they named their team MVP, and it was Joe Thuney. And honestly, I don't know. I seriously doubt of the 31 teams that a single left guard will be chosen on any other team. I'm here to tell you, is the right choice. What more do you want the man to do? He played 12 games of all-pro level left guard with absolute turnstiles at left tackle next to him for the entire year. And then when you got desperate, you asked him to play left tackle, and he did that too. And until the Super Bowl, did it pretty admirably.
He did.
Honestly, he was the team MVP this year. There was no player that was asked to do more and did anything asked of him than Joe Thuney.
Absolutely. Yeah, this was an easy one. Both awards make ultimate sense and all that. This is why it was the debate all year towards the end of the season was, do they keep him at left tackle or not? Because he's such a good left guard. And ultimately, the failures in the Super Bowl, like, there's not one player it goes on, right? But Joe Thuney had a tough day, but the guy to his right also had a really tough day. And then you go through the play calling and everything. But you think about some of those games. There was a few performances everybody truly thought they fixed it with Joe Thuney. That's how impressive he was at times at left tackle. And obviously, when his career is all over and the rings and everything, that should be something someone uses as a pitch for the Hall of Fame case one day down the road for Joe. It's tough to get in the Hall of Fame as a guard. We know this. But if you were trying to make the case 10 years from now or whatever for Joe Thuney as a Hall of Famer, you would also want to point out and reference the 4 or 5 games that he was asked midseason to play left tackle and what they were able to accomplish.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know who you'd give it to outside of that, right? I mean, Mahomes had kind of a down year. Kelsey had a down year. It's hard to see the value in the other stuff, but it's just being asked what he was asked to do. Like, I don't know what else you could. I legitimately don't know what else you could have asked of him this season, considering the circumstances. It was a really challenging year to be an offensive lineman. And when you factor in the fact that he was getting no help at left tackle that entire time he was trying to play left guard, you're not getting any help. No one's going to try to help you squeeze out your player. You're just going to have to beat your guy every time because the guy next to you is getting beat every time. So you let it up, then the thing's really screwed. We don't have any hope of holding this thing together. It's just weird to see team MVP for a team that went to the Super Bowl to be a left guard.
Who else would it have been?
No, I don't have a better answer. I don't know, Chris Jones? Somebody on defense would be probably your answer, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe the guy we were just talking about. Yeah, maybe
only those two.
Maybe it was Trent McDuffie. Other than that, offensively, the only other guy would be the guy that already got the rookie
MVP guys. Spags
there you go. Otherwise, it's Xavier Worthy. That's probably the only other answer I would possibly give you. And he won the Rookie of the Year, which was easy.
Yeah, I was trying to think about, like, who would your second choice be? It'd probably be Chris Jones for me. My guess is that I would have voted Chris Jones as the second team MVP. Maybe McDuffie. I don't have another. I mean, I can't even think of another player in offense I would have given it to. They didn't have a wide receiver.
Maybe Leo Chanel is like a dark horse because he won
blocked
you
a
the
couple
game.
of kicks. I mean,
that might be the reason to
the
actually
starting
have him up
linebacker.
there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to be a backup.
It's hard to pick anybody
rotating.
else for sure.
Someone's mentioned Karlaftis because the 8.5 sacks or whatever. Didn't he have like 8.5?
I think he ended up at that number, maybe.
But it took a little while and kind of a slow start, and I think Chris Jones helps that. So
Someone said Kareem Hunt. There's an argument there.
Just for like being the guy who stepped, same thing as Thuney, right? The guy who stepped up.
Came out of nowhere, and where would they be without him kind of thing. Yeah, I could hear that case. All right, coming up next, guys, we'll get to what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Talk a little bit more about the bar being raised for a young player in the Royals organization. Plus, Drew's not going to like what we're about to say, I think, about a wide receiver that wants a lot of money. Next.
Cody and Gold.
I didn't sleep well. I was drunk.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5, The Fan.
Advent Health welcomes the KC Golf Show, February 21st through 23rd at the Overland Park Convention Center. Get a dozen front door perks while they last. Enter our indoor golf championship. Enjoy the PXG Zone, Saturday women's event, and get fitted with Golf MD at the Golf Show, February 21st through 23rd at the OP Convention Center. Thanks to The Puttery, Great Life Golf, Olathe Ford, Extreme Green, Tito's Vodka, Birdie's Indoor Golf, Topo Chico Hard Seltzer, Imperial Golf, and Barry's Golf and Groove. VIP tickets at kansascitygolfshow.com.
What is GMTVCC? That's a mouthful, but translation for GMTVCC.com is Give Me the VIN Classic and Collector Cars. It's a brand new buying division of Give Me the VIN, but it's for classic and collector cars. Experienced pro buyers will appraise an offer on your 1970 Hemi Cuda, or 1988 Fox Body Mustang, or your granddad's old 1985 square body Chevy truck. GMTVCC.com is where you go to get real money for classic and collector cars to get paid now. That's GMTVCC.com, brought to you by Give Me the VIN.
I love Hy-Vee for so many different reasons, but one of the things I love most about Hy-Vee is their customer service. Everyone that works at Hy-Vee is awesome. And you know what else I love about Hy-Vee? I don't have to sacrifice quality and service to get low prices. Hy-Vee just dropped the price on thousands of items in every aisle, in every department, on items I buy every day, both in-store and online. Hy-Vee even match prices with the nation's biggest discount stores. So check out Hy-Vee today and get those low prices only at Hy-Vee.
Something big is happening at Hy-Vee. We've just lowered thousands and thousands of prices on thousands and thousands of items in every aisle and in every department. Online, too. And on many of your favorite products. We've even matched prices with some of the biggest discount stores in the country. Because we get it, times are still tough. So we'll continue to work hard to bring you new lower prices on thousands of items. Things are looking different at Hy-Vee. Come see for yourself.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-469-1635. 800-469-1635. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-469-1635.
It starts as a nuisance and you just put up with it, but then that awful joint pain impacts everything in your life. Walking, climbing stairs, even getting in and out of the car hurts. Hey, it's Bob Fesco. I'm talking about that always there joint pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, and back. But here's the good news. QC Kinetics. Groundbreaking treatments for arthritis pain. Long-term relief is now possible with no downtime. Tens of thousands of QC Kinetics patients would tell you, don't wait, make the call today. These new orthobiologic cellular therapies, including PRP treatments, can revitalize your joints without going under the knife. Look, joint pain doesn't get better with time, so before it's absolutely debilitating, see if you're a candidate for these life-changing regenerative treatments. Call QC Kinetics today for your free consultation. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out.
Pour Downy in the rinse straight.
Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to the A to Z savings event at AutoZone.
Yeah, happy to be here. Can I get some rotors?
Would you like brake pads with that?
How much are the brake pads?
Free with the rotors.
Free. Really?
Really, free.
Okay, I also need some oil.
Would you like an oil filter with that?
Yeah, how much is that?
Free with 5 quarts of oil.
Free? Really?
Really, free. It's part of the A to Z savings event.
You might as well call it A to free.
At AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Getting your guaranteed maximum refund with TaxSlayer feels like discovering a refund tree has grown in your backyard.
I'm the refund tree.
Sawing off its branches.
Hey.
Feeding them through a wood chipper.
My branches! My beautiful branches!
And dancing in its refund rain. Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
This is the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your new home for Royals baseball. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
What's trending is presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. Number one is that we got Royals baseball this afternoon from Surprise, Arizona, right here on your home for the Royals, 96.5 The Fan. 2:05 first pitch. Daniel Lynch going to get the nod for about 2 innings or so. Lineup is out. Jonathan India leading off. Oh, it just looks good.
Caglianone's going to play today.
We're going to check in with Vern here in about 40 minutes or so from Surprise. Talk to him about Jack Caglianone's debut and some of these other players as well. So, yeah, man, it's good to have some baseball. As we're driving home from work today, going to be able to listen to some baseball.
It'll just feel warmer outside, even though it's like 15 degrees outside. It'll feel warmer knowing that there's baseball around the corner. Next up on What's Trending, the USA falls to Canada in the Four Nations final yesterday in overtime. 3-2. Unfortunate ending for the U.S., who had multiple opportunities in the early part of that overtime period. Then it started shifting over to Canada, getting more of the chances they eventually cash in on the goal and the win. Obviously, it was just an NHL All-Star game thing, but they had made it feel completely different than that. Very effective. We'll talk about it more later in the show, but USA came up short against Canada.
The entire event was awesome, though. It really was a huge win for the NHL and everything, and it lived up to the hype. Not every sporting event does, but that certainly did. Next on What's Trending, local college basketball. Kansas taking on Oklahoma State tomorrow at Allen Fieldhouse. That's at 3 o'clock. The latest Joe Lenardi bracketology has Kansas down to a 7 seed in the NCAA tournament. Yeah, absolutely makes sense considering where they're at. Missouri at Arkansas at 7, and then Kansas State taking on Arizona State. That game not till Sunday.
What do they have Missouri at in the race?
They were not in the top. I think the 5 seed is what I saw.
Okay,
they were not in the top 4. I think they're just on the outside of being a 4 seed. I still think they're going to end up at least as a 4.
They keep playing this way. I don't know how you
when the tourney starts. They still have a path to become a 3.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's not out of the question. Depends on how they handle the next couple games. That win against Alabama is certainly going to go a long way towards that. Next up on What's Trending, the New York Yankees have altered their facial hair policy. After a lifetime of not allowing you to have a beard, they now will. It has to be clean. It has to be presentable or well-groomed, I believe is the words
yes.
they use. But you can now officially have a beard and be a member of the New York Yankees.
It's about time. It's a ridiculous rule. Save me the tradition stuff. You can have traditions with your uniforms, not like telling people what facial hair they can have. Like, as long as you, again, well-groomed. Nobody's saying, like, you should just have, no. Well-groomed, you're good. Every other sport, every other franchise, it'll look weird, but, like.
Imagine Aaron Judge with a beard?
If he wants to.
Can he grow a beard?
I don't know.
Probably. I mean, I don't think you're 6'7", 216. You can't grow a beard. I just think, like, your masculine energy is too strong. You have to be able to grow it.
What are you trying to say?
I'm just saying, if you're that tall, big.
Yeah, I mean, that's a shot. That's a shot over. Drew said it takes 3 weeks.
I'm over here waiting 2.5 weeks for anything. Jeez.
That is still wild that you shave once every 3 weeks is like that's
nuts to me.
I'm honestly jealous.
Same. I gotta shave. I shave like once or twice a week.
I'm jealous.
Yeah. This is like the extent of I'm ready
like
to
4 days.
This is 2. Yeah, that's
5 days, something like that.
Next up and lastly on
crazy.
what's trending, the Chiefs announced their team awards as they do each and every year. Joe Thuney won the Derek Thomas Award, the team MVP, and then Xavier Worthy won the Mac Lee Hill Award, which is the Rookie of the Year.
There actually is one more thing.
Okay.
As we fade out on what's trending, I saw Bloomberg announced that Hooters is expected to file bankruptcy. You know, never happened to Drew's spot, Twin Peaks.
That's right.
Never there.
That's my spot.
But Hooters is expected to file bankruptcy.
People just don't want wings anymore.
I guess not wings combined with. I don't know what to say.
Combined with what?
An experience.
Oh,
ambiance.
Apparently, Hooters is not fantastic enough.
What happened?
Restaurant
was it private equity?
Restaurant business is tough, man. Restaurant business is very, very tough.
Business not as good anymore. Declining foot traffic, they said.
Well, I'm assuming that's why they're. When's the last time you were inside of a Hooters?
I don't know. Working here, I think. I had to do a show for this station and other stations from there a couple of times. That's probably the last time.
Last time I was in a Hooters, I think, was 2022. So 3 years ago.
Never been to Hooters.
You never been?
Nope.
Huh.
Apparently, I've only been to Twin
You're
Peaks.
You're a Twin Peaks guy. I get it. I get it, man.
And I went there one solitary time.
Said struggles to reflect the broader challenges facing casual dining establishments, particularly
chains.
Economic conditions shift and consumer preferences evolve.
This has happened with TGI Fridays, Red Lobster, of course, filed bankruptcy, closed a bunch of locations. It's national chains. It's tough.
300 locations nationwide. I guess we would expect them to have less now, Tough to say.
I'm glad we snuck that in there. What's trending? Thank you for the financial news of the day. We appreciate that.
The text line is has some theories.
Someone says they're 37. They've never been to Hooters.
Good for you.
Well, get there now before it's too late, Also, that's not how bankruptcy works. They'll still have locations.
They just might consolidate.
Might have less. Hard to say. Should we do a show there? Support?
Sure. Bink once judged
He really did.
Swimsuit competition. Wasn't it a swimsuit competition at a Hooters? He was a judge.
Only Binkley. I don't think anybody else.
You can all imagine how that went.
That could not feel more on brand.
Yeah,
for Jay Binkley. That took.
But you know what? But Twin Peaks does like something similar too. I mean, Twin Peaks does on Black Friday. They all wear black lingerie or whatever on Black Friday. Drew goes there. He should know.
He was talking about that. I think it is part of his.
No, they were talking about it. There was the car wash thing, I believe, is what they were promoting while we were there.
Nice. Okay. Well.
Yeah. Nice.
We'll see. It's so funny. I just saw the headline. I thought it was worth mentioning for what's trending.
I'm glad you did.
That is never going to be forgotten. That
fantastic.
Clip is, no, or just the entire clip either. From Cam saying, "All right, we're rolling," to
fantastic.
Yeah.
This show gets its wings from Jefferson's Wing Wednesday.
On the 23rd, so we'll be in all bikinis all day. Fantastic.
I'm telling you, in the moment, I did not even realize. I didn't even realize what I was saying. I don't think in the moment.
Is in the zone.
You were in a daze, man. You were in a daze. You were surrounded by beautiful women, and you just didn't know what to do. Didn't know what to do. You got some good news during the break, though. If you've been listening to the show,
breaking news.
Anytime in the last 2.5 months, basically, you know that Cody decided to stop on the highway for some reason, and he got rear-ended, and so your car's been under.
Sadly, I've not been able to drive my Tiguan from Volkswagen Lee Summit for a number of months due to repair. I just got a text 2 minutes ago, Drew. It said, "Hey, this is John." That's the guy's name over there.
Hey, John.
He said,
"Hey, John, what's up?
your car is put back together and ready for pickup.
Hey.
There you
So
go.
after the show today,
That's got to feel good.
back in the Tiguan, back in the ride. I will say, for the impracticality, I couldn't even drive. So I've been in this rental car, this Mustang. I couldn't drive it. You feel like you're just doing donuts trying to drive in the ice. It's not an ideal car. It turns out for the weather, it's supposed to be 60 next week. Terrible timing.
I was gonna say-
So they had the convertible top down next week. But in truth in this, very happy to get my car
There you
back.
go.
After the show today, I'm going to drive over there. I'm going to pick up my ride. I will so they had to do a bunch of repair work and then they had to
Whole
change
new
the
tailgate, right?
Whole new tailgate, which wasn't originally thought. They thought they were going to maybe fix the dent in it, new bumper. So they fixed some stuff on it. There was, when I dropped the car off, a little door ding on the driver's side door. Nothing to do with the accident.
Okay.
Clearly someone just got it in a parking lot. You think they fixed it?
No.
Doing all that work, you
that's
had it
not
all
how
that
that
time.
works.
You think they fixed a little door ding?
No.
Damn.
Maybe that's why it took them 2.5
That's not how that
months or
works,
whatever it
man.
was.
Like, someone's putting a new
Maybe
roof
that's
on your
why.
house doesn't mean they just put in new gutters, too, while they're at it, because they see the gutters need repaired,
It was just a ding.
You should have, honestly, your car's been in there so long, you should have
just
one
asked.
day have texted them like, hey, by the way, can you guys just
take the little dent thing to it?
If they did fix it without you asking, I would say that is well over the quota for what.
So you're saying that's just like a nice guy award. If it turns out the door ding is fixed.
Very nice guy award if they fix that.
I've got one of those panoramic sunroofs. I'm going to open that whole thing on blast on Sunday when it's like 60 degrees.
I cannot wait for Sunday and Monday.
It's going to go for a drive today in it.
Weather's going to be absolutely incredible. Sunday, truly, I'm going to find some spring training game on the radio or on TV, and it's like patio and a little drink Sunday afternoon. Sounds like a plan, even though it's only 60. It still is going to feel like
Driving
70.
range next week for sure. Dusty said he's golfing on Tuesday.
I bet people, the golf courses, car
It's
washes
gonna
on
be-
Sunday are
it'll
going to
be
be
packed.
insane.
Untenable.
Like insane.
You're
on
not going to
Sunday.
be able to go to one on Tuesday.
Yeah, the
or
car
Monday.
wash business going to be very good Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of next
Will
week.
you go? Will you go get your car washed?
I have one of the monthly membership things.
Yeah,
so
but it'll be so busy. You're going to go on a super busy day?
Absolutely, yeah.
Man,
Gold's going to have the shiniest car in the parking lot.
I'm not willing
on
to
Monday.
wait more than 30 minutes at a car wash. I'm not waiting.
Oh, it won't take 30. At the
Like, I'm
line.
not
It
willing
won't
to
take
wait.
That's a
30.
long time.
I've
If the
waited
car
20
length
before.
is more than 15 cars long, I'm out. I'm just going to get my car washed a different time. I'm going to wash it at home.
It drives me crazy. Even though my car's older, it drives me crazy if even like obviously the inside as well, but like if the outside is just like right now, it's driving me crazy.
Covered in
it's driving me nuts.
salt, and
yes,
ice, and dirty snow.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I have a black car too, so it stands out way more.
I don't really think it's my responsibility because I've got to return the rental car today. My kids have been getting in and out of that car with their like salt covered.
Well,
so
it's
like,
not your car.
but I cleaned it last night. The inside.
You detailed it before
for
you take
you.
it back to the rental car
Very
place.
I genuinely. I didn't think I could turn it in that condition and feel good about myself. Just like the salt covered
As long as
shoes.
you don't leave trash. As long as you don't leave trash behind, it's a
all
rental
the trash
car.
is up, but like all the salt covered footprints, man, I couldn't do
I
it.
hope, Cody, that they fixed your door ding because of that.
You know,
because of
that's
that.
nice.
You deserve it.
This should be like, yeah,
For
pay
you
it
to go-
forward
for you to
situation.
go the extra mile.
If
Yeah.
you're listening, John,
Were you allowed
and there's
to
still a
get-
little bit of time left to just pop that little dent, that tiny little door ding out.
Whatever rental car company, I don't know which one you used, or the insurance company, were you able to like turn in your reward number? Did you had a rental car for 2 months? I hope you were able to get points for that, because then you're going to be set for a little while.
I don't.
You had a rental car for 2 months, man.
Damn, that would have been sweet. I didn't even think about that. When I turn it in, I'm gonna ask.
Like, can I add my rewards number to this?
Just real quick on that one.
Because the insurance company probably paid what? How many thousands of dollars worth of rental car fees?
They haven't given me so when I went to go change this car out, as you remember, like 2 weeks ago, because like my car needed the other rental car I had so long I needed maintenance. When I went to go turn it in, I saw the current bill at that time, and it was $2,000.
Okay. Well,
And so like it's only been like a week and a half or 2 weeks since then, so more than that.
Someone gave you some advice though on your car. If they did some paint work, make sure you don't go to the car wash right away.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. Do you think I'm assuming they'll tell me that, won't they? Give me some tips.
Will they?
I don't know, man.
Okay, that's good to know. Thanks. Appreciate the tip.
All right, coming up in about 25 minutes, we're going to be joined by Josh Vern from Surprise, Arizona, and we are excited for spring training baseball. We're going to get a glimpse at Jack Caglione at some point in the game today.
Yeah.
He's not in the original lineup, but spring training, right? They're going to move 20 guys in and out throughout the entire game or whatever it is. You think, though, there's some unfair expectations because of
Bobby Wood Jr. And this is not like, I'm glad that they're going to be in the game together. I think it makes it kind of fun. And and I don't even know if they'll play at the same time. It's just expected that Jack Caglione will get some at bats. They typically do that in kind of the early portion of the game because They want to make sure that people are covered and all that other stuff, and that's fine. But, before they're like on the minor league roster and they can't start all the time unless it's a split squad, et cetera. Bobby Wood Jr. doing so well is going to hyperdrive fans' expectations for what Jack Caglione should do the second he gets to the big leagues. Bobby Wood Jr. set an unfair standard. He showed up to the big leagues and was immediately a really good player. And then in a year, he was a top 50 player. In 2 years, he was a top 3 player, top 5 player in baseball. Because he is the most recent super prospect, right? Because that's what we're talking about in Caglione is not like any prospect who comes to your system and you get excited. You're like, ooh, here comes, Kuderna. And you're like, all right, I'm excited. Yeah, whatever. You're excited. You hope they come up and have success. Jack Caglione is a top 50 player in baseball, according to Baseball America. He's the Royals' #1 prospect. He's a big deal.
And he hits home runs.
And he's 6'5", 240 or whatever, 220. And so, he just looks like a damn baseball player, and he hits massive towering home runs that go 500 feet. People are going to assume that he should immediately be an all-star caliber player. And what I'm just telling you now is, not just for spring training. I know this is more of a future conversation, but because we're going to get our first look at him today, temper regular expectations for a player to adjust to the big league level and not just be the way Bobby Witt Jr. kicked the damn doors in and was immediately an all-star.
I think during spring you can get all fired up, you know, with whatever he does, and you should enjoy it, right? That this guy eventually is going to be a big league player. But yes, he hasn't even played in Double-A yet. So the first time somebody in June has an 0-for-20 streak, we don't need to be saying, all right, well, time to bring up Jack Caglione, which I know that's going to happen, by the way. But don't need to do that. I think going to eventually be a really impressive player for this organization. But he's basically played fall league, and that's it. Now, he was a college player, so the timeline is much quicker. I think there's a chance in August we might see him. But that also means something kind of goes wrong with an injury or something at the big league level, most likely. And it means that he's raking in Northwest Arkansas, where we may or may not be making a trip.
Yeah, I kind of feel like another Cody Gold road trip would be fun. The last time we did it was for Bobby Witt Jr. So we would actually not be helping in this case. Does that make we're actually actively hurting this? We have on this show discussed doing other road trips. And at other times it was like, well, but there's not like a dude. There's not like the guy to go see. So yeah, we could go down there and go watch a player who we think might be a good big league player, but we like to make those trips when we think it's the guy. Caglione's the closest we've had to that since Bobby Witt Jr. because of the level of prospect he is, the power he possesses, the maybe premium position he ends up playing if he ends up in right field, because that is a premium position.
Hopefully that's what it ends up being.
Major League
down the road
Baseball.
for him.
Well, yeah, because then in that case, Salvi gets to still split his time between catcher and first base and DH, and Vinny gets to split his time between first base and DH, and he continues to stay healthy, and they all get to have a really, 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 really good lineup together all at once. He possesses all the skills. He's got a massive arm. He hits huge home runs. It's all the stuff you would expect out of he was a high prospect, high draft pick. He's going to make it to the bigs quick, it seems like. Because if he makes it in August, he won't even have been he wouldn't even have had a full year in the minor leagues for the Royals. So that supercharges the expectations versus if he just spends this year in the minors and he's back in big league camp next year and it's like, ooh, maybe he will break camp, and probably having a slightly different conversation. But Bobby came into the bigs immediately. They could have held him hostage in the minors, remember, for a month and a half to get an extra year of control, and they didn't. They just put him in the majors. Same thing they with Monesy. Those are the last three that come to mind unless I'm missing somebody. There was Monesy, so then there was less expectation, I think, for Bobby. Not zero because he was such a star, but Bobby got to come in with people being like, well, we'll cool it a little. The last time you told us a guy was great, it was Monesy, and that didn't work out. But now it's the opposite, I feel like, for Caglione, where it's going to be the Bobby Witt Jr. scale, and can you meet that?
Caglione is 70-1 to win Rookie of the Year.
70-1?
Yeah.
That's just too...
There's 12 players with better odds. He also isn't going to play enough. He'll be eligible for Rookie of the Year next year. Don't worry.
Who are the other Rookie of the Year?
The favorite is Dominguez, who's been talked about for many years in the Yankee system. Jason Dominguez.
And he got some time in the big leagues last year, just not enough to qualify as a
correct Christian Campbell. And then Jackson, is it Job over with the Tigers? He's got the third best odds. The Tigers have a couple guys, actually. I mean, that's credit to their organization. Jace Young, Trey Sweeney. The Tigers have three guys that are in
feels like the Orioles
15.
a couple of years ago when they had all their stars come up at once.
They still have Kobe Mayo's another kid for the Orioles that is in the mix for Rookie of the Year this year. But some of this is just trying to also project who not just can have a good year, but who's going to even have a chance to play enough to be ultimately eligible when it's all said and done. Like Kumar Rocker is a name out of Vandy we all remember many, many years ago.
I really like
he's
Kumar
in
Rocker.
the Rangers organization, right? And he's 16-1 to win Rookie of the Year. But
because I'm just thinking back to now. Skeens won it last year, and
on
rightfully so.
On the NL side,
Is he the favorite to win the Cy Young this year?
The NL. By the way, I was only listening. And the NL side, Dylan Cruz with the Nationals is one of the favorites to win in National League. NL Cy Young favorite is Paul Skeens, 2-1.
That's it, 2-1. Where's Reagan's on the AL side? Now we're getting into it, so I'm getting down a rabbit hole.
He's got the third best odds, 11-1.
Okay.
Skubal, who won it last year, is 3.5
Crochet,
to 1.
DeGrom, those guys, Cole.
Basically, you just list. So
I was like, is that the normal list?
Yeah, it's the names you would expect. Skubal, Crochet, Reagans, DeGrom, Logan Gilbert, and Garrett Cole
I wouldn't have
are the top 6 odds for American League Cy Young.
I think this is what I like about the first day of spring training. Is we just talk baseball here for another second. This is what I love about the first day of spring training is last year when we were saying hope springs eternal, we seemed like jerks. Like, come on, guys. Hope Springs Eternal's team lost 100 games last year, and then the Royals found themselves into a postseason run. This year's team is, for a year-to-year basis, very close. Very, very, very close roster-wise to last year's team. So there's no reason for me to think that it can't be a postseason team again this year. Now, I'd stop this is the breakout year for MJ and probably pump the brakes a little bit because we've been predicting that for a number of years.
There's concerns
over the rotation and whether or not they're going to regress in some way. But the easily most improved position on the field right now, before they start their first spring training game, it's the bullpen, right? They are infinitely better day one in the bullpen this year than they were last year.
Vern said the other day, he's going to join us in a bit, but he thinks they could be a top 5 AL bullpen. Top 5 bullpen in the American League. He really thinks there's a chance of that. And you start looking at Urseg and Estevez, and then I'm hoping that Hunter Harvey, now that he's healthy, can be the guy we thought they were trading for out of the Nationals organization a year ago. There's definitely, if you were to ask areas why they wouldn't get to the playoffs again, I think they're easy to point out what the problem areas could be. It is if your starting pitching regresses at all or has more injuries, and then your offense doesn't make the leap that you're hoping it makes in some areas. If the offense doesn't improve and your pitching decreases, well, no brainer, then you're going to have a problem. And so that's the question. Does the pitching stay the same and you have better offense? Well, then it's going to be a really, really special season for the Royals. If the pitching stays the same and the offense is the same as last year, well, then it'll be very similar.
If the bullpen's better, they'll be 5-6 games better, maybe.
That should help them there. I think so much of it still is, are they able to get Lugo, Reagans, Waka to give them anywhere near? Doesn't that be the exact same level, anywhere near what they were getting last year?
How much do you factor in you now have confidence to know you can win?
Oh, I think that's huge. I think that's huge for those guys.
You're not guessing. You know. We know we're good baseball players. We know we're a good team. Day one of spring training last year, you're like, I sure hope we're good.
No,
and this year, day one of spring training, you're like, we're a damn playoff team. We're trying to win this division. We got a little swagger to it. I felt like that 14-15 shift for the Royals, that was that for them, where all of a sudden it's like, oh, no, we belong. And we're going to act like we belong from day one, not from day 87 or 92 or whatever it took the Royals to convince themselves they were a good team.
I think that absolutely is already there with this group. And, Vinny alluded to that a little bit, not on here, but our show, he was just talking to some of the media in Arizona. They know who they are now. Like, they know that last year, that's who they are, and to build on that. And so, I think the confidence level and the expectation that they're going in, they're one of the best teams in the American League. Like, that's their mindset, because they were last year. They were one of the best teams in the American League last year when it was all said and done. And they won a playoff series. Like, that's where they feel that that's where they belong, and I think they do. The question is, can they meet the expectation that I have, and I think a lot of people, which is go in the division, go in the American League Central. It's going to be a very close race again, I believe. I think these teams are not that separated once again. And it's a really competitive division. Had 3 playoff teams last year, right? Ended up getting 3 teams in. So,
3 teams in, and nobody would have thought that going into it. We talked about this as being like it's the Summit League, like it's a one-bid league going into the year about the American League Central. We did. We talked about it like, well, the division champ will get in, but don't take anyone else serious. Win the division, be in the playoffs, don't, and you're not. And the Royals, it didn't go down like that at all. They were the second team in the division to make it of, as you mentioned, 3 teams to do it. And the 4th team wasn't that far off. Like, it will once again, I imagine, be a very competitive division, and people will still take you less serious because the Twins are in it every year. There's only one laughingstock. That's the White Sox. They're a joke.
Yeah,
but
they're still probably going to lose 100 games.
Yeah,
maybe not 120, though.
I mean, they were the worst team in Major League Baseball history last year. I don't think they're quite that bad this year.
think they'll lose like 100 still, though.
Do they have the worst ownership in baseball? Baseball, not sports.
Sports
widens it a little too wide.
The A's owner might.
Oh, yeah, you know
the
what?
A's ownership, Sacramento A's, excuse me, or whatever they're called. Actually, they're not allowed to call them the Sacramento A's. They're just the A's, I think, or the Athletics, even though they're in Sacramento.
Are they going to change their name when they get to Vegas?
It could be why can't it be the Las Vegas A's?
I don't know. I'm just asking if they want to go full read.
There's already the Las Vegas Aces. Is that too close?
I was going to say they can't do Aces, but A's might.
Is that
be
too
okay.
close?
Raiders kept their name.
I'm guessing it'd be the Las Vegas Athletics. If that actually ever happens, too. That thing in Vegas still hasn't been completely finalized.
Where else can they go at this rate? I mean, would they go
Nashville?
to Nashville? Would they go to Nashville?
Nashville, Portland,
But
the usual names.
he wants to be in.
No, I think
this
they'll
whole
end up
move was to
there.
get to Vegas, not to get to any different city that isn't Oakland. This deal was to get to Vegas. He wanted to make sure he was there.
It's going to be weird when these teams are playing in minor league baseball stadium in Sacramento. That's just... And they can say all they want, though. Like
You also remember that a team's playing, I mean, weirdly
Rays.
enough. Yeah, the Rays are playing in a spring
That's
training.
not their fault, though, at least.
No,
you know what I
know.
mean? Like, that one's not their fault. Hey, the hurricane destroyed their entire stadium. You know, that wasn't a self-inflicted thing, you know, like the A's decided to move out of Oakland. All right, up next, I teased it. We'll get to it, I promise. Drew, not happy with, I think, what we're about to say. And Josh Vernier is in Arizona. We'll check in with him about today's spring training game next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
This weather is going to tell you whether or not you got problems with your roof. If you're noticing those signs from either the storms last year or from this current freezing cold weather that has been doing it, Century Roofing is the roofing company you want to call. 35 years in Kansas City. Voted best in Johnson County 3 straight years. They've done over 30,000 roofs in the Kansas City area. That's why you know you can trust them. Think about a company that's been around that long. There's a lot of roofing companies who pop up, knock on your door, say they'll take care of it, and you're not even sure they're going to be a roofing company in a couple of years. 35 years later, best in Johnston County, those are the things you know that they can do it. Doesn't matter the style of roof. They can do any style, concrete tile, standing seam roof, metal roofing, composite, whatever you feel like you need, they'll take care of it. They offer free roof replacement and repair estimates. They did that for us so we could try to figure out, hey, do we need a replacement? Do we need repairs? Just repairs. This time for us on the roof, they can take care of those needs for you and figure out where you are. Work with a company that's been working in the greater Kansas City area since 1990 and is locally owned and will continue to work with you. Trust the pillars of strength. Go with KC-based and female-owned Century Roofing. Visit centuryroofingkc.com and tell them that Cody sent you.
Men, this is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and you've heard me talk a lot about how treating low testosterone can improve your sleep, your workouts, your energy levels, and more. But today I want to talk to you about your sex drive, because low testosterone can have a significant impact on your desire for intimacy. It can even be a factor in erectile dysfunction, and if you're in a relationship or wanting to be in a relationship, a low sex drive could really be a problem. The good news is that if you're like most guys, treating your low testosterone could really change the way you feel about sex, giving you back the flame and desire that is so important when you love someone. So if you're feeling sluggish and tired, if you're not sleeping well, if your workouts aren't that great, and most of all, if your sex drive is more like a putt, make an appointment at Heartland Men's Health and have your testosterone levels checked. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com and I look forward to working with you.
At Diamonds Direct, our experts go the extra mile to ensure you have the tools to say I do with absolute confidence. Our promise to you is a completely risk-free shopping experience rooted in transparency, education, and integrity. No pressure, no intimidation, just clarity and confidence in your purchase. But we're about more than just price. Everything is backed by our exclusive guarantees. Put our tools to the test against any competitor, and our expert staff will ensure you get the very best overall value and unforgettable experience. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Spring forward with real unlimited data from Straight Talk this tax season and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. So you can stream games during Mad March hours, check the weather for April showers, and watch gardening videos about May flowers. Straight Talk, real unlimited data, available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 4/15/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires purchase of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project. His wife got a new job, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's top researcher is deviating to a new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's gonna finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by Shamrock Roofing and Construction. ShamrockRoofer.com.
Hey, it's Garen from Shamrock Roofing. It's a new year and time is running out. Just a few months left to get covered from the historic storms from last spring. At Shamrock Roofing and Construction, we've got you covered. Inspect, repair, replace. Just one call does it all. Visit ShamrockRoofer.com today.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Josh Vern, you're going to join us in about 10 minutes from Surprise, Arizona. Welcome back into Cody and Gold on 96.5 The Fan. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. So, off-season, big-time money is going to be handed out, and some of the numbers will shock us because the salary cap is going to go up, so keep that in mind. But the latest report out of Cincinnati is that one of the top wide receivers in the league, Jamar Chase, wants $40 million a year. That doesn't mean he's going to get $40 million a year, but he's positioned with plenty of leverage considering, one, how good he is, but also his quarterback's out here saying, make sure you keep my guy around. You also have his teammate, T. Higgins, who wants to get paid more like probably $30 million a year. So if T wants 30, he wants 40. Doesn't seem that crazy, does it?
No, it doesn't. And so I think that there's a big misnomer here in wide receivers and when to pay them and as it relates to how many weapons. Jamar Chase, you should absolutely pay. Add $40 million a year. Actually, you should. The Chiefs paid Tyreek Hill. He was the second highest average annual pay and the second highest signing bonus at the time the Chiefs paid him to be a member of Kansas City. So he was one of the top paid wide receivers in the NFL at the time the Chiefs paid him because he was young. Jamar Chase is young. I always hear like the Cooper Kupp example. Cooper Kupp got paid by the Rams, top dollar to be the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL.
In his prime.
They won a Super Bowl in his prime. Now they're not going to pay him. Sure, he's an old man. Young wide receivers in their prime, you don't let them walk on your star quarterback. Pay them both? That's idiotic. Because at what point, and this is the question I'll ask you, Drew, before we have Vern on, at what point is Joe Burrow not supposed to be held to the same standard we talk about every other elite quarterback in the NFL? Josh Allen's got to do without star guys. Patrick Mahomes got to do without star guys. Why the hell does Joe Burrow get to both pay T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and not expected to just rise the tides of other wide receivers who could be in the system? Paying both is stupid. And I would obviously just pay Jamar Chase and let T. Higgins walk.
Yeah, so look, they're both great. They're both
trade,
great wide receivers, like unbelievable talents and everything like that. But to me, if you're Cincinnati, you're setting yourself up to be sitting in the same spot next November, which is, wow, our quarterback is putting up amazing numbers. Jamar Chase is going for another triple crown. T. Higgins is pretty nice. But, man, we can't stop anybody. Poor Joe Burrow. Well, he also told you to pay everybody and you listen. Like I guess that's how I take it from the outside. As someone in Kansas City, I actually hope they not only pay Chase, but I hope they pay T. Higgins because I actually think that is a mistake because the defense is going to stink again if you're devoting all your resources to the offense. Drew obviously disagrees with us.
You think they should pay both? It's stupid.
Yeah, I think they should pay both. If you look at they're going to have cap space to still spend money.
Shouldn't they just spend it on defense?
No, I'm saying they have money to spend extra on defense after paying Trey Hendrickson, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase. The Eagles currently, our guy Barber sent in this text, they're paying 7 guys over $50 million currently. The Bengals have 2. And Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow essentially can cancel each other out because they're both $250+ million deals. Joe Burrow also is on the record of saying, I'm willing to restructure and do what it takes, whether it's sending money up later to get paid later, where it opens up some more cap space now, or whether
the Eagles owner is
now.
willing to use the cash flow that's required to convert some of that stuff. Is
Correct.
the Bengals owner willing to do that?
Which I think
shouldn't, though, for this.
He should be willing to do it because your star quarterback, who is the most talented quarterback in franchise history, is asking you. He's pushing the envelope for you to do it because not only can you do it, you should do it because it gets the most out of the team. I don't think Joe Burrow or the Bengals owe anybody else anything. In regards to him being the best quarterback conversation, what do you say?
He's not if you got to pay 2 elite wide receivers. He's more Jalen Hurts than Mahomes.
No, I understand that that's part of the conversation, but they don't care, nor do I care. You guys can think Joe Burrow is the 10th best quarterback in the league. I don't care if they win a Super Bowl. This helps them win a Super Bowl by paying both guys because they have the cap space to go and utilize that further for a safety or for another linebacker. Jermaine Pratt's asking for a trade. They should get rid of him anyways because he did not have a very good season last year. That saves $9 million off the books. Sam Hubbard gets cut. That's $7 more million off the books. So there's ways that they can finagle the money.
You still have to go sign players, though. Like they have to feel the team. Like it's not like the free agents are just going to be cheaper than everybody they're cutting ties with.
They have drafted defensive end, I believe, in the last 4 drafts. They have guys behind Sam Hubbard who have not gotten an opportunity, technically, to
probably for a reason.
Not to see how good they are. They've drafted 2 guys in the first round, and they haven't gotten a legitimate chance to show what they can do. Sam Hubbard getting cut saves you $7 million and allows those guys who are still on rookie deals to get the job done. My thing is, it's more about what Joe Burrow is saying. Like, if this were any other team, I'll be honest, or if it were even the Bengals with Andy Dalton, fine. Go get somebody else. But the fact that your quarterback is publicly saying, I need to keep these guys, not that he would turn
Why does he need so much help?
It's not about the help, Cody. It's, I want to be able to win because I also...
He's not winning with those guys. He lost with those guys multiple times.
This is the last year. This is the first year that he had everybody healthy, where he was healthy and they missed the playoffs. This is one time that it's happened. The other times don't count, in my opinion, because Joe Burrow wasn't quarterbacking because he was hurt.
Yeah, but they got a full view of it, and they were 9-8. I'm just saying, like, they got a taste of it. They had T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, and they were one of the league's best offenses in a team that didn't even get to the postseason.
And they fired the defensive coordinator, who is going to come in and clean things up a little bit. They are going to get rid of one of their worst players on defense last year, who is asking for a trade. Thank you very much. And they also have the opportunity to select defensive linemen, which they have refused to do in an effective nature over the last few seasons. It was always going to be about the Philadelphia Eagles, the way that they did things and the way that the Kansas City Chiefs have done things. The Chiefs and Eagles are paying guys. They're also drafting very well. It always comes down to how well you're drafting. The Bengals over the last 3 or 4 seasons have not done very well at all whatsoever, last year in particular, at drafting players. Joe Burrow has also been on record. T. Higgins he makes the offense immensely better in terms of taking it up a notch. Yes, the Chiefs almost lost to the Bengals with no T. Higgins playing. But if they had T. Higgins playing, the Bengals, it makes them that much harder to play against. It's the reason why they're one of the best offenses in the league.
Oh, I don't doubt that the offense is great.
They can solve the defensive
it's
problems.
the defensive end. I don't think you can win a Super Bowl constructing your roster that way. That's all.
But they can. That's why, again, it comes down to drafting. If they draft a defensive lineman who actually is good for them and can help Trey Hendrickson, they automatically help their problems tenfold. The run defense would be automatically better. The pass rush, interior-wise, would automatically be better. All they need to have is a top 20 defense.
They have the league's smallest scouting department. This is why they have to pay defense.
Again,
understand your own constraints is the general manager's job. He knows he's got no one to scout, therefore can't find good players. Their defense stunk. They should pay defensive players. They should pay for ready-made defensive players. If Joe Burrow is an elite level quarterback, he should be asked and held to the same standard that the 2 best quarterbacks in the league have been. Josh Allen got to an AFC Championship game with his best wide receiver being Khalil Shakir. Patrick Mahomes won a Super Bowl with his best wide receiver being Juju Smith-Schuster. Why does Joe Burrow get all of the help? Shouldn't he get the help on defense? Don't you want him to get help somewhere else?
Why are you are...
I think it's bad business.
you are clearly a Chiefs fan because you are 100% jealous that Patrick Mahomes does not have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
No, I'm saying that this is what we talk about the elite level quarterback.
Now I was about to be on your side for a second, Drew, and then you had to say that Chiefs fans are jealous of Cincinnati.
Because why do you think the Bengals should forgive themselves for having 2 elite wide receivers?
Because winning organizations don't do that. Don't you want to be a winning organization? Winning organizations.
The Rams
get
had
an elite level quarterback
Jr. and Cooper Kupp.
Elite organizations because they had a rookie guy. They're not going to pay both of the same
wide receivers.
True, they are not. So did the Bengals last year. They're not going to pay both at the same time. They're going to let Cooper Kupp walk and they're going to pay Puka Nacua. I'm not saying you can't pay one guy. I'm saying no elite level organization that is good at winning and consistently winning pays 2 top targets while paying their quarterback elite level money. If you pay
but if you have the money to do so, then why wouldn't you?
You don't, because you got to pay defensive players.
They have the money.
You physically have the money. You shouldn't spend it that way. That's like saying I technically have the money that I could bet $2,000 on the Royals to win the spring training game today. I shouldn't do it. It's a bad way to spend my money.
It'd be kind of fun, wouldn't it?
It'd be just a terrible decision. Horrible financial decision.
I just think
be fun if I won, I guess. That's Drew's argument. It looks fun.
I just don't think you need that's not at all what it is. It's they have to draft well because listen, even if they didn't pay T. Higgins and they spent money on somebody else, which again we don't even know if they would do that. They still have to draft well. They have to draft a good wide receiver. If they fail on wide receiver, then guess what? The offense is not going to be as good. It always.
I think Cody's trying to say that
comes back to the NFL draft.
Of course, it comes back to the draft. I think Cody's point is that. Plenty of teams have top 10 offenses with a quality wide receiver like Jamar Chase and a top 5 quarterback like Joe Burrow and a very talented young second year now, I guess, or whatever it is, running back in Chase Brown. That paying for the number 2 wide receiver on top of it is like overkill, and then you're suffering on defense, which I told you from somebody from Kansas City. I really do hope that the Bengals do your plan, which is load up on offense and then just pray for defense to work out.
They can go ahead and draft Walter Nolan in the first round. They'll draft Xavier Watts in the second round, and we'll have the safety and defensive interior help that you need automatically to be much better.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think most teams would tell you that if you spend your money one way and then draft it correctly the other.
In fairness, the Eagles just spend a ton of money and they just smashed the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So I think
that's what this is, and this is fun. Hope fandom is all about hope, as C-Dot said yesterday on his monologue.
Once he made it work, and they killed the Chiefs.
Carrington was right. Yesterday he was talking about his Missouri Tigers, and he said fandom starts with hope, and I get it. The Philadelphia Eagles have given you hope. Now, it's a one-time thing that happened, and so now suddenly we think that formula works for everybody because it worked for Philadelphia, that they had the perfect storm.
That's why I still think it's paid Jamar Chase. Those wouldn't pay both.
For sure.
The Rams also went all in, too, and they won the whole thing.
They gave up multiple draft picks. Cincinnati's not traded for anybody. Yeah. They traded away picks to make that all-in roster. It wasn't that they went and said, we're going to pay everybody. Anyway, Vern's going to join us in a second. And then we can get into an update on the 1 o'clock hour. Fan Club Friday.
Yeah,
McKenzie Nelson
will be with us.
From 41 is going to join us in the studio. Do we have cocktails? We have beer? What do we have
cocktails today?
Okay.
I had that rye whiskey that Rieger brought a couple weeks ago. I was like, maybe do like a whiskey cocktail, something, because like it's so cold. I felt like before summer hit and we started to do some summer cocktails, we needed one more. So a dry Manhattan today is what we're going with.
That sounds good.
So we'll see. Pretty simple cocktail, but I brought some like martini glasses, right? We'll serve it up. Okay. As you'll say, that way we're appropriately taken care of.
All right, let's go out to Arizona. Welcome in Josh Vernier. Hopefully you caught his hot stove show last night, 6 o'clock here on 96.5 The Fan. It's every Thursday leading up to opening day, and he joins us each and every day from spring training. 2:05 first pitch this afternoon, Vern. It's look, I know it's spring trade, but it's finally here, man. It's going to feel good. It's going to sound good.
Yeah, excited to hear Jake and Stu and Ryan back on the radio. Loved your reaction to that drink of the day, by the way, Alex. I think Cody could have said anything, and you would have hit him with a, that sounds good.
Just so stock answer, like, okay.
Well, in fairness, Vern, you were already on.
Is always a good idea.
I was trying to be nice, and then also you were already on hold, and I was like, let's get to Vern. Let's talk some Royals baseball. I think a lot of Royals fans say not only are they excited just to hear baseball, but in particular, I don't have to tell you, Jack Caglione, like that's the hot name Royals fans are talking about right now.
Yeah, they should be excited. It's tough not to be excited. We talked earlier in the week. Cody referenced to Paul Bunyan when talking about Jack, and he certainly has the arms of a Paul Bunyan. 6'5". Yeah, just watching him take batting practice and ending it with a monster shot over the right field wall. I know there's I think Jake Eisenberg predicted that the first spring home run would come today in the sixth inning, courtesy of Jack Caglione. I asked Matt Quatrero about the top pick earlier today, and with all the excitement and all of the pressure that's coming from Kansas City, all the hype that's coming from Royals fans, what are you telling them? How are you trying to temper those expectations? And honestly, Q said, I'm not saying anything to him. I'm letting the hitting coaches, I'm letting some of his minor league coaches do a lot of that one-on-one conversation to prepare Jack for the next few weeks. But basically, I just want him to, ingratiate himself with the guys that he's going to be teammates with in the next few seasons and just enjoy this. Just have fun and go out there and show off his talents. Vinny getting the start at first base, but Cag's going to be coming off the bench today. So, yeah, you want to stay tuned even in those later innings of today's spring training game.
Not his own doing, but we were talking in the show, Vern. Cags is kind of put in a tough spot because the last big-name prospect to come through the system was Bobby Witt Jr., and so I think the heightened expectation level for Caglione is going to be way up versus like what a normal top prospect. They get some heat anyway or expectation anyway, but Bobby doing so good so fast, I thought maybe put him in a tough spot.
Yeah, I think, I guess I could see that, but I think that's pretty short-sighted. If you're older than 15, I think you can remember plenty of top Royals prospects that
flamed out.
You were excited about and, had solid careers, but weren't the MVP that you were hoping Hosmer would be or Moose would be or Gordo would be. Sure, Bobby's lived up to that. But Bobby was also the can't miss. Cags has the most power. I don't think he has Bobby-like expectations. I'd liken him more to a Mike Moustakas as far as expectations are concerned, where he's going to be a cornerstone, where the expectation is still to be a cornerstone, but a 35, 40 home run guy more so than the consistent MVP caliber shortstop that Bobby is. Maybe I'm off. You guys are talking to more fans than I am right now, so maybe I'm off on that, but whether it's where he was drafted, the position that he plays, I do get it, or just the way that people talk about him. There wasn't debate. You guys talked with baseball men and women plenty going into Bobby's debut. There was no debate that he was going to be great. There's still questions about Jack and the swing and miss, and it'll be interesting to see how he handles Double-A.
So there's no doubt that's looking into the future a little bit. But present day, I think for this game, even right out of the gate, Jonathan India debuting in left field. I know they're obviously comfortable what he can do at second base. He's working in at third base, but that's like truly something that could matter this year is the fact that let's see what he looks like in left field, right?
Yeah, without question. This guy has to produce offensively, in my opinion. I was, just having a debate with a few of the media members out here. for as much as I understand the trade, I just have a tough time coming to grips with parting with Brady. 2 years of Brady Singer and only getting 2 years of Jonathan India. If I have a pitcher that is league average or better, and I'm going to part with him, I kind of want something that's going to last a little bit longer than Brady's tenure in Kansas City was already going to last. But plenty of pressure, in my opinion. Jonathan India has the most pressure on him. Now, while Royals fans, I'm sure, would select Hunter Dozier and MJ Melendez, Chris Bubich, to me, Jonathan India is the guy that if he doesn't deliver right out of the gate, I could see people really starting to look at him out of the corner of their eye. As far as him out there in left field, listen, I always think it's wild when a guy learns a new position at the big league level.
Yeah.
You know, for a young guy in MJ Melendez, I thought that was a pretty tough ask, and he ultimately did a quality job. But, you know, we're seeing it all around Major League Baseball. A future Hall of Famer and Jose Altuve is likely doing that out in Houston. Good place to start, though. If you're going to move to a outfield position, doing it in the desert with this high sky and thin air, the ball really carries. You're certainly going to get your work in, but I have my questions about the trade, his ability offensively. It's just it's way too often talked about. Like, okay, that is now set. We now have a guy that's going to be on base all the time for Bobby Witt Jr. It's just talked about as if the game is easy, and that India's numbers point to a guy that is going to score. 100 some odd runs. And I hope that's the case. I'm just not as convicted as everybody else seems to be.
Which player's playing time ends up getting impacted the most this season because of the addition to India? Like, who plays less games than did last year the most? So Massey or Michael Garcia or MJ Melendez? Obviously, games from all three of them are probably being taken with India's addition, but who loses the most games?
Yeah, I'd say Michael. I'd say the right-handed infielder, right? With Massey and MJ both hitting from the left side, and Q's proclivity for riding the splits. Yeah, I'd say the right-handed infielder is going to lose the most ABs. And Michael's coming off a tough year, so he's got a lot to prove, not defensively, not on the base paths, but I know they wanted him to get stronger this offseason, and I'm sure he is. It's not necessarily noticeable, but I'd say Michael Garcia would be the one that's going to lose the most playing time because of Jonathan.
So over 10.5 runs today, Vern?
What are you thinking?
Is that the total?
Yeah.
I bet on Canada last night. Is that wrong?
Oh, wow. I mean,
are you anti-American, Vern?
No.
Betting on Canada.
All the apps were giving me bonuses for USA, and whenever that happens, I'm like, okay,
True.
well, you're telling me something.
True.
So, yeah, no, I rode Canada. Over 10.5 runs with Nate Eovaldi on the hill for Texas. I'll take the under.
Should I? Okay, so
but
you like
he's only going to be out there.
I was going to say one inning or something.
Like he's the starter, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Plus, all the juice from the 2015 team. You don't think championship spirits now? Weren't all the 2015 guys there today?
Well, Edinson Volquez, Ned Yost is always here, but Edinson Volquez in uniform, I'll be honest, I thought he would get chubby once he hung him up, but he honestly looks like he could climb the rubber right now and pitch for this team. I talked with Q, and Q will never admit this, but this is all his doing. Now, he says that he talked with Salvi, got Salvi's opinion of what guys from that 2015 they should reach out to try and bring them back and ingratiate them with the 2025 team. You'll remember last year, Wade and Greg Holland and James Shields came through. Well, Wade Davis and Greg Holland, Eric Hosmer, Mike Moustakas are all expected to be out here this spring. Edinson Volquez, the first one to report. And, man, I just think that's so cool. Such a great idea by Q. Now, Willie Wilson and Amos Otis and George Brett, these guys have been here for as long as I've been coming out. They have their week out in spring training. But, man, that's a long time ago. And what the Royals need to do and what they are doing, courtesy of Matt Quatrero, is not building a tradition, but acknowledging a tradition. Even if, Cody Gold, you guys understand that, from 1985 until about 2014, there really wasn't much to write home about with this organization. But nowadays, these 22, 23-year-olds that are rolling up to surprise Arizona that are drafted by this organization, they have no idea that the organization sucked in the 90s and sucked in the 2000s.
Right.
So
they don't remember Scott Ellerton on opening day,
let's try and pretend, or at least create, some real pride in that Royals logo and that Royals tradition, and let's start playing, Royals baseball. Let's make that mean something. So to have these guys come back and let the Cagliones, let the Michael Garcias and Luinder Avilas, let them know that, hey, there is a standard in Kansas City that we met last year, that they met, and that we're expecting you to meet this season.
Josh Vern, our Royals insider. Appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you on Monday.
All right, boys. Thank you.
There you go. Royals baseball, 2:05 this afternoon, a little over an hour from now. Spring training, game number 1 here on your home for the Royals, 96.5, The Fan. He said he's taking the under. Okay.
We're still on the over.
Yeah.
We're an overs group.
Yeah.
Did we come together on a 5-legger? Or
I'll let Gold choose it. I'll just Venmo him the $10 if he just wants
Some
to.
of the games already started.
That might be the
so.
smart
Oh, dang
decision,
it.
That's the only thing.
Oh, man.
We lost. One of our
You can
listeners.
live bet 'em, right?
One of our
Monday.
live betting, though, the number is going to be way off. I don't know.
Live betting spring
do it
training games?
We can do it another day. One of our listeners, Lance, texted us or tweeted us, I should say, a screenshot. He went over 8.5 on the Rays-Yankees game, which started an hour ago, so we can check it on that one. Cubs over 10.5 in the Royals game, over 10.5 in the Rockies-Diamondbacks game, and over 10.5 in the Mariners-Padres game, which was the one we were talking about earlier on the show. $13 to win, $3.19.
2-0 Yankees in the second.
That's a good start to the over 8.5. It's a good start. It's a good start. All right, up next, a fan club Friday here on 96.5. The Fan, McKenzie Nelson from 41. She was at the Super Bowl. I don't know if she's been out to Arizona yet. We'll talk baseball. We'll talk Chiefs. And we might have to fill her in on the Troy fraud media member thing next.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
College basketball is reaching its most exciting stretch of the season. Right now, new customers on FanDuel get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $150 extra bucks to bet on everything from conference clashes to tournament upsets and even who's cutting down the nets. Taking a look right now over at FanDuel. Auburn, plus 330 to cut down the nets. Duke sitting at plus 420. The Missouri Tigers all the way up to 30-1 odds now to win the national championship. If you've been waiting to join FanDuel, there is no better time. The app, well, it's easy to use, and when you win, you're going to get paid instantly. So visit FanDuel.com/Alex and get in on the college hoops action before March takes over. FanDuel is an official sports betting partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-469-1635. 800-469-1635. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-469-1635.
Basketball fans, don't miss the MIAA Basketball Championships March 5th through 9th at Municipal Auditorium. 18 games over 5 days, the nation's best small college basketball tournament will feature some of the nation's best Division II teams. Get your tickets now through Ticketmaster and visit odyssey.com/965thefan/events February 20th through 24th to register to win free tickets. MIAA Madness, March 5th through 9th. Bring your A game.
It starts as a nuisance and you just put up with it, but then that awful joint pain impacts everything in your life. Walking, climbing stairs, even getting in and out of the car hurts. Hey, it's Bob Fesco. I'm talking about that always there joint pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, and back. But here's the good news. QC Kinetics. Groundbreaking treatments for arthritis pain. Long-term relief is now possible with no downtime. Tens of thousands of QC Kinetics patients would tell you, don't wait, make the call today. These new orthobiologic cellular therapies, including PRP treatments, can revitalize your joints without going under the knife. Look, joint pain doesn't get better with time, so before it's absolutely debilitating, see if you're a candidate for these life-changing regenerative treatments. Call QC Kinetics today for your free consultation. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
Advent Health welcomes the KC Golf Show February 21st through 23rd at the Overland Park Convention Center. Get a dozen front door golf perks while they last. Enter our indoor golf championship. Enjoy the PXG Zone and Saturday women's events presented by the Tina team at Keller Williams Realty and Envoy Mortgage. Test big brands with Golf MD at the Golf Show February 21st through 23rd at the OP Convention Center. Thanks to Great Life Golf, Olathe Lincoln, Orange Whip, Simply Spike, Yingling Flight, and Edward Jones. Special tickets at KansasCityGolfShow.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Listen to the Royal Spring Training Opener this Friday with first pitch at 2 o'clock, right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City in Odyssey Sports Station.
One o'clock hour. It's a Fan Club Friday here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Cody stepped out for a second. He's making some drinks. He's getting what we need for the drinks today. He's working on that. McKenzie Nelson from 41 joining us. It's been a little while since we had McKenzie in studio. First off, how are things going? How have you been?
Good. I feel like I have not seen you guys in a very long time. I'm excited to be joining you once again.
Pre-Super Bowl for sure. You were in New Orleans, right?
I was in New Orleans. Happy to be back.
Overall, other than the game being just ugh. You know?
Yeah, forgetting Sunday, how was the trip?
Okay, it was good. The weather was great, but this might be a hot take. Everybody says, I can't wait to go to New Orleans, all the food. I mean, it's average.
Oh,
wow.
Did you try the oysters? Did you try the stereotypical
Yes.
beignets and all this kind of stuff?
The beignets, I feel like people are going to come at me, but it's like a funnel cake, but a square.
Oh, the powdered sugar.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
See, I like the beignets when I
Kind of
was
looks like a
there.
funnel cake.
But doesn't it taste the same to you?
Yeah, it's the same. It's very similar. Yes,
Okay.
very,
But
very similar.
I had a really good shrimp po' boy, like oysters, like stuff like that. The gumbo, like, I mean, it was good, but I don't need to like rush back to get some food.
Okay. Yeah, I was there one time for a week in 2012, KU Final Four, and I was in college, so I probably enjoyed New Orleans more because of that, because Bourbon Street, man, it's just all about drinking
Yeah, it was so
basically the
fun.
entire time. I don't have a huge desire, although I heard from, have you gone to the other two Super Bowls?
Yes.
So you can compare this better than we. So we were in Phoenix and Vegas, everything. Everybody says New Orleans, though, from a hosting perspective, it's better because unlike Vegas, you don't have to Uber everywhere to where we need to be. Whereas, I don't know where you stayed, but like in New Orleans, you can basically just walk right out of your hotel and you're just around everything. Was that a nice thing?
Yeah, so I was in Miami and then I was in Vegas. New Orleans was great because everything was so close and in the convention center, which was great. But Vegas was kind of the same way. Like if you stayed in the media hotel, which was like the Luxor and Mandalay Bay or something, all you had to do was stay in the hotels, walk to the next one, and that's where, Radio Row was, stuff like that. But I will say New Orleans, it was way easier to get around and everything made more sense from a media perspective.
Gotcha. What are we drinking, Cody? What did you make
Dry
this?
Manhattan.
Dry
So
Manhattan.
dry vermouth,
All
rye
right.
whiskey.
I don't know why
a little bit of bitters.
I don't know why I'm acting like I'm smelling. I can't smell. I don't know. I don't know.
Swirl it?
It's just-
I put the fancy cocktail cherries in the bottom. You know.
Oh my
I don't
God.
know. I was gonna take a whiff and I realized, oh yeah, I can't smell.
Cheers, guys.
Little dry Manhattan. I don't know if you do you like whiskey generally, Mackenzie. I don't know what your typical cocktail of choice is.
It's good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Usually, tequila,
True.
margaritas.
Have you had this?
I do whiskey.
I have not. Let me taste it right now.
I do like tequila. That's a regular, especially in a cocktail, like a margarita or like a
Paloma.
reposado or Paloma.
Yeah,
those
so
are all
good.
Those are all winners.
Yes,
yeah,
it's
those
so
are all
good.
winners.
You like it?
It's good. I will say, before I drink it, I smelled it, and I was like, oh, yeah, I think I'm going to like this.
Okay. Like, it just depends. If you like rye whiskey, it's like watered down. A lot of times when you do stuff with vermouth and bitters, it's like almost drinking like a softer rye
I
whiskey
don't
rather than
only
just
like
drinking rye
fruity
whiskey.
drinks, guys. I like.
No, this is not a fruity
It's
drink.
okay if you only like the fruity drinks. It's okay.
No, I'm not saying it's bad. I don't know if I'm just like I taste them like it. I don't know if I'm just not in the mood to have whiskey right now or
Maybe.
what, but that might be part
It's
of
definitely
it.
If
a
you're sick, it's
whiskey-based
gonna
drink.
clear your sinuses out.
No, Mackenzie.
This is a long COVID.
I haven't been.
problem.
I have
boy.
not been able to smell since last December, as in December of 2023.
Screwed.
So
Oh my God.
I can't smell. So my whole taste of some alcohol is all off.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately. Which for something like, not that I take shots very often, but like I'll tell you, the shots go down
It
really
could be
easy now.
positive, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
the shots go down very
Oh,
easily.
you taking shots?
That's why I said I don't take them very often. But when if I'm at the bullpen, the neighborhood bar,
This is actually. Do you always work on Fridays, Mackenzie?
I do.
Oh,
Yeah.
every Friday?
I do.
Like 2 weeks from now, could you have some available? What time do you get off? Like 11? It's pretty late.
So
huh?
I do the 6 and 10 o'clock shows on Fridays. Yeah.
That's too late. So 2 weeks from today, I had told. So you weren't privy to this, but I had told the audience a couple weeks ago. So this show was waiting to find out whether or not we were going to be well rated. So we waited for the ratings, in which case we were number one in the market for midday shows in the demographic in which we need to be number one for, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I had promised that if we did that, we would use some of the show money and like the money we were given by Odyssey for doing that, and we would host a happy hour for that. So happy to say 2 weeks from today, we have $750 of personal money, not like they gave it to us. We'll be at Kelly's
Okay.
at 6:30 Friday night, 2 Fridays from today. So the 7th at 6:30. Because we got a good partnership with Kelly's, they're going to let us have the upstairs patio area. $750. And then Sazerac, you mentioned the shots, it made me think of it. Sazerac, who we've done some stuff with before, they've offered a $250 tab specifically for Fireball. So
God.
$250 Fireball tab, and then $750 of our personal discretionary money going directly towards a bar tab.
Well, how long
Could be
are you
more.
guys going to be
Hard
there?
to say. I don't know. I mean,
depends how the
Is
night
this an
goes.
all-nighter
depends
thing?
on how many people show up.
Can I come
'Cause
after
otherwise,
the show?
Because otherwise, I don't know what kind of shape I'm going to be in by then, but sure.
So this will be.
I can't promise my
fill in-
company will be fantastic
I
by
might
then.
be having a cold coming on.
So yeah, fill in the day. So this is 2 Fridays from now
2 Fridays from now.
at Kelly's in
At
Westport.
Kelly's, 6:30 on the patio area. They've got like
Nice.
an upstairs covered patio area.
We will see you all
That's
there.
where we'll be. Just for anybody, really the idea was we would have never gotten this money unless listeners listen to the show.
That's how this works.
And then made us rate that way. So I'm just, we're just going to use that money on you. okay, we got this money. We're just going to use it on you since you technically gave it to us anyway.
That's awesome, guys.
That felt like a good way to do it. We're just going to take a portion of that cash, stash it out on a bar tab. This is not like sanctioned. It's not a sanctioned work event. We're just taking personal funds and going to Kelly's.
I think I know why you guys are the favorites then.
Because we're buying your love. You know?
Alcohol.
You know what? Honestly,
No, you
people
guys are
overrate
great.
buying buying favor. What's the harm? You know?
No, it's very nice.
We'll
And
continue to remind you
technically-
guys about this next
it'll be
week
fun.
and leading up to it as well. We hope to see you guys out there coming up in a few Fridays at Kelly's in Westport. The last time we did something station-related there, or 2 times ago, was remember when somebody came walking by and they thought 2 of our listener friends were my parents? Remember
Yeah,
that?
you ended up getting a date out of it.
No.
Wait, what?
Wasn't that the time you got the date when we went to?
No,
like,
we
Nick's Bar or-
we texted. We never went on a date.
Oh, I apologize.
Yeah.
I just remember a girl's phone number being exchanged
We never went on a date.
near the
Yeah.
space. So I
Someone
apologize.
thought viewers were or listeners were
And they
your
weren't
parents?
that much older than Alex. They were only like 10 years older.
There was a
I need
couple.
this story.
There was a listeners to the station, and he'll text in under True Green Thumb on the text line account.
True Green Thumb.
Yeah. Well, he's in landscaping, right?
Okay,
Naturally,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
And no, him and his wife were there, and I was talking to them, and then the girl that Cody's talking about came up, talked to us, and then she's like, "Oh, is this your mom?" And so the joke now, whenever I see these 2 listeners, is like, "Oh, how's my son doing?" It's become a running joke now for
my
years. That's what it is.
Again, and not
Oh,
that
your
much-
mic is there. You go.
Sorry, not that much older than what we were talking about before, so it didn't make any sense, you know.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll see. Look, who knows? There's a chance by the time you're. When do you normally get out of 41? Like 10:40 or 10:30?
On
What?
Fridays, it just depends. We got games going on at night. I mean, we have our 10 o'clock show, so either way, I'm out of there by 10:30.
I think you could probably make it. You know, I think I'll still be in action by 10:30. Just the question is, and I'll try to have them reserve at least 1 drink's worth for you. You know.
Oh, that's
I don't know.
You don't,
I don't know
you
how
don't even
fast.
have to do that. I just want to be there for the support, guys.
I don't know. Well, like some of the listeners obviously listen when you come on the segments with us,
We already
right?
told Drew he's not allowed to wear a Joe Burrow jersey. We don't need to We don't need to make anybody angry and cause a fight
bar
or
fights.
This is
anything
about
like that.
camaraderie between
Yeah.
us and the listeners of Cody and Gold.
The text line, Drew. I mean, the text line let you have it there. You know.
Jeez, you guys need to back
man.
off. Cody, I wonder if this is an opportunity to see if we can outdrink each other. Who can outdrink
boy.
who?
Oh wow!
Wow.
Is this a
Drew, this is an easy.
is this a personal challenge? I'm gonna win that.
Drew, there's no way you're out drinking Cody.
I called him a lightweight one time on the
no
show.
way.
He took great offense to it, Mackenzie. I said, "There's nothing
Yeah,
wrong with that."
Are you can hold your alcohol.
Yeah, fine.
I don't know if I've ever been around you when you've been intoxicated.
Well, Alex has.
Yes, I have.
Alex has,
Not
and I was.
fully intoxicated. I've been around you like drinks and stuff.
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
you
like
know.
a drink or two or a cocktail or two. Look, I don't get fully intoxicated very often, probably for wise reasons. But I don't know.
Someone thinks the bar tab
I'm
will be
seasoned
gone by
enough.
8 o'clock.
I was gonna
8
say.
o'clock?
They might
They're
be
only giving
right.
us 90 minutes.
It depends how many people show up, but I mean that thing can go pretty quick. You know
I mean,
that.
we got a G.
Over
that should
under
get us a
90
little ways.
minutes. I
would
say
take the over, but I don't
I'm
think
gonna
they're
take the
far
under.
off. I don't think they're far off. If we get enough people out there, you know how quickly a tab runs up.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought offering $1,000
Oh,
was pretty.
It's very nice,
pretty good.
and I think it'll be a lot of fun. Looking forward
That'll
to
be
that
so fun.
in a couple weeks. We were talking about baseball and everything too. It just feels good to be talking about baseball and having the game back on station as well.
That means summer's coming.
Yeah.
Some warmth.
I need it.
Enough of this cold.
You're not a cold weather person?
I mean, it was fine for a little bit, but I mean, nobody's like leaving their houses. Kids are not going to school. Like it's too cold.
My kids finally went to school today. I had threatened that they were going to come to fan club if I was going to serve Shirley Temples to the kids. They were going to have to get out of the house.
Right here by me. Man. No, I'm over the cold. I'm looking forward to baseball season.
Now, will you go out to Arizona at all for spring training? We're not out there. Vern's out there, but we weren't going to go out there this year. But
I'm not sure. I think it all just kind of depends, and then it depends on basketball season. Like, are we going with all 3 local teams to the tournament? Like, what are we doing
Mackenzie,
here?
I think it's
gonna be 2
I don't
local
think
teams.
you're
I think it's only gonna be 2.
I got bad news for your Wildcats.
I don't think
I'm
you're
being
gonna have to.
optimistic.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna have to follow your Wildcats.
For a while, maybe.
I mean, they had a good run
They
there
did.
for a minute. But
KU's
I think
run might be short too, so you might whoever wants
Yeah.
to not be on the road as much should pick the Jayhawks compared to the Tigers. The way things are trending.
this is probably hard for you to talk about, Alex, but I mean, Mizzou has been really fun to watch. They've been really fun to watch.
No, we one of our leads yesterday on the show talking about the Tigers. Like, I think the expectation should absolutely be similar to what they did in 08-09.
Yeah.
That 08-09 Missouri team went to the Elite Eight.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that's their best year in school history. I think that is in play. As we all know, it's the NCAA tournament. Norfolk State happens. Northern Iowa happens. All these things happen. But there's no reason. I think they're going to end up being a 3 or 4 seed. And if you're a 3 or 4 seed, then it's not just winning a game in the tournament. It's not, you know, you
got to make the Sweet 16 or it's a disappointment.
I think so.
I'm excited.
Their offense is insane. The fact that they put up, what was it, 112
They had
or
like
whatever it was the other
31
night?
points in like the first, 2 or 3 minutes the other night.
Like they gave up 98, which I'm sure they're not thrilled about that part of it. But
if you're scoring 110, who cares?
Yeah, if you're scoring 110 points, you can beat. I mean, obviously, you'll beat anybody in the country doing that. So
yeah, if someone wants to go, like all they've proved is that if you want to be in a race against them, you can win the race. Like I don't care if you're a high scoring team like the Chiefs were in the year that 2018, just as long as you can keep up. I know that a lot of times we talk guard play and all this other stuff in the tournament, but like I can't believe this. Like for a team that didn't win a SEC game last year. Sweet 16, Elite 8, or you kind of failed yourself a little bit? Like, you got yourself in trouble. Dennis Gates probably earned himself quite a bit more time there at Missouri now.
I mean, he deserves it. Yeah, I mean, the turnaround and everything he's done there is pretty remarkable. And they've got a couple more opportunities to get some other. They already have 3 top 5 wins, but it's the SEC, so maybe they're in the SEC conference tournament final too, and you can really improve your seed. I don't think they can be any higher than a 3. I don't see a path to getting higher than that.
Not unless they win out. It's always the same thing. Like, sure, win out and you could be a 2 seed, but like barring, I mean, I'm not saying that's impossible, but barring that kind of long shot possibility.
You've probably looked at this more than we have, just because for the pods and everything in the tournament, because we won't travel or anything. But like Missouri, probably in Wichita. Is that the thought?
We were just talking about this the other day. I think that could be it. And then we were looking at KU, possibly. It looks like Denver or. Is it Minneapolis, another location?
I think so,
I can't remember. And then, like, there's some that are in driving distance. Milwaukee's one.
Milwaukee, I think, is where Lenardi has them right now going.
I think that's what I'm thinking of. But I don't know. I think there could be, like, games the first 2 rounds, like, within driving distance. And that'd be really fun to go cover, whether it's KU or Mizzou or whoever.
When was it, when was the last time KU was a lower seed than Missouri?
Well, under Bill Self, they've never been worse than a 4. So
no time under Bill Self. So it had to be before that.
The Norfolk State year, what was Missouri's seed?
They were 2.
And
that was a 215, right?
Probably. Yeah. And then KU is a 1.
I thought they were a 1.
So I don't know if they have been and like. Again, Bill Self's lowest seed is 4, so unless Missouri was, unless the year KU was a 4, I don't know if the Missouri was even in the tournament that year. I mean, quite honestly, so it's kind of crazy.
I'm just trying to like look through it now. It's like
that's interesting.
Like Missouri's basketball team. I mean, you just got to think like this got to be the first time ever that they've had this kind of edge on Kansas as far as like decision of who the better team is.
That 08,
not like in general.
Yeah,
or,
that 08-09 year.
That,
I don't know what was their seed that year, Cody. If I don't even want to look at 08-09, they went to the Elite 8.
They were 3.
Okay,
they were a 3 seed, and 94 they were a 1 seed. So that's probably
1994. Okay,
1994 is probably the answer. They were a 1 seed. They were 8, 8, 9, 9, 12, 6, 3, 10, 12. So the 2012, the Norfolk State year, they were 2. So if Kansas was a 1 that year, every other year they were 9 or an 8. They've pretty much been a 9 or an 8. They were where Kansas is this year. The roles are reversed. Missouri's a 3 seed. Kansas is going to be a 7, 8, or 9. I think is borderline locked in.
Already has.
Isn't that where we all kind of
7.
feel like they're going to be?
I think best they can do now, if for some reason you think they can figure it out, is a 6.
Win out,
and
5.
then worse is a 9 if they were to lose out.
Yeah, they're not winning out. Like, same thing.
I mean, why would I believe they can at this point?
I'm not even sure. Like, are they going to win another regular season game?
Yeah, they're going to win tomorrow.
They're going to figure it out.
Every single week.
They're going to win.
They're going to be fine.
They're going to win tomorrow. They'll beat Oklahoma State tomorrow. As far as expectation of the tournament, I mean, I have very little. But
you know what's fun though? Talking about the women's basketball. So we have KU K-State this weekend, women's. I know K-State men's team, struggling this season, but the girls have been great, and they've been down Aoka Lee. And then Samaya Nichols, who plays for KU, the local girl, she just had a career, like she reached 1,000 points at KU in her career in like a very small amount of games, like just behind their top.
I think I saw K-State women might be. K-State women are potentially one of the top seeds in the tournament if all continues to go in the direction.
Because last year they hosted the first 2 rounds in Manhattan because they were a top seed.
So they'll get to do that again this year then.
Possibly.
Ayoka's so good. That's what it is. I mean, just like in women's basketball, if you can have a star, you can be kind of at the top of the conference, which
I'm
matters.
excited. Big 12 tournament coming up.
We got a lot. Big
This
12
is gonna be
tournament.
fun.
Soccer's getting ready to start. Baseball's like a month away.
You'll see. You'll be covering it with Drew. Drew will be out there for the Big 12 tourney at T-Mobile
I will
Center.
be.
You got a credential.
Love
so you'll be
college
out
hoops.
there.
Do you still have the credential you picked up from the COVID year?
I think so.
When Alex and I started the show, he got a credential for the Big 12
I
tournament.
went to pick up my credential, and within 20 minutes, they canceled the whole Big 12 tournament due to COVID.
I was downtown doing like live shots about like, hey, everybody's excited, like let's go. And then it was like, oh my God, everybody's leaving. Like, what is happening?
That was it.
Never mind, no tournament.
Shut them down. Good times.
You're
bring 'em happy
not
memories.
going to go and
Great
watch KU, Gold?
memories.
What's that?
You're not going to go and watch KU?
I will not be paying money to watch. So if I have a ticket, sure, but I will not. I will not be paying money to go to the Big 12 tournament.
KU's not earned
I
your
used to
dollars
love
this year?
I used to
Get your
love
credential.
not this year. I don't think I have one. The Big 12 tournament used to be one of my favorite things as a kid. When the games were now with more teams in the conference, I guess it's that way again. But you go to the day, you skip school for the
Stay the
day,
whole day,
and you just sit there all day. Well, it used to be one of my favorite things.
Are we still letting kids skip school for sporting events?
Absolutely.
I think so. Opening
I mean,
day,
I don't have kids, so I feel like I can say that.
Look, my general rule of
Yes,
thumb
kids.
is, sure.
Opening day as well. I think opening day is another one.
Yeah.
You know.
I didn't know if people are still doing it or not. You know, they take attendance so much more seriously now.
Do you not let your
Oh
kids
yeah,
skip?
they take attendance so much more seriously at the week when they have no school.
Well, that's different,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, they really make sure those kids are going to school these
I'd let
days.
my kids skip. I don't care.
What happens now that they've been out so many days? Do they have to
They're gonna
stay
have
in
to
school
stay
longer?
Yeah, they're gonna have to stay until like June now.
Oh my.
They're gonna have to. They haven't figured it out
Really?
yet. They haven't officially announced.
Okay.
At least some of they said till June 2nd. In my kid's school district, they're probably. They might just go into June. They might just try to they have teacher days where, 2 Fridays for now they're supposed to be off of school anyway. Maybe they'll just go to school that
makes
day.
sense.
So I don't know how they're gonna handle it exactly.
Trying
but
to make them up somehow. Some
Yeah,
way.
But this wouldn't change the snow day stuff. But since you mentioned post Memorial Day, I still think we should do what they do in other parts of the country, which is school should not start until after Labor Day weekend, and then
School
just go
started on Labor Day.
It
once
should
the
start
class was
after
a kid.
Labor Day weekend and then go into June.
After Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, because
what if it's
because
sometimes
kids are
it's
going back
September
to school
6th. You know.
Well, yeah, but sometimes people are going to school August 12th. That's right in that's when summer is full force. Actually,
Yeah, I mean, I get it. When I was a kid, I think I had the first day of school twice on my birthday because it was before Labor Day. Because we always been back in late August.
Yep.
Maybe first couple of days of September when I was in school. It was pretty close.
I think ours
to at least
August
that range.
18th or something. Something like that.
My kids were happy to go back to school, Mackenzie. My
Were
kids, yeah, they were actively angry about how many times we kept telling them they didn't have to go.
Aw.
One is because we've talked about the show, but my son, who's in kindergarten, got a big crush.
Oh boy.
And he worked really, really hard on the girl's Valentine, who he has already told he loves to her.
Wow.
And she has
That's big.
reciprocated.
They're in
I
love.
love you back.
Wow.
Although the first time, I think she just gave him a couple thumbs up and then later reciprocated it. And then, I
love
sent
it.
them a video the other day. He just said, he's like, what do you think? He's like, I was like, hey, are you excited to go back to school? He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm excited to see her. I don't want to say her name.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
excited to see her. And I said, well, you excited to see your t-shirt? Your other friends? He's like, I'm excited to see them too, but her the most. He's like, I think she's going to see my Valentine and then she's going to think I'm her boyfriend. And I'm like, okay, just.
I told Cody. I told Cody he needed.
Relax a little.
I told Cody
He's in deep.
he needed
Wow.
to warn Desmond though. They haven't seen each other in a week of school.
And at that age?
Maybe you go back to school today and she just you're done. Maybe it's
Things
over.
have gotten chilly?
I'm just saying.
Damn.
You never know at that age.
It can happen quick. A winter break could kill a high
That's
school
right. That's
relationship.
Thumbs up. Wow.
She gave the thumbs up the first time, but then
That's
later
great.
said it back. He wrote it the first time.
Wow.
In fairness, he asked me to say it to her the first time, and I said,
Oh.
that's not how it works.
No.
He's like, will you tell her I'm scared? I said, no. If you're saying it, it's on you.
You got to do
I'm
it.
not there is no proxy to say I love you to somebody. You're just going to have to earn that one. Sorry.
Dad, can you do it?
I think when you're 6, that sounds like a more reasonable request, you know? You're like, yeah, this makes sense.
Oh my God, how cute.
He's smitten. I you know what? When he gets off the bus today, I'm gonna have to find out how it goes.
I can't wait to
I hope
hear
it went
It's
well
the
for him.
first
I'm going to
thing
need
he's
you to
gonna say.
text me. I need an update on this love story.
It's the first thing he's gonna say. He spent so much time. He handmade all of his Valentines,
That's so nice.
and you have to make them for every kid in class, which makes sense.
Okay.
He wrote "I love you" in her name on hers, and he put "forever" because he was trying to spell himself FOEVR. And on every other Valentine he wrote for every other kid in the class, he put "I like you."
So good. So good. So good. So good.
He's like, I'm not playing any
Disney.
games.
Oh,
No one's gonna make a mistake this Valentine's Day. He put out
That's incredible.
Oh, that's
Smart.
great.
Kudos, man. Smart.
Where did he learn this from? You?
I don't know.
You smooth?
I don't think so. But he is. He's got game, apparently. Kindergarten game.
I love it.
It's wild.
You should go
Kid's
home and say
wild.
he's got Riz, Cody, and to see what he says.
I don't know if he knows Riz yet. He might.
Or-
He's at that age. My kids say all the regular slang you would think.
Are your
He
kids
says Sigma
saying
a lot.
Sigma? Oh my God. My niece says it all the time, and I was like, what are you saying?
And she's like 6, right?
Yeah, she's in kindergarten. Yeah. She's like, what the Sigma?
Yeah,
Like,
he
what,
says
what
it
is that?
all-
Where did that start? Do we know?
I
He
have
says
no
all
idea.
the time. It started with like an online YouTube thing.
Of course. Of course.
Oh my God. I was
they-
like, what is that? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, where'd you learn it? I don't know.
They say
Great.
it all the time. The ones I have to prevent is like when because I'm not good about watching my curse words around him.
Oh.
The other day, like he dropped something. He dropped like a full 2-word like curse word and was like, that was hard. And I was like, oh, don't say that. You can't. I mean, maybe here, but not out other places.
Kindergartners have no problem, like, just being blunt with you.
Yeah, they're an honest
They're
group.
kind of mean.
Honestly, if you're looking for an honest opinion, though,
Yeah, ask
that's a pretty good group to get it from. Yeah.
It is a Fan Club Friday here on Cody and Gold. McKenzie Nelson from 41 joining us in studio. Up next, we'll talk a little Chiefs. We'll ask Mackenzie maybe the priorities for her offseason when it comes to the Chiefs free agency and maybe the draft as well. And then we will fill you in a little bit, Mackenzie, on a crazy deep dive Cody and I took regarding someone that was at the Super Bowl when you were there as well on Media Row. And we'll tell you who that is next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
This weather is going to tell you whether or not you got problems with your roof. If you're noticing those signs from either the storms last year or from this current freezing cold weather that has been doing it, Century Roofing is the roofing company you want to call. 35 years in Kansas City. Voted best in Johnson County 3 straight years. They've done over 30,000 roofs in the Kansas City area. That's why you know you can trust them. Think about a company that's been around that long. There's a lot of roofing companies who pop up, knock on your door, say they'll take care of it, and you're not even sure they're going to be a roofing company in a couple of years. 35 years later, best in Johnson County, those are the things you know that they can do it. Doesn't matter the style of roof. They can do any style, concrete tile, standing seam roof, metal roofing, composite, whatever you feel like you need, they'll take care of it. They offer free roof replacement and repair estimates. They did that for us so we could try to figure out, hey, do we need a replacement? Do we need repairs? Just repairs. This time for us on the roof, they can take care of those needs for you and figure out where you are. Work with a company that's been working in the greater Kansas City area since 1990 and is locally owned and will continue to work with you. Trust the pillars of strength. Go with KC-based and female-owned Century Roofing. Visit centuryroofingkc.com and tell them that Cody sent you.
Okay, so that's with bacon, cheese, lettuce, tomato, grilled onions, ketchup, and hold the pickles.
You know what you like. You wouldn't order your burger just any way. Why should your sports talk be any different? With Chapters on the free Odyssey app, you can choose the topics that matter to you most. Whether it's reactions, matchup previews, injury updates, or team news, quickly find what you really care about. Your football talk, your way. Download the free Odyssey app and start listening today.
From fast breaks to buzzer beaters to block parties, there's nothing as exciting as basketball. With Underdog, you can bring that excitement to wherever you watch. Playing on their app is as easy as choosing higher or lower on player stats like threes made, points, rebounds, and so much more. I love the Underdog app. So get those selections right, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money. It's so much fun. Millions of fans have won over billions on Underdog. Will you be the next? It's simple to join the fun. Join in by signing up for the Underdog app today using promo code BOB, and you'll get a free selection as part of your first cash entry, plus up to 1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.com. ShareRock.org. Facing displacement can be an overwhelming and uncertain time, whether it's due to a job transfer, unexpected life changes, or unforeseen circumstances. The Sharp Homes team, they're here to provide stability and support. My friend Dawn Sharp can help you get through the home buying and selling process. That's why if you're looking to buy or sell a home, contact my friend Dawn Sharp, brokered by Epic Realty. They can give you options as well. If you want to skip the showings and open houses and go straight to sold, you can discuss their instant offer program. Google Sharp Homes team or visit them at homesforsaleandkc.com.
At GiveMeTheVin.com, we like pretty cars. We like nice cars. We'll pay extra. If you think you've got a good one, go to GiveMeTheVin.com. We'd love to buy it.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
We're back in the miller's front yard who recently switched to True Green.
Their lawn started looking like a golf course, and PGA Tour golfers started showing up.
Here's one now hitting out of this lush green grass. He has to avoid that sandbox to keep his round going. Oh, into the sand. It's a toy dump truck and rolls out.
Oh, the neighbors love the action on this True Green lawn.
Get a PGA Tour quality lawn for as little as $1 a day. Sign up now at TrueGreen.com. Exclusions apply. See TrueGreen.com for details.
I'm Brian Tedesco, CEO of Blaupunk Americas, the pioneers of the car stereo. Today, we're not just about sound systems. We are revolutionizing the e-bike scene with Blue Dot Bike. Thanks to AmericanEagle.com, our online presence now features a dynamic e-commerce website that showcases the quality and affordability of our foldable e-bikes. And our collegiate e-bikes, just perfect for the college fanatic. These e-bikes offer a new way to experience freedom on two wheels, no matter your age. When we needed a top-notch website to match our cutting-edge e-bikes, we turned to AmericanEagle.com. They made the impossible seem easy, tackling digital challenges like pros. Check out the Blue Dot Bike website to see AmericanEagle.com's amazing work in action. Need the best in website and digital marketing solutions? AmericanEagle.com is your go-to. They've been a game changer for us, and they can be for you too. Visit AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW-1. That's 877-WEB-NOW-1.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by Shamrock Roofing and Construction. ShamrockRoofer.com.
Hey folks, it's Karen from Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Thank you for making Shamrock Roofing one of the top 30 roofing companies in the nation. We're family owned and ready to help you with your roof today. Inspect, repair, replace. One call does it all at Shamrock Roofing. Visit ShamrockRoofer.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Fan Club Friday here on 96.5 The Fan. It's Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We've got our guest today, McKenzie Nelson from 41, joining us in the studio, talking sports, talking everything else, really. Life. We'll maybe get to the text line later on. I will say, 913-586-7965. People are very happy you're on the show, McKenzie.
Yay!
Someone says, oh, that is the Nelson gal from the news. Good mix of you all. I'm a fan. Pretty cool. I like her on TV.
Thank you. Wow.
If you'd like to see her on camera, you can on the video stream, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. Someone earlier said...
McKenzie's like, yeah,
someone said,
he kept moving it closer to me.
Well, I felt like it was too far the first time. And somebody on the message said, hey, put your guest on the camera. I'm sick of looking at your face.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay, I mean, I get it. We do have a guest in here, so I'll move the camera. Point taken.
Yeah.
They get to see us for the other 3 hours, the show on a Friday.
Before we get your perspective maybe on the Chiefs offseason a little bit and Travis Kelce's latest report and audio from his podcast and retirement stuff, we filled you in a little bit during the break because earlier in this week we told the audience about this phony fake media member basically that then lied that they were on the Delta plane crash on Monday. It was not. And fake that he's an NFL player, former NFL player, fake that he was a special assistant to the Royals, general manager.
That's wild.
All that. Have you ever
1,000 lies?
That's
man.
wild.
Have you ever heard of somebody doing all this before?
No.
And you know
Not
that
at
there's some people
all.
who hype up their credentials in a way
Sure.
they're like, you don't cover the way you say you cover.
Like, there's a big difference in like completely lying about your resume and just kind of like spicing it up a little bit. And,
Yeah,
you know,
making it
making
seem
yourself
cooler.
look better.
I mean,
This
saying
is on
you're
a
in a
whole nother level.
former NFL defensive end when you're 5'8" or whatever it is, and then special assistant to the
best of your time.
GM, deleting the post that
It's
you
also weird to say that after saying you had 11 and a half career sacks. You can't be one of the best of your era
Yeah.
for 11
if you had
and a
11 and a
half
half sacks, maybe in high school.
Yeah, and then again, the worst part, and the reason why we went down the rabbit hole was faking that you were on a plane crash.
Yeah.
You
First
think
of
we
all,
were
great
okay?
investigative journalism by you two. I
Thank
must
you.
say.
Thank you. We'll be on 41 investigates.
I actually think a local Minnesota station should expose this guy. You know,
Absolutely.
somebody should just do
You
like a deep dive and be like, look at this guy. He's making things up.
Pass it on to them.
I don't even think he went to Turks and Caicos. He posted,
No chance.
head to Turks and Caicos. Never. And you've been on beach vacations.
Yeah.
Everybody knows if you go to a beach vacation, you post one of two photos, automatic without question.
Yes.
Either a photo of you at said beach, so like the water and
Yep.
this, or the like fruity cocktail
drink
you're
that you
drinking.
got. Yep.
Of course. 0 photos.
Yeah.
Said he was going to Turks and Caicos, 0 photos. Then claims he was on the plane crash.
And he messed up
Come
the
on.
details. He
Come
said he
on.
was flying from Toronto to Minnesota. The flight that crashed was from Minnesota
Said his nickname was the Gear.
to Toronto. And
Why
yes.
would someone do that?
Well,
like,
that's, I guess
compulsive
just
lying needs
attention.
therapy?
The fact that he lied about all these
Definitely
lied about all these other things. He's just a phony and just thinks
like
he
a
can.
pathological liar,
That's
but on
clearly.
another level.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's the only explanation.
That's
I mean,
insane.
you have like an actual problem.
And he was at the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was
The
at
NFL credentials.
Radio Row and at the game. You
can't
might
say-
have
you
walked
said
past him.
You said he had on Myles Garrett. He had on.
Oh yeah,
who
great
else?
guess. He had Malik Neighbors, Jaden Daniels.
He gets like legit. It makes no
Yeah.
sense, Mackenzie.
What does he tell them? Like, hey, I'm so and so. Like,
Well,
I
come
think
talk to
his
me.
radio partner is one of the booking agent people who do his podcast partner.
He's
one of the people who run those guests around a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe he's got an in
He
there.
has an online show, but his co-host actually is legit and host shows for an actual channel. It's actually called the Disability Channel. His co-host, his story is incredible. Actually, his co-host was like born without legs, and then his parents like abandoned him. Like it's a crazy story.
We think he's getting duped, too.
And we think he's getting duped because he said he got off the phone with this Troy guy and heard about the plane crash and how shook up he was, and then the post was deleted later. So we think that he unfortunately is kind of just being used in this whole thing too.
That's horrible. I
Someone
don't know
said
what
he's
else
not
to say
lying. He's
other
a real
than
life Forrest
that's
Gump.
Awful. Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
just terrible.
That or he's the world's most interesting man. Like if he really was a Chiefs defensive end and a Royal special assistant to the general manager and was on a plane crash. Well, I mean, damn, do a documentary on the
Yeah,
guy. He leads the
exactly.
most interesting life of all time.
That's right.
This has got to be illegal.
Well, that's what I said. I was like
trying to figure out.
I was like, I don't
at the
think
very
he-
least, he's screwing investors of his podcast.
Yeah, like I don't know
over.
if he's committed any. If you know, like it's tough because if you're lying about certain things to get advertisers, then that is probably some sort of fraud. But I don't
Yeah.
know. Like it reminds you of the Ponzi scheme stuff without it being a Ponzi
Yes.
scheme in terms of how people lied throughout and just keep on making up lies. I don't know.
That's just weird.
You know,
I hope he gets the help that he
I don't
needs.
know. You'll have a chance to.
You're going to go down a
Mackenzie-
deep dive later.
Mackenzie, you'll
because
have-
we did. Just wait.
investigating this
Alex will
later.
send you the screenshots he took of the original post about the plane crash and
Oh
all
my
that
gosh.
stuff. Because he's obviously deleted those and said nothing since.
I'm going to get it to our NBC station. And
you
where is
should.
he from?
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
He'll be in town probably this summer. He somehow has finagled his way. He volunteers during the Big Slick stuff. He's got photos with Sudeikis and Rudd and all these guys. So he'll
Quick
be in
question.
Kansas City.
Yes.
If Alex and I, so we can get credentialed for that kind of thing. Is it wrong of us to walk around and then just approach him with like 3 different people saying the same thing, like the Gear from the Chiefs, right? You're the Gear,
Could you
right?
imagine if we did that?
And then Alex is like, oh my God, you're that specialist. Didn't you guys work? Did you work for the Royals in 14 and 15?
And then we
Oh my
wanted someone
God.
in a Delta Airlines polo, a Delta Airlines polo to walk him
That's
back.
the last person.
I was Sean. I helped get you
Yes.
out of the plane.
Oh my
I
God.
can't believe I'm seeing you here.
I mean, I would like to be a fly on the wall and see this happen, honestly.
He's so good.
I don't know if that's
think that
wrong.
he kind of,
It's okay to expose frauds, isn't it?
I think so. I mean, I don't think it's wrong. He's doing
Well, right.
things wrong. Like, you guys are just trying to find the truth.
We're
That's
doing
right.
it in a mean way if we do it
Expose
that way,
the
but expose the truth. This is now an investigative journalism show.
Cody and Gold investigates.
Did you ever consider doing like investigative journalism?
I never did. No.
Can you guys vlog this, by the way? Just vlog it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
You can make a
It's
documentary.
like our version of Serial, but a local radio station looks at one person's
I'll
fraud.
edit it for you guys.
Perfect. All right. I want to ask you about the Chiefs, though, a little bit. And other than finding the next great defensive end like Troy Geary, the gear, what should they do this offseason? Because we were going through the 11 offensive free agents.
Sure.
I think there's only one, maybe two that I'm interested in bringing back. Hollywood Brown.
Okay.
And then maybe Justin Watson as a special teams guy. Other than that, we went through Kareem Hunt, Juju Smith-Schuster, DeAndre Hopkins, Trey Smith. I'm kind of out on most of them.
I mean, I thought they were great additions to the team this year, but I think they're just getting a little older in age. They're not as productive. And then, I think the biggest thing is the offensive line. I didn't know if we were talking about the Chiefs yet, if everybody's recovered and, is it safe to talk about them? But that was just horrible. I have no words to describe what we watched that Sunday.
The problem is a lot of teams I think can get embarrassed and you just say, hey, tear down, restart.
Sure.
Let's figure out what went wrong. They were in 3 straight Super Bowls, won 2 of them. Had this embarrassing one been in the middle, I don't think the reaction is the same.
Yeah.
If they win one, get embarrassed in the second, win the third, and it's still 2 out of 3 just like this, attending 3 straight Super Bowls, and one is an embarrassing fashion in which they don't reset everything,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fairly obvious. They got a couple of big problems, and one of them is namely at the offensive line, but none of that held them back from getting to the actual game.
Right.
Had the Eagles, who almost lost in their first game of the postseason, just got upset for whatever reason, you probably still go on to win the Super Bowl and don't run into this problem. I don't think it takes overhaul other than the offensive line.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the biggest thing. I think you have to get an entire new offensive line. I don't care.
Other than Creed, yeah.
Yeah.
But Jawan Taylor's not going anywhere because of contract
right.
or whatever.
But I think you've got to do something. And what was the most confusing to me on Super Bowl Sunday was that first half. It's like, okay, let's just get out of the first half. This is awful. Let's go into halftime. You have a little bit of extra time with the performance at halftime, and then regroup, come back out a different team. Nothing changed in the second half. They came out and did the exact same thing, and it was like, what is happening? Why are we not changing anything? Why nothing happened?
There was no
They just took a little
adjustment.
break and then came back out.
No, I'm put Jawan Taylor left.
Move some people out.
Wanye.
Yeah, exactly.
There were no bad ideas when it was
DJ
24-0.
came in.
And they
So
didn't
what
even
would
try new
you,
ideas.
if Mackenzie Nelson was the general manager of the
God.
Chiefs,
That's a lot of pressure.
whether it's fixing the O-line or whatever, what are you doing? Tell me your solution, your plan.
Your just 3-stage plan.
Okay. I would say left tackle. You have to get a new left tackle. You have to.
Okay.
Yeah,
you doing that through the draft or free
yes.
agency?
I say draft one.
Okay.
So you're trading up?
Yes.
Okay.
Trading up, you have to get a left tackle. As far as keeping some of the guys that Alex mentioned, I don't think you have to keep them. I think you can replace them with other guys. I don't know.
No, on the offensive side, we maybe one guy that's a free
We
agent.
said if it's even a 1-year deal, there's a lot of players
Sure.
I would turn down, like Kareem Hunt and Juju.
Hollywood
and
Brown
Cole.
would be good to bring back, but Kareem Hunt, as great as he was, I don't think he should return. And then DeAndre Hopkins.
The trickiest player that I wonder where his market will be on the defensive side, Charles Omenihu, I would love back in Kansas City. We played some audio from Kay Adams' show earlier today, and he said, his number one priority is playing in big games, but then he also said, hey, I got to also take care of my family, too. So I don't know if other teams will be able to offer him more money, but I think if you look at the Chiefs' defensive line, if they don't bring back Charles Omenihu, then I think it means they're probably using their first-round pick actually on a defensive lineman.
I can see that.
Corner is the other one people are going to mention.
Mm-hmm.
Same 3 positions every year. Tackle, corner, defensive end.
Never
It's
have
like the
too
same
many.
3
Yeah.
positions that everyone wants to draft every year in the first
I think
round.
they got to switch it up. I think you got to get a left tackle, and then if they do that, you got to get someone on defense. I don't think Charles Omenihu is going to be back.
Okay.
That's just me. I don't.
think it's
so
gonna be too
I think they're
expensive?
going yes, and I think they're just going to have to find somebody else. And because I think there's some other guys that you need to try and keep.
Who else? Yeah, okay. So Trey Smith, of course, is a free agent. Nick Bolton, some of the other names we haven't brought up. Would you try to keep both of them or one of them, or would you let them go?
I would like to keep both of them, but if I had to choose, I would probably say Trey Smith. Keep him. As sad as that
He's the better
is.
player. I just think he's going to be so
He's going to be very
outpriced
expensive.
to Kansas City.
I want you
right?
to take the best friend discount. Him and Creed Humphrey are best friends.
Yes.
Take the best friend discount.
Yes.
Do you like being with your best friend at work every day?
Yeah.
Your
I
best
just-
friend moved away.
If I had
Mackenzie.
unlimited money, yes, I would like to keep Trey
Sure,
Smith.
of course.
But I mean, Nick Bolton's great. He's been great for the defense. I mean, he's the quarterback of the defense. Like, it would be amazing to have him come back because he knows the defense so well, and him and Spags have that great relationship. And that's.
I think it's way more likely Bolton's back, though, for the reasons
Yes.
you presented financially is the biggest thing. Because Nick Bolton, heck, you could even let him go test the market a little bit, and he realizes maybe it's not as rich as he thought. Whereas Trey Smith, we know he's going to get whatever he wants, basically, on the open market.
The way you guys are describing free agents, just out of curiosity, is this how dating also works? Where you're like, you know what, I'm going to cast them back out in the world. They're going to find out they're not so cool anyway. And maybe they'll have some more realistic expectations about what dating really is.
Maybe.
Because you're describing it in a way that is like it's so business. Like, it'd be like, I've been with this person for a while. They think they can get any person they want. They are wrong. I'm gonna cast them back into the world to find out what that's like.
I mean,
feels like not the worst strategy, honestly. Wake up call. I think people do that to themselves sometimes.
Probably.
They think they're better than the person they date. They go and see what it's really like in life.
It's like, okay, is the grass greener?
It's that tweet of the really famous tweet meme where the guy was like, "You do not want to be out here. I've been out here for a while. That's not where you
don't want to
be."
be out in these streets.
Let me ask you then, how are the apps? How's the dating life treating you?
You know
then?
this. I've never been on an app. I
that's
will
right,
not get on an app.
That's right.
I actually respect it.
I can't. I say that. One of my best friends has been on an app. Okay, she's gone on, I think, a couple dates with 3 different guys in the last, let's say, 3 months. Okay. She'll go on a handful of dates and then ghost.
She'll get ghosted, or she's
Yes,
ghosting them?
she'll get ghosted.
She's getting ghosted.
Yes, and I'm like, and she's so sweet and so cute.
Were
and
the dates did she say they went bad?
Yes, one of the
Oh.
dates introduced her to his parents.
Oh,
he ghosted her?
Yes.
Whoa!
I know.
on the first date?
They went out, I
couple
think,
dates?
4 times.
On
yes.
the 4th date,
And already did the parents in 4 dates and then ghosted?
Yes, because she
How much
called
did
me
the
and
parents
she's
not
like,
like her?
isn't
Damn.
it a little weird to be meeting parents that early? I was
Yes.
like,
Oh, yeah.
yes, it is. Red flag.
Very weird.
And, depending on how old you get, maybe that happens a little faster because you understand. But not 4 dates. 4 dates.
That's
is crazy.
absolutely insane.
And then
But I
still
hear her
ghosted?
stories from the dating apps and some of my other friends that are on there, and I'm like, absolutely not. If someone tells me they love me, I'm gonna do what your son does. Or the girl.
Thumbs
I'm
up.
gonna do
Yeah.
it.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
She needed some time on it. She had to think about it for a minute.
Yeah,
I respect it.
The 4th
smart of
date
her.
saying, "Hey, we're going to meet my parents on the 4th date" is crazy. This is not The Bachelor, the Bachelorette, where it's like, hey, 3 weeks in, you are meeting their parents. A little bit different. This is a reality TV show here.
I think if my younger brother brought a girl home to meet my parents after 4 dates, my parents would be like, what?
I think if it's if it happens naturally, as in I think it's different. I think there are exceptions,
run
right?
into them.
They come in town once a year and they happen to be in town,
Yeah,
and
they have
we're
to
gonna
be.
go get brunch, right? I think there are probably
But honestly,
exceptions.
Cody,
I think
but
there are
then-
probably exceptions to the rule.
This was just wild.
But even in your example of if they're in town, I would say, hey, I've only got on 4 dates with this gal. Hey, my parents are coming to town. We're gonna have to do let's try this. I would just schedule the date a different day. You're not even that deep into the relationship yet. Your parents are in town once a year. Go have dinner with your parents without the person you've talked to for 3 weeks. You know what I mean?
I think we should dive into this more, Alex. So you don't want to introduce anyone to your parents.
Not
That's what I'm sensing.
not 4 dates in,
should we get
Mackenzie.
into it?
A month, 2 months, 3 months. What's the
how
timeline?
Well, so I dated this girl that let's see, I think about a month and a half in, I had lunch with her mom. I think.
Okay.
I think it was about a month and a half in.
Did you feel weird or was it normal?
I kind of was. She was continually asking me, when is she going to meet my parents? I thought it was a little too soon at that time.
And a month and a half? Or she asked after you probably met her mom?
No, before. So about a month in. And I thought at the time that was too soon. But I think some of that everybody's going to have a different answer on.
Some people are more protective of their parents.
I definitely think it's got to at least be a month and 5 dates or something before you're.
In a lot of ways, I actually feel like you could jump up the timeline on that because, it's this is how dating is when you're 17 or 18 anyway.
Yeah.
They got to come pick you up at the house. You exchange
gotta meet-
pleasantries for a few minutes.
You have that awkward.
You get a vibe whether they hate you or don't. And you got to kind of move past it. I'm not saying have a full-blown 3-hour, 10-course dinner.
Yeah.
I'm just saying meet them in a casual setting.
I get so weirded
it's
out.
not that bad.
My friend, okay, we're not in high school. We're 33 years old. If you go on a couple dates and you're like, I'm not really feeling this person, just say
For
it.
sure.
You're an adult. You can be like, hey, it was fun, but I'm just really not interested. Like, you just ghost? Like, how old are we?
Yeah, I mean, it's one text. Now you have a cell phone. Before you had to like call somebody or like physically.
Yeah, if you've got on,
a text is better than nothing.
Yeah, and then you can always block the person. Like, there are so many other things you could do, but to just like not respond.
Yeah, like after
wild.
we've all gone on one date and you can just tell right away, and then usually sometimes you just naturally stop texting each other and then it's just over. That's not really ghosting after one.
Dates,
but not not if you've gone on multiple dates in a row.
Yes.
Not if you had dinner a few times.
I will not be on any
So
apps.
she has not talked you into getting on the apps, it sounds like.
No, nobody will ever talk me into getting on the apps. Ever. Sorry.
Again,
It's a scary place to be.
Especially for women, it seems like a nightmare.
Yeah.
Dating apps in general, I would say on both sides of the coin here. I would say that it's not great either way. Like,
I mean, I know people who have met on the apps and are married and very happy, and it worked out great. I mean, it certainly does. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's probably the key. Mm-hmm. It's like, does it work? Like, is this my introduction? Like, am I cool with that?
And some apps are better than there's one or two that are just stay away from.
Well, like what are the odds? Okay, like of how many of these dates actually end up in like long-term relationships from meeting on an app? You know what I mean? Like, I know there's a lot of people that have met on apps, but like. What are, like, you know.
You're just saying, what's the conversion rate?
Yeah.
Let's make this a football conversation.
I would like to know.
What are the chances? You know, how often are you converting that into a long-term relationship?
Right, exactly.
You know?
Well, I'm sure they have the data for that. I'm sure those companies have some of that. Let's see. Here we go. According to Pew Research Center,
that's a good
around
research center.
10% of people in committed relationships or marriages met their partner on a dating site or app. 10%.
This is like, that's starting to sound like finding a left tackle out of the first round, though.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Slim.
Out of the first 20 picks. I'm not saying you can't find it. I'm just saying your odds of finding it there seem
Very
lower.
slim.
That's
Yeah.
all.
It's like winning the lottery.
I mean, it's not that bad.
That's, yeah.
It's not that bad. I mean, it's not good, but it's not that bad. You know.
Yeah. It might be because I was in college, but I think I met my wife in like
on an app, right?
Well, yes, but I think we met. I met
there
her.
We go.
I met her mom maybe a week or two after.
What?
So at the time, I was in college still. She was living at home. She was out of college, or not in college.
So you had to go to her house.
Yeah, I went to her house to pick her up.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
And
I first dated my wife in 7th grade. I met her parents probably the first time we hung out.
Yeah, I think it just naturally came up where I would come and ring the doorbell. Somebody else would answer because Bree was getting ready.
They'd say, "Oh, come in for a second."
Say, oh, hey, how's it going? Like, I'm a very, I don't. To me, I almost don't find it very awkward because maybe that's because I'm an overly nice person.
You say
you're a
Mr.
people pleaser.
Yeah, I met her sister. I met.
But you guys met on an app. I forgot about that.
That's right.
No, which app?
Tinder.
That is so
Tinder's
stressful.
way trashier now than I think what it was. Like,
and you
back
guys went
then.
at the same school or anything, right? Just the same city?
No, same city. This is 2018 though. 7 years ago, Tinder was not as.
Did you have a good opening line or something? Do you remember?
We just matched and we just started texting. I don't think there was no opening line. There was nothing other
it was
than
just hey.
communication.
Just immediate love.
They just knew.
They found love immediately.
No, he told the story. Tinder and an Applebee's date, and now they're married.
Oh my God. That's fabulous.
I
Good
do
for
still
you.
think people set too high standards for first or second or third dates. We're in the testing process of this.
I will
don't need to be doing 2-hour dinners that cost $400.
Yeah, no, because what if you don't like them?
It's probably different though, because so I met her when I was like 20 and in college.
Applebee's date, that was fancy.
Probably different if you meet when you're like Gold's age or Mackenzie's age. It's like, hey, we're in our 30s. Like, let's go to a nicer place.
They
like
want to make sure that you're an established adult.
Mackenzie's age?
Sure.
Wow. He just you're just younger
it's
than.
Okay.
Wait,
it's okay.
You're just younger
sorry,
than
Mackenzie.
Drew's. Drew's still in his 20s.
That was
you're
very
like
rude.
30.
You're still in your 20s?
That was rude to me. I'm
still in
very
his 20s.
sorry.
It's not rude. It's okay.
I'm in my 40s.
My niece
29,
asked me
yes.
what the lines on my forehead were the other day.
Wow.
And now you said Mackenzie's age.
In fairness, I think he said
she
Alex
straight to the
Mackenzie's age.
retinol aisle. She was just
I know.
like
Immediately.
It was paired together. If you're in your
That's rude.
Look, if you're my
It's
age,
okay, Drew. It's okay.
Hold on, let me save it.
You guys aren't that far apart. You're like 4 years apart. You might have been in high school at the same time. You're talking about it like she's a grandmother.
Let me save it. If you're my age, if you're still in your 20s, if you're 28, 29, it still doesn't matter. Like if you're an adult, like I was in college. didn't have a job, still taking classes. You're 28. You're an adult. You've been an adult for 7 years. You know, you're hopefully have your
own
life together.
place.
Yeah, hopefully have your life together a little bit.
Text line's all over Drew right now. All over Drew.
I feel
Someone
really
says,
bad.
"Come on!"
I'm
Someone
not
says,
offended.
"Come on, bro."
I'm very sorry.
Drew.
I feel bad now.
Don't
Very
feel bad.
It's like one of those things you say and you immediately regret because you know that
You're
you
good,
didn't
man.
realize
When
you
you're
said
my
it.
age, you're like, damn.
Someone says they met their wife on Match.com.
Good for you.
Wow.
Match.com,
that's
baby
good for
married
you.
for 13 years.
I know. I mean, I know
It
plenty
can
of people
work
who
on
have
the
met
apps.
How do you
It can
guys
work.
feel about people meeting your parents without you there?
Oh, for the
That's gotta
first
be
For the
time.
first time.
Nope.
I'm not going into
No.
details. I'm just
No,
curious.
I gotta be a buffer. in
This
that
happened?
situation.
How this?
This
My
happened?
family's nuts too. I don't need.
Would
that.
you wouldn't let your parents meet your significant other for the very first time without you?
No.
That
What
seems
about
like
you?
a bad
And
idea.
like when my mom was alive, no. My dad now, I don't think
Does
so.
it? Did this
And he's
happen with a
nice,
family
but I
member?
don't need that.
I don't want to put that
But
on
somebody
blast.
you know met a family
Was
member
it a family
before.
member?
That's crazy.
Not a family member.
Oh,
no.
I was gonna say, better. It wasn't
No.
Brian or something.
No, it's not Brian or Matt.
Okay.
you went to high school with.
Brian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alex, we all went to high school together.
You did.
Isn't that weird?
Not you and Drew though. You guys were like 30 years
That's
apart
right.
in high school.
Whoa, settle down. Settle down.
Oh goodness.
Oh my
Mackenzie,
gosh.
thanks for
I'm sorry, Mackenzie.
This was I will be back. It's fine.
thanks for hanging out with us. That was
I'm
fun.
going to
Thanks for
apologize the
having
next time you come around too because I'm going to remember this
I'm
now.
gonna need you to apologize
Jeez.
10 more times.
Okay, I will. I will. I promise.
Hope everybody has a great weekend. Enjoy some Royals baseball. Here in about 10 minutes. First pitch is at 2:05. Royals first spring training game of the year. Daniel Lynch on the bump. And we'll talk to you guys on Monday right here on 96.5 The Fan.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5